Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is now episode 311. In this episode, Austin Ekeler joins the show. This is one of 15 players to score at least 15 touchdowns in back-to-back seasons. Most catches by a running back in Chargers history in a single season. One of the best running backs in the league and one of the most inspiring stories around the league from undrafted to star. How you doing, Austin?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I got to ask, have you done all 311 episodes in this room?
Yes. I've done 309.
Oh, I guess, I was going to say.
But
wow. First couple were in the city, right?
It was like 4 or 5 in the city, I think. Something like that.
That's epic, man. Good for y'all.
Appreciate it, man.
As you guys know, content is not easy for you guys to get to to episode 300. What is this? 311.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what's up. Good stuff, man.
Appreciate it, man.
And now, Drew, you want to start it off?
Absolutely. So, Mr. Ekeler, we appreciate you being on here. It's the last time I'll call you Mr. Ekeler. Absolutely. But I'm here as a Denver Bronco fan. Know you from Colorado. Went to school in Colorado, both high school and at the collegiate level. But going into the draft, you go undrafted. What's the mindset after you go undrafted? You get picked up by the Chargers, the then San Diego Chargers. What's the mindset coming into the league? How are you approaching training camp? How are you approaching just trying to make the team?
Yeah, this is something that I think has helped me get to this point in my life. You know, in not just a football sense, but just everything that I have going on in my life, which is a ton outside of football, but just doesn't get highlighted. But it really, the mindset that I've kind of built up over the time is a really hardy mindset that's really dedicated to the opportunity at hand. Like, what do I have right now? How can I maximize it? How can I put myself in positions to leverage it in different ways? And coming into college was kind of under the radar in college as well, going to a Division II after dominating like my senior year of high school. And then, in college did the same thing, dominated. But I was really looking to go into the workforce. I was going into business. And for me, I had an opportunity. I got a job offer. I was fully focused on my education and then football. I was using football to pay for my education. And my coach came to me and was like, look, man, you might have an opportunity to go play in the NFL, which no one from my school before me had gone.
That's crazy.
So I didn't see any of that. So, but my mindset was, okay, this is an opportunity to not only, right, put me in a place to keep playing football, but this is an opportunity to change my entire trajectory of my life. My entire lifestyle would be different here. My entire just story as far as where I've come from, where I've gone, will be so different. So I didn't treat it like it was another opportunity to play football. I really treated it like it was everything for me. Like, this is everything. And so my mindset was all in.
And you talked about dominating. I think if I read this correctly, your freshman year in high school, you were listed at 5'5". As a freshman, you were four-letter varsity guy. 8 touchdowns? Is that right?
So,
as a freshman.
So my freshman year in high school, I did not play varsity. No.
Okay.
No, yeah. So my freshman year in high school, I actually played freshman team and JV team.
Okay.
And it was funny because there was like a group of us. So we would have what we called the easy game, which would be the the C team game, and then we have the tough game, which would be the JV game. And so we'd start on both teams and play 2 games a week. It was sick.
That's pretty dope.
Did you? But no, I definitely scored more than 8 touchdowns in all those games. So.
Okay. No, that's 8 seemed a little low.
Don't short sell him.
Listen, that's what I read. The freshman year listed at 5'5". Is that true?
Probably.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I'm 5'8" right now, so I was probably 14 then, right? 14, 15.
Max, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Did you, because you said like your coach came up to you and he kind of said you have a chance to go pro. As someone who, I mean, like you said, you were going for education. You thought you were going to business and football would kind of pave the way for you to go to college. What was your reaction when he told you? Because obviously coming out of high school, it's not like you were this 5-star recruit. Going into college, not like you were, touted to be a first-round pick. So when he told you that news, I'm just curious, like, what your reaction was, because you're going from, I'm going to have a 9-to-5 to I'm going to be in the NFL.
Yeah. For me, it was more so of a kind of a recognition. Okay, like, hey, like maybe I will have that. And it was something that I'd thought of, but it was more so of a dream.
Yeah.
But the dream was slowly becoming more of a reality, and was really becoming a reality when coach was like, hey man, you have scouts calling. I think you might have an opportunity. And that's when I started to actually watch the NFL. So that was after my junior year. I hadn't watched the NFL at all until then. I was really focused on, like I said, my education. I was going to go into the oil and gas field and then start house hacking and get into real estate and start building a portfolio that way. That's what I was going to do. And then, football had a different plan for me, and I jumped on that opportunity. But yeah, I was definitely in shock, but I didn't let it overwhelm me because, like I said, I wanted to make sure that I was taking advantage of what I had at the time. And if you get too far ahead of yourself, then you're going to miss, right, what's going to give you that next opportunity, which is what you have now. And so that's something that I tell all these guys, even at the league coming in now. It's like, learn and absorb everything that you possibly can in the moment that you have right now, because that's what's going to drive the magnitude of your next opportunity.
I think that's great. You always got to focus on the present. And for you, when you had made it to the NFL and you solidified yourself, because I believe in your first season as a rookie, you were playing special teams, and that season you led the entire NFL on tackles off of punt returns. So you had to pave your way as a special teamer. So when you finally make it into the NFL, you get an opportunity because Melvin Gordon, I believe, held out. When did it sink in for you that, wow, like I made it, this is my life now?
I think after the first year, after my rookie year was when I was like, hey, I have a role. Let me establish myself, not just establish myself, but let me immerse myself into my role, make sure I'm really in tune with my coaches, with my technique, and then absolutely running like my life freaking depends on this. Like, you have to go there, you will die. Like, that type of energy in my mind, where that was where I was at. Like, that was the energy I was bringing to it. And when you're running like that, when you're running for your life, you run different. And it's exactly how I was. And so that's why I'd never played defense in my life, ever. My high school coach told me, hey, if you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt playing offense. You're going to get her playing running back. And then in college, obviously, you don't really play both ways.
Yeah.
And so this is a time where it's like, hey, I have a new opportunity. This is my role. I've never done it before, but guess what? I got to step up to the plate and make it happen. And that's exactly what I did. And, when did it set in? It was really after I made the team and I was starting to have success. And I was like, okay, no matter what happens, I know I have a role on special teams, and then started getting more offensive reps as my career started to develop. And that's when I really immersed myself into this new role. And so my mindset hasn't changed. It's still the same thing. I'm out here still running for my life, because so much depends on the things that I do on the field. And we can get into that later, but
yeah,
there's so much that's been built off of the same mindset that I had going back into from college into the pros.
Now, you mentioned getting hurt, playing offense. Right now, you're going through an injury. We should have asked you as soon as we started the show, how are you feeling right now? How's the ankle?
Yeah, man. As you know, football is a very violent sport. It's one of the reasons why I love it. You can go out here and smash people, run through people.
Respect that.
Right. You get to switch your mind where it's like, I got to run through you. You can't touch me. I got to be unstoppable. Right. And that's,
no doubt.
You don't get many moments in like that in your life. And so it's a very unique situation, but that comes with the results of a lot of injuries throughout the years. And, you're going to be dealing with them. This won't be my first or last. Well, this has been my first and it won't be my last.
For sure.
And what you try to do is try to be as efficient as you can, but you also have to understand that your body has a time to heal. You can't force your body to heal itself faster. And so you have to make sure you don't skip steps, just like anything in life. Don't skip steps with the recovery, and play it by what it feels like. And, it doesn't mean I won't push through pain. I will if I can. But you got to make sure it's in a point where I can actually save myself out there and not put myself in even more harm's way by trying to get back too early.
Because I went back and I watched that tape. You had that big reception on the sideline. You carry the ball on first down. It looks like Jalen kind of just landed on top of your ankle. You go out there the very next touch, and it just seems like you didn't want to put that type of pressure on your ankle. Was that the play? You stayed in for an extra play and played through it, and just figured, hey, I gotta
man.
get it
So,
checked out.
Bro, when you're out there, like I told you, like when you're in the heat of battle, like you're in this zone, man.
That
you have this adrenaline rush, bro.
Facts.
You're in battle, like you're running through guys, like you're out there, like I said, running for your life. And so it puts you in this mode where you'll push through some stuff when after the game, you'll be like, whoa, this is not right. How did I play on this? And it's exactly what it is. It's like, my team needs me out there right now. I got to do everything I can to possibly get out there and make some type of effort. And after that long run, I got like drop tackled from behind.
Yeah.
And defensive lineman had all of his weight on my ankle and was pulling me back over the top of it, and gave me the high ankle sprain. And then it was funny because I was 2nd and 5 the next play, and we ran like a hurry up play.
Facts.
So there's no subbing. I'm like, oh, bro, like,
and then they went right back to you. I said,
right.
Oh my goodness, what are they
and
doing
so
here?
I'm on 1.5 leg out there. And we still got the first down.
That's
though.
a fact.
Let me put that on there. But then so I tried to go tape it up on the sideline and try to get back into the game. And, we got to that 2 minute at the end of the game. And I was like, look, bro, if this thing gets even tweaked or kicked or anything at all, I'm not going to be able to go. I'm going to waste the timeout. I can't go on the field right now. And then, sure enough, get the diagnosis after the game, high ankle sprain. And I'm, trying to recover back from this.
You weren't able to come back to the game, but Joshua Kelly came in. He did himself an amazing game.
Yeah.
You talked about how underrated he is.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. He's been a solid player for many years, and now he's getting more opportunities, got more touches that first game, and he made the most of it. And it's something that he's going to have to continue to do consistently throughout this year. It's a big year for him, big year for me too. This is both of our last year on our contracts, and so this is kind of setting us up for, hey, what's to come next from you and from Josh. So a lot rides on this, and we both know that. It's not a secret. We talk about it.
No
It's
doubt.
like, man, it's like we got to take advantage when we get out there.
I have a question about another teammate of yours. As we mentioned earlier, right, your rookie year, you come in only 47 touches, 47 carries offensively. You're playing behind Melvin Gordon. As your career goes on, 2019, 2020, you become that guy. But Chargers this past year drafted Quentin Johnson in the first round. In front of him, you got Keenan Allen, you got Mike Williams, you got Josh Palmer. There are guys that have solidified themselves in the NFL. Quinn Johnson's a first-round pick. He's expecting to be on the field, right? Like at TCU, he dominated. Now he's coming in expecting to be that guy. I'm curious, maybe if you at all helped him as someone who had to sit, you had to sit behind someone your first year. You didn't get that opportunity right away. Have you been able to, or maybe one of the other vets in the receiver room, how are you kind of talking through him? Because these first 2 weeks, he hasn't been on the field a ton.
Yeah, in the NFL, you really have your own little groups. Like I'll talk to Q every once in a while, but we never get into that deep conversation because I've just never had that exposure to him. I have a lot of exposure to my guys in the running back room, but when it comes to the receiving room, I haven't been around him in that much. Like I have Keenan and Mike. Like I've been around those guys for years. And when you're a rookie coming in, you're still trying to figure out your routine. You're trying to figure out who you are. A lot of times, most rookies and young players are kind of like to themselves, a little bit more conservative, and you start to see them come out of their shell after year 2 and year 3. But I'm sure Keenan and Mike and even Coach Beatty are coaching him up, man, to make sure that, hey, you're in the best position to make plays. But yeah, because he's got some studs in front of him, man.
Yeah,
like that's a competitive room for sure. And so it's not just going to be a walk in the park. You're going to be, stepping on the field. You're going to have to, it's the NFL. You're going to have to earn every single rep no matter what. But when you have guys that have been on the roster for 10 years, 7 years,
not regular
years.
dudes. Keenan and Mike are not regular dudes.
Right. And so they have all that knowledge, right, on top of, the contract and on top of, experience playing as well. It's going to take Hugh a little bit of time to come out and be able to compete against that.
Josh isn't a slouch himself either. Josh
play.
Palmer, facts. Last year, he had a great season, especially with Keenan and Mike both missing time. Josh stepped up huge. Josh definitely wasn't going to make it easy on Q to get some playing time either.
That's our job, man. Our job as players is to not get replaced.
No doubt, man.
You got Tom Telesco, our GM, who it's his job to go out and find better players.
Definitely.
And it's our job to say, no, F you. Not really, but it's our job to say,
I got you.
It's we can hold our job, right? And we deserve to be here. We got to prove ourselves every single time.
Now, Austin, you talked a lot about how, like, when guys come in, you try to tell them to absorb everything they can within the moment. What's a couple running backs in the league that you've been, paying attention to, or like that are one of your favorites?
Ooh, so like I said, I got a late start on watching the NFL. So like all the history of the running backs is like, it's not really an existing thing for me.
Right now, I'm new with you. We're here. So, we're talking about right now in the league, like the guys that are here now.
Top 5 running backs right now.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, like just being a running back in general, like I root for every single running back on the field. Like I need all these guys to do well. It does well for our position, showing us, hey, that we actually are efficient on the field. We do make a difference. And so we need people to continue to push the bar of impact.
For sure.
And so we have guys that have been doing that. We all do it in our own different way. That's the thing about, running backs is that we're all really unique. You have guys like me. I'm probably the shortest starter out there in the NFL. And then you have like Derrick Henry and then everything in between, with different types of bodies. And so it's pretty astonishing to see like guys like Derrick Henry that have, this huge body, can run through people and still be nimble. Then guys like Christian McCaffrey that are so explosive. Guys like Nick Chubb, unfortunately, obviously he had his injury, but guys like that can just run the freaking rock, man, and they're going to run through guys, and you're going to need more than one guy to bring this man down. People like myself, where I'm just really efficient. I mean, good in space. I've great vision. Like I use kind of like my brain to my example. Yeah, I have some good physical attributes, but more so understanding the concepts, putting myself to be in advantageous spots to continue to be efficient. So we all have our different styles. So like I can watch those guys and admire them, but I can't be them. I can't try to be like, I'm gonna go out there and use a giant stiff arm like Derrick Henry. Like that's my arms are half the length of his. So, we all have our own efficient ways, but, just making plays is good to watch that across the league for sure.
I mean, I respect anybody who plays football just because of how violent and physical the sport is. I remember when I was young, I've always been one of the shortest people in my class in school, and I wanted to play football. My dad told me, no, he's like, listen, it's really a violent sport. I said, Dad, I've seen the TV. I really want to play this.
Got this.
I played football like for a Pop Warner team. First play, they had me play. They had me play defensive line for some reason. Somebody's helmet hits my hand, and I go to my dad. I'm like, I'm gonna quit football. After this, I'm done. But I want to ask you a question about the Chargers' rushing offense, because the first game of the season, you guys had 200 plus yards on the ground, and you mentioned how throughout the entire offseason, a common phrase that was going around was 30th to represent your ranking across the league in rushing the previous year. What new schemes were in place this year to make sure the rushing offense became more efficient?
Yeah. One thing about the NFL is that we pretty much all run the same plays. So there wasn't necessarily a new scheme, so to speak, but it was more so how we are running the scheme, like different types of techniques. For example, there's a play called wide zone, right? Wide zone is usually running off tackle, which means you're aiming as a running back outside of the tackle. Right, which is the offensive lineman on the edge. So we're aiming outside of that person. And, if some teams are aiming, 3 yards outside of that person, and we're really trying to what we call reach the defensive end, like try to get around them. Some teams are a little bit tighter with their track, and they're aiming inside of the tackle, and they're trying to actually kick out that defensive end, but give the illusion like we're trying to go outside, but then cut up and get vertical. And so we've been more so like trying to get downhill with our runs, and so trying to get vertical as quick as we possibly can. Obviously, we read it out no matter what. Sometimes it bounces out, but there's different ways and different techniques that you run, basically the same runs that everyone's running, and you kind of do that based off of who's your personnel, where are we strongest at, who's our best run blocker, how do we get behind them as many times as we possibly can. And so without breaking it down too technically, that's kind of where we're at with our run game. That's how it's different from last year to this year, whereas we're really just changing some techniques. And it's not to say that, we didn't have a good scheme last year. It was just we had a different plan.
I was going to say, you are one of the premier receiving backs in the game. If you're not rushing, you're obviously going to get the rock in other ways.
Yeah, well, the thing is, different coordinators have different tendencies,
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just based off of who's available on the field, right? Like you mentioned actually before, Keenan and Mike were banged up a lot. So there's a lot of checkdowns coming down to myself because Justin trusted me or no one was open. It's like, okay, Austin, you got to go. And so it comes down to a lot. Like right now, I'm not available. So are these guys catching balls out there? Like they caught a couple balls last year or last week, when I wasn't out there. But
yeah, Keenan went crazy.
Yeah, Keenan. Yeah, exactly.
Keenan
did go crazy. But here's the thing too, and it depends on who you're playing.
That's true.
Like we played Miami first week. They have a solid front, but it's not like Tennessee's front.
No way.
Tennessee's run defense was best in the league last year.
There you go.
Underrated.
And so it's different week to week. Our Coach Staley says this all the time. Like every week has a life of its own, and it's so true. Which makes football so great because we always have to see who can be the team to adjust.
I guess Joel's question kind of coincides with the next one too, is what's that mentality pre-snap? What is going through your head? What are you processing when you're standing alongside or behind Justin Herbert?
Yeah, man, it's so much too, actually going into year 7, right? It's a whole basically like computed like algorithm that I'm putting together. Let's say it's just a pass play. Like we'll first break the huddle. All right. I'm thinking of, okay, what's the formation? Where do I line up? What's my pass play? Let's say, all right, we're like, we have this formation where the tight end to the left, trips to the right, and I'm on the left side and I have a swing route. So boom. Okay. I know where I'm lining up. Now what's the defense front? Like, are they 5 down? Are they 4 down? Are they 3 down? What's the personnel? Are they in dime? Are they in nickel? Are they in penny? All these different personnels. Where are the safeties at? Where's the offensive line sliding? So Corey's going to get out there. He's going to give me a line call. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's the protection. Now I got to know where the safeties are. Who am I blocking?
Stuff, okay. Kidding me? Football is so complicated. You just
right.
listen to him.
So yeah, this is me coming out of the huddle, right? And I'm getting lined up, and it's like, okay, who am I blocking? And then, okay, there's the call. All right, set hut. And now I'm going through my read. I'm going through my scan. You got to do it in an instant because you don't want to get caught up and you can't get the ball if you're in the backfield. So I got to get out. So making sure no one's coming. If no one's coming, then guess what? All right, I can get out into my route. And now I'm going to get out into my route. Now I'm looking for the ball. And so in my mind, like I'm already locked into the zone of like, it's time to go. Like I am so focused and zoned in on my fundamentals, my reads, my keys, and then just playing fast. And basically is the same thing for every type of play, but that was just taking you through one play.
Yeah, I think that was Drew. We were 20 minutes in. That's the first time we mentioned the word quarterback,
Yeah,
right? So
sure,
I need to ask about Justin Herbert, because his quarterback class, right, that 2020 draft, it almost like resembles his personality. Like, he's very quiet to himself. And in that draft class, at first it was tank for Tua, and then you had Joe Burrow come have this insane season at LSU. And Justin Herbert's kind of over here at Oregon doing his thing, right? He goes off in the Rose Bowl. That really, I feel like, put him onto the scene. I'm curious whether it was OTAs, training camp, preseason. At first, did you know Justin Herbert was going to be this type of player? And if you did, was there like a certain practice or a throw he made that kind of opened your eyes and said, wow, like this kid's going to be special?
Because he got slotted in, like Tyrod got hurt and he had to play instantly against Kansas City.
Against Mahomes.
I think it was a
First
chest
game.
injury, right?
Yep. And so, yeah, for us, and for quarterbacks coming into the league, and what I've noticed is that you can have like the physical attributes. Yeah, that's great. And Justin showed that right away on training camp and OTAs. Like, this guy has the physical attributes to go out there. Well, we didn't have OTAs, but training camp because it was COVID year. But like, this guy can sling the ball. Like, he can move, he can sling it. But what you don't really know until people actually get on the field is the mental aspect of the game. You can kind of, evaluate it a little bit in practice, but you're not getting all the designer looks and things that are like really curated to go against you specifically, because you're just going against your defense. And so it's really hard to tell, like, are they going to get it mentally? Because there's so much of a mental game, and I've seen it because I came in with Phillip Rivers, who was in like year 16, so he knew all you had to tell him was the defensive coordinator of the team, and he already knew what the defense was going to be. He already knew the calls, he already knew all that. Like, that's how invested he was mentally in all of this stuff. And so going from that to, going to a younger player, you can see the difference. Like, he just doesn't have the experience yet. And so that's the biggest thing that these quarterbacks are going through and are accumulating. That's why you see these stud quarterbacks for so long, because they just understand the game so much. They can protect themselves, they can stay efficient. And with Justin, it was like, okay, let's see if he can get that. And then he got thrown into the fire. I was like, okay, like, this kid,
it's time.
He's getting it. He's getting it. And now he's just continuing. Now he's going into year 4, and obviously he's been the stud that he's been, because he continues to learn and continues to get that experience, and he's going to continue to get better. And so that's why it's so exciting to be playing for this team right now.
Now, you talking about what you're reading pre-snap is such a beautiful thing, because I don't think people understand the chess match that goes into football on a weekly basis.
He's talking about it, and I had goosebumps.
And
it's just that is just so fascinating.
You explaining like what you have to see within the defense. That's not even taking into account the play you have to remember.
For sure.
And on top of that, you have to take in all this information and execute within like a 20-second time span. Yeah. And sometimes there are checks at the line. Like, for me, I like watching all 22, and I'm pausing before every single offensive play just to see, okay, what is everybody doing, just so I can try to understand this a little bit. So I can only imagine what it's like for you in real time to just understand it instantly.
Well, I mean, you got to always also realize, like, this is what we do for a living, right?
Yeah,
I'm going in year 7. Like, you guys see Sunday. That's what you guys see. Like, you didn't see all the work we just put in today, at the meeting room for hours, watching film, watching practice, watching the breakdown of Minnesota, all this stuff. Like, you're not thinking about that. Yeah. You're thinking about who's injured, who do I put in for my fantasy, that's what people are thinking about. So when we get to Sunday, they're like, I just want my team to do good, but they don't realize, actually there's it's chess, but it's like times 10 for the complexity, and it's $1 billion company, right? We're trying to win games as best we possibly can. So there's so much time that goes into this.
What is like could you give us like a breakdown of start to finish? What does a day look like for an athlete? Like how do you start your day? How do you finish?
So, like, for me right now, like, even though I'm dealing with injury, like, I'll be in there early. 7 a.m. is like treatment. So I'll be in there with treatment. And if you're on special teams, you're gonna have to go at 6 a.m. to get treatment, because I do my treatment during the special teams meeting, which I'm not on anymore, so I can make up some time there. So treatment, and then you go straight into a workout, usually at 8 o'clock. And then we have our team meeting at 8:50, and that's for about 10 minutes. Then we go straight into offensive installs, That'll be for about an hour, and we'll, look at the defensive looks, look at all the plays that we're installing on 1st and 2nd down, 3rd down, red zone, short yardage, end of game, 2-minute, all these different plays that have to be put in every single week, based off of the defense we think we're going to see. And then people go through like protection meetings. We go through the run game install. We go through the pass game install. We go through just kind of a personnel install. And then we finally, get around lunchtime. We go through a walkthrough, which is usually like 40 minutes. And then we go straight into a practice. And then after the practice, we have like little post game, like miniature, like practice on your own. And then we have media that comes into the locker room as well. And then after that, we have usually lunch. And then we go into watching the practice that we just had. So we'll watch the practice as an offense. We'll break down anything that we had, and then we'll go into individuals, and then we'll watch it as the running back room and talk about things more specifically. And then at the end of that meeting, usually you get on to the opponent a little bit more before we get out of there.
And then you do it again the next day.
And then you go do it again the next day.
So right now it's 8:30 East Coast time. That's where we're at. We're in New Jersey. You're in Los Angeles, I'm assuming. So it's 5 o'clock. So you just recently like kind of got out of practice.
Yeah. So Coach Staley is very efficient with our schedule. Like we are boom, 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 boom going. So it is a lot all at you once, but it's so efficient that we still have the rest of the evening to ourselves and to our families, which is very fortunate. But we still, trust me, we're still putting in the hour.
That's a lot of time.
You mentioned talking about Phillip Rivers, and were you surprised at how much he talked trash?
So here's the thing. When I first met him, like he's like one of my teammates. And so in the locker room, I've never seen him like on game day. And so he's like this cool, chill guy, right? Knows a bunch about football. Seems like he's really out there controlling like the offense. He's telling receivers, hey, like I'm not throwing to you. You like take this one off. I want to save your legs, like stuff. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. Like this guy's like a coach player type of body. He's been here longer than any of the coaches had been, It was kind of strange for me to finally see that dynamic where he's older than some of the coaches and out there still playing. And then we get to the game day, and this is like a whole different dude. And I'm like, whoa. And his intensity spiked, his just attention to like everything. Like it was all like heightened intensity, and he's ripping refs. He knows them all by name. He's ripping defensive players. Yeah. Phillip was different. He'd been around so long. He knew all the refs by name. He's like, damn it, Carl. We didn't say damn it. He didn't swear. He's like, Carl, Yeah. He never swear like crap, almighty, he had all those.
His sound bites are pretty legendary.
That's probably
for
such
sure.
a different
it was
contrast.
pretty epic to see his intensity and his just competitiveness really snap on game days, and then he come down on the team plane or in the locker room after back to the Phillip that we knew to love. Yeah.
That's probably such a different.
That's why he got a bad rap, honestly, because everyone only knew him on Sundays. So they're just like, they just see this fiery guy that's always yelling at the refs and yelling at the defense, and that's who they thought he was.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, on game days, that's what he is for 3 hours. But then, for the 98% of the time, he's like down to earth, chill, like we can have a great conversation with him. And so, yeah, but it was great playing with him for sure.
That's awesome. It's probably such a different contrast to Justin Herbert on game days because he's known for being very quiet. He's a quiet killer. He's still gonna rip apart your defense, but he does it in a very different way than Phillip.
Yeah, man, he's been getting louder too. I think that's just been from his confidence growing. But he is who he is. He's been leading us, and for the past 4 years now. And like I said, it's been so exciting playing with him, and I'm so excited for his potential to continue to grow.
I was gonna say, on the field, it seems like you two have an amazing connection. We mentioned it early on. You just broke the record for most receptions in a single season for a Los Angeles Charger or San Diego Charger, understanding the legends that have played for the franchise. First off, congratulations to you. But what is it like playing alongside Herbert, and what is it like just being in the NFL, understanding that it's a grind every single day? And do you ever just have one of those moments where you sit back and just appreciate that, hey, I'm one of the premier guys. I do this.
I do appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. I do appreciate that. And I appreciate the guys that are also like that as well. But being in this spot, the reason I've gotten to this situation, it's like one of those things where it's like never enough. Like you can,
man.
You can never do enough. And it's like a blessing and a curse. Blessing because it's helped me get to this point in my career where I've climbed and done so much. But also at the same time, it's like, I'm never satisfied. It's like, yeah, that's great. But like, what else can we do? Or can we do it again? And can we do it better? And that overflows into off the field as well. But, Yeah, man, as a competitor, as a builder, right? As a person with the, like, especially in the entrepreneurial, world, like that's the mindset you have to have, because that's what's going to continue to weed you out from the others, and that's what's going to continue to get you to the top.
And what are some of your interests? We talked a ton about football, but I mean, we get questions all the time, right? We do like an extra episode where we have fans ask questions, and it's always about football and basketball. We're like, we do this for a living. Outside of football, what are some of the things you're passionate about?
Yeah, so a lot of my things come down to communities, and you can see that in my foundation that I have, where we're implementing resources back into high schools. As of now, we'll continue to expand as well. There, weight rooms, washers and dryers, things like that we're putting back in. Experience. I have an app that I've launched. It's an engagement platform for influential people to connect with their fans. If you want to get something signed by me, if you want to game with me, if you want to, get a personalized video, if you want to have a video chat, you can jump on Experience and do that. I have a fantasy football show. I do a bunch of giveaways in the fantasy football space as well. My show's with Yahoo. And then I have a Discord company that I'm starting up right now. And then I have, a real estate fund. I have a restaurant out in Las Vegas, and
what food?
I'm starting a website that's called Pro Athlete Ventures, that basically, like, right now, if you wanted to see all the NFL, foundations or ventures, where would you go? Like, you would have to search individual by individual.
Yeah.
So like, I've been trying to work with some of these guys, and I'm like, I don't know what they got going on. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to build a website that kind of accumulates it all
to one
and will offer services
nice.
to our guys. So I'm always building. So I built not huge. It was like 5-6 people around me. I built a team around me to help me continue to expand and leverage the platform that I'm continuing to create. And like, I have a venture capital fund that we just go invest in little things like that too. So always continuing to build and grow. And that's why I said, like, my mindset, it works great for football, but it works great for other things as well. So it's not just solely in football. Because for me, my life's not just about football. Like, my life's never been about football until like my junior year, where I got this huge opportunity to go play. And then it seemed like it was about football, but it was just to get me established. Now I'm established. Now my entrepreneurial side has come back out as well. And, man, it's something that I'm wearing my shirt right now, be the best you. If
Awesome.
you continue to focus on that, you'll always feel like you're finding some type of fulfillment, because you'll feel like you're progressing towards something. And it's not necessarily living within a job. It's not a job, because if you progress yourself, then guess what? You will have more opportunities, because you will have more capabilities. You will have more experience. You will have more knowledge. You will have more XYZ that can give you a point where you feel like you're driving your own life, and you're not stuck in one job, because that's all you did for every single day is did one thing, and all you can do is one thing, and you can't get out of it. But if you do that and it's expanding yourself, now you can do many things. So that's been my process and my progress.
That kind of goes to the saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yep.
And how you approach football is how you approach all these business ventures that you have going on in your life. It was an awesome time having you, Austin.
Appreciate it,
We had
Austin.
an amazing conversation with
Thank
you.
you.
You are an inspiration, not only in your journey in football, but all your entrepreneurial ventures. And we're wishing you nothing but the best of luck. And hopefully you could be on the show again.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great time, boys. Thanks for having me
Austin,
on.
last thing I want to do, because of course you are an undrafted legend. I would love if you could give us your Mount Rushmore of undrafted players.
Wow. Shoot, I don't know enough about the game to give you that.
Listen, you could throw yourself in there. Obviously, Kurt Warner has to be on.
I'm in there. I know I played with a great one, Antonio Gates.
Yes.
He's coming up. Yeah. Kurt Warner, obviously. Yeah. There's some legends there, but like I said, I couldn't do justice. My knowledge of the game isn't as vast.
What about your Chargers Mount Rushmore?
Wow, Chargers Mount Rushmore. See, even then, I didn't watch the Chargers until I actually I was on the team.
Justin Herbert, Keenan, and Mike.
Well, definitely,
those are my guys, right?
Definitely tell us your restaurant. What is it called? What type of food?
It's called District 1.
District 1.
It's out in Las Vegas. Yeah, it's in Chinatown, Vietnamese. If you like pho bowls, like the noodle bowls,
really?
with the broth, stuff
Nice.
like that.
Awesome.
So yeah,
I love
go check out some pho. Yeah, out in District 1.
Listen, Colorado guy, high school, college. Wouldn't it be amazing to see you come back home? I'm just saying.
He's trying to recruit.
All I'm saying.
Broncos fan right there.
You said it's a contract year. I'm just saying.
He's not trying to get fined, man.
No, that's it. Hey, you can be smart. I'm just
Hey,
letting
we take it 1 year at a time.
That's it. Hey, listen, we wish you the best of luck
Appreciate
on
it,
the
Austin.
rest of the
Thank you.
season. Wish you some good health, and we appreciate you being on the show with us, man.
Awesome. Thanks, boys. Appreciate you guys.
Hey,
Appreciate
be
it.
good.
Just had Ekeler on the show. That was an amazing experience.
It was.
Sir.
And a big W for the Pick-a-Sock community,
Yes,
because
sir.
we would not be in this position without you guys. And that was really a surreal moment, man. Austin Ekeler is a great dude. Good dude.
He is so easy to talk to. He just came in with a ton of energy, gave us some great insight at the very end of the interview. Bro got pretty deep and pretty real. It's like, listen, you want something, you got to go out and get it. None's going to be given to you. You can forget about what you did in the past. It's only what matters is what's going forward. He was pretty amazing, honestly. Definitely my favorite guest that we had on.
Very, and just like as we started doing more of these, like we had Slay on a minute ago. We did Ice Cube.
Slay's a legend,
Austin
too.
Ekeler.
That was
like
great.
all these, like I feel like you don't really understand like the commitment. Like when Ekeler was going through his day, that like he's starting treatment at 6, 7 a.m. and he's getting home at 5 at night. And just everything they have to go through. It's like, damn, like the dedication to get to, for Ekeler's case, an undrafted guy and now one of the best running backs in the league. When he's like breaking that shit down, I'm like, damn, like he said, I just think about Sunday. I'm not thinking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day of the week. You're in that facility for like 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it was awesome that he could do the interview, man, especially in the season. We're about to talk about the concern level for the Bengals. So what's on the slate for this show is the Bengals, Deshaun Watson struggles, 2-0 teams we're most surprised by. We're going to preview the Giants-49ers Thursday night matchup because for those of our Patreons out there, we were not able to record the pick'ems today. We will record them either Thursday or Friday, then have them out at Patreon. So if you want to subscribe to the Patreon to get the pick'em episode, it's always an hour long. Then you can do that. And then just talk about this week in the NFL and just stuff that caught our eye this week. There's a lot of stuff that happens that can't always be a topic, but, we always like to shed light to. And also basketball season's coming back. So if you guys want to drop down in the comments anything you want to talk about when it comes to basketball, team previews, player rankings, you can do that. But let's start off with the Bengals.
What did Rivs Rivs looked at his fantasy team for the first time all year right now.
Rivs
That's what
in a
he's
different
doing.
universe right now.
No, yeah. So Tyreek's questionable. Derrick Henry's
He'll play.
questionable.
Derek is probably fine.
Yeah,
What is this guy doing, bro?
No, he's looking at his fantasy team like, yo, damn, I really got one.
I know,
That's
yeah.
what he's doing.
I might got a dub this week, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, this week is looking too good.
Who you playing?
Pally.
Oh,
and Derrick Henry
shout out
and
to
playing
our
the Browns.
brother.
I don't
Shout out
know.
to
I
him.
don't know. We're good, dog. My fault. I'm locked
That's
in.
all right. It's all right.
Is that the first time you
Yes,
opened?
that's actually the first time I looked at the app
Oh my god, bro.
since we started. Yeah.
You're a loser.
I'm
Lock
1-1.
in.
Am
Lock
I?
in. You have a good team.
I do really have a good team. I just looked at it.
You're not a loser, but you're not a winner. You're 1-1. You're
wow.
even. You're
His-
dead
but
center.
he's got a good team, a good dynasty.
Yeah.
I had
Good
Swift.
team.
Swift went crazy.
I'm
I don't
waiting-
know if he's doing that every
I'm
week,
waiting
though.
for JT to
170
come back,
yards.
man.
Soon.
DeAndre Swift, is he going to be the lead running back when Kenneth Gainwell comes back?
Yes.
What he just showed, he probably should be.
Kenny Gainwell will never do what
They'll
DeAndre
share.
Swift
They'll
did.
share
Against the
touches.
Vikings defensive front, he probably could have. Against that.
He
Gainwell's
could've
gonna
rushed
get
for
looks, though.
175.
I don't think
He doesn't
Swift,
have that frame to do
I don't
that.
think
Boston
Swift's going
Scott
to be a
was
workhorse.
averaging 8 yards per carry.
Bro,
Boston
you can't
Scott's
just
also
imagine somebody
a Philly
with
legend.
175.
No, I'm saying, but Boston Scott was averaging 8 yards
And what
per
about
carry.
Rashad
He had
Penny?
like- he had like
And what
3
about
carries.
Rashad?
Rashad Penny's coming off a torn Achilles.
You know, Boston had like 4 touches.
People don't
bro.
come-
He only got the ball like 4 times.
Cam Akers came back
That
and was
Achilles
an
injury was a
absolute
minute ago.
dog last year off an Achilles.
Shot Penny was.
In the second half of the season.
Like the last 4 games.
Gainwell
Yeah.
would never get the workhorse of DeAndre
that was
Swift.
his second year back
Well,
for
Kenny?
Akers off the
Yeah, I
injury.
don't think.
Well, he
Kenny
came
will.
back in the playoffs.
Swift is
He
bigger.
didn't do shit. The
No,
first year back,
no.
he didn't do shit. But yeah, last year, those
That's-
last
yeah.
4
I love
3 or 4
both of them.
games.
We're here.
We'll see how long this lasts. Bengals are 0-2.
LOL.
And it's a simple question.
Speak on that.
Are they missing the playoffs?
Bengals
They're
0-2. He's got
0-2.
the
Hey,
Chiefs
listen,
shirt
isn't
on.
that crazy? The conversation is, are they missing the playoffs? But don't we vividly remember?
Drew, you know what else I vividly remember?
Talk to
He
me.
telling us that, no way the Bengals go 0-2 last week, right? They beat the Ravens. Then he told us the week before that, no, the Bengals are going to destroy smoke
And
Cleveland.
then the week before that, where were they going?
They're going to get 14 wins, if I wasn't mistaken.
and they're going to
the Super Bowl,
big game.
which means they would have had to get 3 losses. They're at 2 already. Ah, man. Speak on your Bengals.
Listen, this question's for you guys. If will the Bengals miss the playoffs? Because for me,
No shot.
I'm not like Drew giving up on a Broncos season right then and there.
Two different fucking teams.
He's already
Don't
looking at the
compare
first
me.
overall
That's
pick.
Don't back-
He's already
Are you
looking at the
serious?
first
Insane.
overall pick.
Listen,
That's insane first
all he
sentence.
just did was
Insane.
try
Tell
to
us.
evoke tons and tons of ha-has,
Bro
which, hey,
said-
I can respect a ha-ha from one
Jokes
man to
over
another.
facts, always.
Absolutely.
I ain't giving up on no team a week into
No,
the season.
you should not be giving up on a preseason top 5 consensus team. No, you shouldn't.
The Jets lost Aaron Rodgers. I ain't give up on the season.
We'll
I
see
got
about
beat
that
bad,
because
too.
listen,
No, I haven't given up.
Oh,
You gave up
really?
after week 1.
yeah, we're not good. We went 0-2 against 2 teams we should have beat.
Offense
We're
kind of elite.
cooked. Our offense is elite in the first half.
That's a fact.
And then Russell
only
Wilson
it was a
drops off
30-minute
in the
game.
second half. You know that Sean Payne is like, they're only making plays for Russ outside of the middle of the field. If you look at his passing charts, there's no throws to the middle of the field.
Good.
Like at all. Those been
He's
eliminated.
been good though.
Why are we upset
No, he
about
has
that?
been good.
I'm not.
No, that's
He's
the type of player
actually
he is.
not the problem.
No, he
In the
isn't.
second half, he's one of the problems.
Well, he's not the like. There's obvious glaring problems.
Oh yeah, I
for
know.
the Russ.
I know. The
Like
defense
last year,
is not
like
that
last year, it was glaringly obvious it was Russ, but this year it's
The
not.
fuck you smiling about?
good. The defense. I was a year early. I got
Crying.
the dub now.
You never gave me no fucking victory for me saying
And
I'm
you
a year
never will.
early. Exactly.
You never will.
So what are we doing?
He doesn't
throwing
get a
the
victory.
That
fucking
doesn't mean I
pizza
can't
party?
try to prop myself up. You try to prop yourself up for the Kings being a year
I
a year
never
early
did.
than the Kings.
I prop
Did you
myself
not
up.
do
No,
it?
he always
No.
says, "I wish I was a year late." That's
Them
what he
and the
said,
Pacers. I said, "Fuck! I can't believe that I was a year ahead."
Yeah, that's all. That's what he says.
Rick.
When it comes to the Bengals, I'm not worried
Rick is
about
like
them.
that too. Y'all disrespect the hell out of me.
I was like, that's so random, Rick.
I'm not worried about the Bengals as a team. I'm not. I'm just worried about Joe Burrow's injury. They're
poor
0-2
little
right
baby.
now.
Aw.
The first game,
Yeah, we gotta chill.
it's
Rick.
raining.
We're being dickheads.
Joe Burrow's coming off a calf injury. Continuity matters within an offensive system, and Joe Burrow missed the entire OTAs. He missed preseason, and then first game of the season, you're going up against a top 3 defensive line. The chemistry with the receivers off. Oh, by the way, it's also rainy, and you can't get grip on the ball like that. There was a lot of external factors that went into that game. This game against the Ravens just now, Joe Burrow played really well. In the second half, the offense was averaging 54 yards per
Played
drive.
really well for like a quarter
Didn't he
and a
pull a
half.
Russ? Like, he wasn't good in the first half, great in the second.
He pulled the
the
reverse.
first
Russ.
half.
half was
Listen,
ugly.
I think
Reverse
that
Russ.
I think that
Scored
The
3
first
points in the
half-
first half. That punt return touchdown.
the first half, you look at the box score and you're like, oh, they weren't good, but they didn't get much chances. The Ravens were on the field a lot because they're a quick passing offense. They run the ball a lot. They chew clock. The first offensive drive for the Bengals, Joe Burrow made a great throw to the sideline to Irv Smith Jr. Irv Smith couldn't get that second foot in bounds. Had he done that and he had a lot of space to do it, the Bengals are at midfield and the drive was going. The second drive, 3 and out. The third drive, the offense is going. It's humming. And Joe Burrow throws a pass to Jamar Chase at the end zone. Jamar Chase catches it. Then Rocketson knocks it out. And they have to settle for a field goal. So to me, one of those drives was successful. Another one wasn't. It didn't continue because of an Irv Smith. He didn't complete the catch. The offense was not that bad in the first half. And they got a punt return touchdown. So they only got 3 possessions in the first half. In the second half, outside of one drive, they punted. And they scored on every other one. The Joe Burrow interception,
Dog
that's
shit,
just
bro.
that's just the Ravens disguising their coverage really well. Like, yeah, Joe Burrow.
We just try and make him.
No, it's not. I mean, listen,
It's like makeup over a
no, it's not.
pimple. That's
no,
what
it's
we're
not.
doing.
You want to know
here.
why? Because Austin Ekeler was just on the show explaining everything that goes into a
Oh
football
my
play,
God.
and you're
Austin,
trying to
it's
condense
crazy.
it. Because the reality of the situation is that if you look at the play, T. Higgins had a one-on-one with Roquan Smith.
He did.
T. Higgins on a linebacker, you're taking out all day.
Safety
In that
timeout.
type of look, it's a too high. Those two safeties usually double team that corner route. Joe Burrow thought that safety is going to double team Jamar Chase. Because if I'm a quarterback, I'm like, no way. They're not double teaming Jamar Chase in this area. But they didn't. Geno Stone stayed as a robber. He intercepted a pass. That's a great play by the defense.
Still his fault.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is still an interception. The process of the play was good. The final result wasn't. It led to them not having points. But ultimately, the Bengals' offense in this game, to me, was fine. He was kept out more than a month for this calf injury. Now that he re-aggravated it, I don't want him playing. I don't, because this is not just about this season. They just made this guy one of the highest paid quarterbacks in NFL history because the Chiefs just restructured Mahomes. You have to look out for Joe Burrow's long-term health in this scenario. The next 4 games are the Rams, the Titans, the Cardinals, the Seahawks. I think the Bengals can go 2-2 in those games. If everything goes right, maybe 3-1. But then there's another flip side that they could not win 3 of them because those are good opponents. But for me, I think this Bengals roster is an elite roster, top to bottom. The rushing defense has to improve. But I'm sitting Joe Burrow out until week 7. Get that bye week, get 5 weeks of rest, and get him ready for the toughest part of the schedule when you have to face the Bills, the Niners, the Steelers, the Browns, the Ravens, the Jaguars, and a plethora of other teams that are good. That's where I want Joe Burrow to be his best at. It's unfortunate that the last 2 years, Joe Burrow is coming to the season injured. Last year with an appendix, he got it removed. Slow start, first 2 weeks. Third week, he was rolling somewhat. It wasn't until week 5 they actually took off. But to me, I'm not worried about this Bengals team. And Zach Taylor is 1-9 in his first 2 weeks as a head coach. That just speaks to his slow starts in seasons.
Question.
What?
Are you not, because you mentioned continuity in your soliloquy. You mentioned how the team hasn't found their gel yet.
He just dropped some shit.
That shit's fire, right? Yeah, I was waiting to use that word for a minute.
I don't know if it is fire.
No, that's the right way to use it.
Is it?
Yeah.
And then you was talking about how like they gotta get that continuity together, and Joe Burrow was hurt. Are you at all worried that if he's missing 5 weeks, they still don't have the continuity and they go to play San Fran at San Fran?
That's a good question. The reason why I'm not is because it was clear, and Dehls is over here playing something on his computer. It's clear to me that Joe Burrow hadn't 100% healed from his calf. Yeah. Just the way he's planting his foot, he's not having the same power on his throws. He's not escaping the pocket as often as he was doing last year when he was healthy. To me, it feels like he came back early. And Jamar Chase was asked about it. A reporter asked Jamar, should they sit out Joe Burrow to make sure he's 100%? And Jamar answered, I wish they would have done that from the jump. Because given their 0-2 right now, had they set out Joe Burrow, what are they right now? They're probably 0-2 right now. You give Joe Burrow more rest. I feel like they rushed him back. It could have been some of Burrow too because he's a competitor. He wants to be out there. But for me, giving him a full month, because that's what 4 or 5 weeks is, giving him a full month to rest that calf, and even if he, by like week 3, he can still play, because it's not that he can't play football. He can still practice. It's really just about game day, taking those hits. I think he'll still be practicing and getting reps. So in practice, you're getting better, having great practices, and he'll be healthy, fully healthy by that time. So that's why I don't lose faith. But the biggest question is, are you trusting Jake Browning to be the quarterback for a couple weeks? Because we have not seen him before. But I think Zach Taylor is a good coach. Even though this year on scripted plays, the Bengals are one of the worst teams, which means that
some tough
the game script of their plays is not very good. But ultimately, I feel like this is a risk the Bengals have to take. They have to be without Joe Burrow because you cannot risk him and his calf and his long-term health for this short-term window right now. It's more important how he is long-term.
So the question is, do you think the Bengals will miss the playoffs? No, I think eventually they'll get back in as a wild card team. I still think this team is capable of winning 10, 11 games. I just think them wanting him to play week 1 was because it was important. Week 1 and week 2 are important. Those are division games. Those games are going to matter down the stretch. You kind of need it. Going 0-2 in those games is tough because now you kind of have to. Those are must-win games at the end of the year. Cleveland could get better, but now those games are going to be important. But I do think that's why they kind of wanted him to play week 1s and week 2 because those are tough games. You want him to be there for those division games because those matter the most. Those can settle a tiebreaker and stuff like that. But I don't think the Bengals will miss the playoffs. I think with an offense like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, once Joe Burrow is back healthy, because he hasn't, and I was excited about the Cleveland's win, but he didn't look healthy at all, even with the rain. He didn't look healthy. He looked like he kind of couldn't plant his foot. He still looked a little banged up. He really couldn't move out the pocket, really couldn't move in the pocket. He was kind of like a robot stationed there at where he was at when he hiked the ball. So he's still a little bit banged up, and that's not what you want to see from Joe Burrow, but I think fully healthy. If you get past this stretch, which is no slouch, the Rams look better than what we expected. Seattle's still a good offensive team. Arizona seems like a cakewalk, but we don't know what Jake Browning is. So we don't know how good he can be. And we just seen the Arizona Cardinals, almost beat the Commanders and put up 30 points against the Giants, who, let's be realistic, Jake Browning isn't much better than those quarterbacks over there. But I think with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins looked like he kind of got back to form against the Ravens. Joe Mixon looked solid against Cleveland. I think you have the weapons, and the defense is still really, really good. I see a world where this team can still make the playoffs as long as Joe Burrow comes back. Whenever he comes back fully healthy, they go on a run like they did last year. I think they'll be okay.
7 drives, 2 touchdowns. 7 drives means one thing to me. Your defense wasn't good. You could not get off the field. It was very evident to me this past weekend. that Lamar Jackson was the better of the two quarterbacks very, very easily to me. Lamar Jackson, of course, we understand his rushing ability was extremely efficient. Had a solid run that was also called back due to a holding. But as a passer, you put up a clip on Twitter just because of how impressed you were with that throw to Zay Flowers over the top. That was a laser put right on his chest for almost 60
Come on,
yards.
Lamar.
Come on, Lamar, because he was kind of shit-talking him after week 1 against Houston.
Wait, hold up, relax.
Because I saw the tweets.
Wait, hold up,
we
relax.
saw the tweets.
Wait,
And
hold up,
something was going
No,
on.
no, no,
Ended it with
this-
the come on, Lamar. The real no. Fans of the show
Come on,
know
Lamar.
that you're talking about Lamar. Now listen, we let you go on for some time. Let me continue my monologue.
Because you just came at me.
I didn't. All I'm saying is,
now listen,
you were
I said,
critical
come on.
of Lamar
No,
against the
I wasn't critical
Texans.
against Lamar. I said, come on, Lamar, as a joke. That was a
Now
joke.
it's a joke.
But hold up. Let me
Have some
be
respect,
honest.
man.
Be honest. Be honest.
After he's on TikTok, he's on Twitter. He's going to have his best
I don't
passing
see- I don't
season
see any
as a
Exactly.
Baltimore
Exactly.
jokes. I don't see no
Exactly.
Burrow
No,
jokes.
right? No, none.
We didn't see
exactly.
a Burrow
That's-
joke
No.
yet.
And
God,
God
we need
forbid
one.
we joke about Joe Burrow.
run.
You gave up on the Broncos. I'm not giving up on the Bengals. It's like, God forbid
Well,
we
that's the
throw a
difference. That's
joke.
the difference. That right there, week 1 was a joke. I've been on the top of my lungs talking about how Lamar's about to have his best passing season of his career. I have been adamant saying
just
that
pick and
all
choose.
over. I'm just making a joke. I never picked a side. I never said, oh, Lamar.
No, we know.
Lamar Jackson after week 1 versus the Texans, he's not going to be good. I never said that, not once. Lamar Jackson was the better quarterback. Lamar Jackson is an MVP winner. I'm not the guy up here saying that Kyler Murray's better than him. You're the guy. You're the guy up here saying he's better than him.
He is a
I'm
better
not
passer.
saying that.
He is a
You're
better
the one
passer.
that has consistently
Finish
underrated
that
Lamar
statement.
Jackson.
Finish that statement.
You
I
have
said-
you have
I
consistently underrated Lamar Jackson.
What have I
on
said
this
about
show.
Kyler Murray compared to
That's
Lamar?
my MVP.
He's not a
man.
better
We
passer
here.
than
Kyler
Lamar
is a
Jackson.
better passer.
No, he's not. That's
He
just
is.
casual. He's
I
not
mean,
a
when
better
you said
passer.
it,
Lamar
casual.
Jackson's the
When you said
MVP
it,
of the
that was-
league.
Exactly. When I did say it, Kyler was healthy. Kyler was in the running for MVP until he got hurt.
Lamar Jackson
I think
won
at the
MVP.
time, Kyler was, but I think Lamar
That was also because he was a
Lamar-
game-changing rusher that we hadn't seen before.
He's also, but no, the efficiency in the passing we
progressed.
hadn't seen before either.
Yeah, I think
he had one of the most efficient quarterback seasons ever, not just rushing quarterback seasons. He had the most efficient quarterback season
Because you
ever.
were scheming against him to rush the football.
He's a better passer now
You
than he was
wanted
his
him
MVP
to
season.
pass
He's
back.
improved,
He's
but he's
progressed,
always
yeah.
been a great passer. He's always been that. He's
He
always
could
been that.
he could just be inconsistent sometimes. But this was
Say
one
last
of
year,
his best games.
Last year, statistically,
Damn,
he
last
was
2
not
years,
that great
maybe.
of a passer. He was injured for sure. Obviously, we didn't get to see the full story. But last year, he was coming off one of his worst seasons as a passer.
But I still feel that way about Lamar Jackson. He's going to have his best passing season. I felt that way in the offseason. I felt that way last week.
See, that's
I
the
feel that
difference
way
between
this
you
week.
and I. When I call you out, I
He's
call you out on what
completing-
you
And
said.
completing 74% of his
and I
passes
had
so far.
and I had the Ravens at 11-6 in the AFC.
I won the
For
division.
me, the only reason
Yeah,
that
I think
listen,
we all did.
and that's
No, you had the Browns.
You had the Browns.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
He
'Cause
had
I
the
had Lamar
Ravens. He had
winning
the
MVP.
yeah, he had the
Ah,
Ravens. And that's not a bad take. The only reason why I said the only reason why I said 11 is because they're an injured football team, and
They're
we
injured
see
already.
their stars are already injured. But the most important player we know is Lamar Jackson. In the last 2 seasons, he has not been healthy in the second half of the season. Hopefully that changes this year. But Baltimore, no doubt, top to bottom, they're one of the best rosters in the league. I mean, yeah, they're
Yeah, they're a top 5
He
team
knows-
right now.
when
he knows
they're
what
healthy-
when Lamar's healthy, he knows what happens.
when they're
He runs
healthy,
that
they're a
division.
we
Super
know
Bowl
whose
contender.
division it is
It
when
is.
Lamar's healthy.
It's
And
not
that's
the Mickey
essentially
Mouse guys over there in Cincinnati.
And how many years when Joe Burrow's unhealthy, it's been another team's division. As a rookie, he was unhealthy, tore his ACL. This year, he's unhealthy right
He was a
now.
rookie, though.
What do you mean? In his second
that
season and
statement
his third,
stinks.
They weren't
That
winning the
statement
division his rookie year.
stinks.
They
What
would
do
have
you
been
mean?
better.
Joe
but they
Burrow.
weren't winning the
I mean,
division.
Joe Burrow's that man, regardless of
Nah,
whether.
he's
Oh,
but
hell
let's
we-
not
Joe
say
Burrow's
let's
that
not
man.
sit up here and
You
say
know
they're gonna
what?
make the
And
playoffs.
Burrow's
as
that
rookie
man.
He's
year.
been outplayed by Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson in
crying.
back-to-back weeks. I need you to understand that.
Listen,
Lock
He's
in on
injured.
that
He's
and
injured.
figure
But
that
Joe
out.
Burrow, Joe Burrow has accomplished more than those 2 guys in the playoffs. That's what matters the most.
Lamar's
The
MVP.
playoffs. Deshaun Watson blew a 24-0 lead in the playoffs. Joe Burrow came back from a double-digit lead in the playoffs against the
None
Chiefs
of
and
them-
Patrick
none of them
Mahomes.
have a ring.
That's the difference.
That
None of them have a
Yeah,
ring.
one of them has an appearance. They have an actual
Actually,
AFC Championship trophy.
Dehls,
That is a trophy.
Dehls, if you
What are
look
talking
up,
about?
if you look
An
up,
what are you
AFC
talking about?
championship trophy. That's
What do you mean that
Yo,
matters?
Jason
That
Tatum's
matters.
a winner.
for sure.
Jason Tatum's a winner, bro.
He's an Eastern Conference
He
champ.
has an
Yeah, he
Eastern
is.
Conference championship,
It's not the,
and
it's
he's
not
the
the
Larry
ring,
Bird.
though.
Hold up,
the
hold up.
AFC
Riff,
championship impressive.
What's better, being an AFC champion or losing in the second round, never getting past it in the playoffs? What's
Well,
better?
in the NBA, the championship is better.
Well, no, in the NFL, NBA doesn't matter where. Getting farther in the playoffs is better than not getting farther in the
but
playoffs.
all of
universally.
these guys are
What you
so
talking about?
young.
So
Like
you're
they-
right. Peyton Manning,
It's
the
not the
year
end of
that
their
he
career.
broke the touchdown record, broke the yards record, goes to the Super Bowl. He won the AFC championship against Tom Brady. He lost the Super Bowl in one of the most embarrassing fashions we'll ever see in our lives. He made it, though. He won the AFC Championship. Right?
Peyton Manning's not saying that.
No,
No
all
way.
we talk about is that we got blown out. We got embarrassed by the Legion of Boom. We don't talk about.
You're saying
That's what
how
you talk
he
about, but who had a
accomplished.
better season that year? The Broncos or the Patriots? The Broncos very easily had a better season than the Patriots.
Lamar
that year.
Jackson is a 2-time Pro Bowler,
about
1-time
Seahawks here, no?
All-Pro.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. He
All
was
right,
an
so
elite
I'm
quarterback.
going to finish my
let's go
statement, and then
Bengals,
we can
Bengals.
exactly. So I'll give some leeway to Joe Burrow. He is very visibly injured, and it's unfortunate because a lot of his game is scrambling outside the pocket because we understand that this offensive line is not great. He has to line up in shotgun essentially every single play because the pressure he is feeling almost every single down. So without his ability to escape the pocket and continue to extend plays, receivers to continue to get open, you remove that from their offense, you're limiting the Bengals. Obviously, because he's so great, that's what makes him one of the main reasons we talk so highly on Joe Burrow is his escapability, is his ability to extend plays. When you take that away from him, it gets difficult with this offense because the offensive line is so poor. In the second half, we can give credit where credit is due. They had 3 drives. They scored touchdowns on 2 of them. That one interception, you can say that they disguised coverage, but you have Roquan on T. Higgins. If I'm Joe Burrow, I have to understand, listen, we could think that this is a mismatch, but I'm in the red zone. Let me not make a risky pass. If I don't know it's there for sure, then I'm not throwing it.
It was supposed to, though. It's just a great play by the DB.
I guess you could say that, but nevertheless, it was ill-advised because then you miss out on points there. Yes, we can give credit where credit is due. They go down the next 2 drives. They go and they can score touchdowns. But the defense was unable to get off the field. You said that they're a amazing roster top to bottom. This secondary was not great. You have Cam Taylor-Britt, didn't have the best of games. Dax Hill is all right as a free safety, sure. Awuzie didn't have himself that great of a game. I mean, if we're going by receptions, Cam Taylor-Britt gave up 3 receptions for 74 yards. A lot of that was that catch to Zay Flowers over the top. You had Awuzie give up 3 catches for 30 yards. You had Logan Wilson, who obviously is a linebacker, 4 catches for 52 yards. That's a majority of Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is going to get his. But Logan Wilson is not a bad player. Andrews is just a better player. Top to bottom, we don't look at this secondary and think that this is a good to elite unit. Is this a good unit in your opinion, secondary-wise?
The Bengals, absolutely, yes, it is.
I think they're
The
good.
problem
Not
with
great.
the
I think
game,
they're good.
Because Lamar Jackson threw essentially whatever he wanted.
It's Lamar Jackson.
He was hit. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to minimize
he
Lamar
was locked
Jackson.
in.
He was
well,
hitting.
you have done it
took it
before.
personally. He took it
Why not doing that?
Have I?
Second half, he was
How-
8 for
he
9.
took it
All
personal.
I've done is praise Lamar Jackson. I think that Kyler Murray is a better passer. You're going to say that I've criticized
I think he's a
him?
better passer than MVP, a player who won unanimously MVP. Yes.
Okay, there's been
Yes.
there's
Like, he wanted, like, not one person voted for anybody else. Everybody voted for this man.
He's a GOAT.
yeah, it's an all-time season that we saw. That
You saw that and said
again,
Kyler's better.
But you've saw that and you've put over multiple quarterbacks over him that haven't accomplished anything near what Lamar has. Talking like a Joe Burrow, talking like a Herbert.
Because the playoffs separate them. Herbert's a little bit different, but Josh Allen, he's had a playoff run that Lamar Jackson has not had. Lamar Jackson
like you're
had,
leaning Trevor Lawrence over
he had
Lamar
a 4-touchdown
Jackson.
game in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson has a 69 passer rating in the playoffs. In the playoffs, he has not been good. In the regular season, he's been amazing.
So
There's no doubt.
But
But
again,
Kyler Murray's
what's-
first playoff game, what was he? I
Okay,
was
that-
there in
that team
person.
was-
But
that
bro,
team was
we're-
also
all of
injured,
these
no
guys,
D-Hop.
Burrow's had 2 runs. All of these guys, the sample size is so small. Kyler's got 1 game. Lamar's got 3
And
games.
everybody
like,
was hurting that.
The
college.
sample size could be
It's so
small,
small.
but the sample
Like
size
the
could
longest
be small,
tenured
but that's
quarterback
as
in
of
the
now.
National
Does it-
Football
but
League is
does it-
Dak.
like going
Dak's the longest tenured quarterback.
Over Carr?
Dak has the longest tenured with the same team.
Oh, okay.
I say that because you think Lamar Jackson's elite. So why do
I
you
think
care
he's
that
elite.
he struggled in the playoffs? You think he's an elite quarterback. The next time, say they make the playoffs this year, are you going to go into that wild card round or round 2 if they get the 1 seed and be like, listen, I love the Ravens all year, but now it's the playoffs. I'm out. Lamar can't do in the playoffs. No, you still think he's a great
No,
quarterback.
yeah, okay, but to this point, it's a fact. As a passer, he's not been good in the playoffs because the biggest reason is that the Ravens, in the years they were in the playoffs, were a run-heavy football team,
correct.
and they relied on being up. They ran into a Tennessee team who, at the time, I picked them to beat the Ravens because of the mismatch I saw, and the Titans went up on that team.
But Lamar hasn't been able to show you he got better because he's been hurt when they've made the playoffs.
Now
I think Lamar Jackson has gotten better, and I think this time around in the playoffs he will be better. Sure. But ultimately, we're going off of what has happened, not what happened yet.
And
what
now
has happened to this point is, yes, he has not been great in the playoffs.
Not only are they not as heavy as a run team, but they have guys on the outside that can win one-on-one. Zay Flowers looks like he could be the best. Puka Nacua, excuse me, but maybe outside those first-round guys. Zay's been the most impressive. He's been fantastic.
That was my guy.
Yeah, he was. Jordan Addison's been great too. JSN hasn't gotten as involved as we thought, but Zay Flowers looks insane. His ability to win the short area, screen game, but also you see like the 60-yard bomb he's catching in coverage as a guy who's like 5'9", 180 pounds. There's not a lot of receivers that you're going to see being able to do that. To talk about the Bengals a little bit.
I do think it's a good secondary, though. I do think the Bengals are a good secondary. The problem in that game, I thought, was the Russian defense. The Russian defense was getting gashed all game long. They let up a 3rd and 3 scramble to Lamar Jackson at the end of the game. All game long.
That was elite coverage that Lamar just kind of...
It's Lamar, man. Yeah,
that's it. That's what I mean.
Make magic happen.
But Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, you name it. The run you're talking about.
But Nelson Aguilar was able to get his on the secondary.
Yeah,
that's where I have an issue. Like let's not disrespect Nelson. Nelson has had a good. Has had longevity. But Nelson had himself a great game.
But ultimately, to me, like that game, I came away saying the Bengals' rush defense wasn't good, and also I was very disappointed, not with the secondary, with the pass rush. I think Trey Hendrickson is great. He was battling a backup left tackle, and he didn't even pressure Lamar. Lamar had a career low 9% pressure rate in that game. Career low against backups on offensive line. This defensive line cannot get home. If they can't get pressure, guys are going to open up. But like you said, Nelson Aguilar did beat some of those DBs. And it was a great scheme by the Ravens, just running them to the corner.
That was also an amazing pass.
It was back-to-back plays. The touchdown play, that's one we remember, but there was a couple of plays before that to Devin Duvernay.
Correct.
Where Lamar put it on him, but he just didn't hang on to the catch.
Yep.
So, yeah, like these receivers for the Ravens are really good. The Bengals secondary, to me, is good. I just thought rush defense, pass rush, none of those worked for them in the game.
And Lamar did a great job. When he had time, he was not escaping the pocket. He was not looking to run. He was sitting in that pocket, going through his reads and finding the open guy. That was, as impressive as I've seen Lamar from in the pocket. That game we just saw from the second half, he was almost flawless. He was 8 for 9. He had like a 24% completion percentage over expectation. He was really locked in. But to get back to the Bengals, I do think they're flirting with dangerous waters because if Joe Burrow is not able to play, these next upcoming games, thankfully, they're not against any AFC opponents. So if you lose, of course, you don't want to lose, but it's not the end of the world with tiebreakers at the end. But you do have to give them a chance because I'm thinking back to last season when Dak Prescott went down. Once Cooper Rush came in, I didn't, and I think all of us did, if I remember correctly, like, oh, this is done.
Who's Cooper Rush?
Dak Prescott's out for 4 or 5 weeks. They're gonna win one game if they're lucky. So even though we don't know who Jake Browning is, the Cowboys, like the Bengals, both have really good teams.
It's a difference in rosters, in my opinion. Like Browning going underneath center with that offensive line is drastically different than a Cooper Rush coming under center under that offensive line.
Bengals offensive line isn't like horrible like it has been.
They need to win 2 games to survive. They need to win.
Seattle.
They need to win 2 games to survive. I think I'm still taking them over Arizona. And if they could find a way to win, who is it? It's Seattle, Rams.
Aaron Donald.
And there's one other game. No, what's the?
He could.
Who's the 4th game?
No, it's
the Seahawks. It's the Rams, Titans, Cardinals,
Titans.
Yeah.
That's
Donald
that's
could
game.
wreck that game completely.
Yeah,
He could.
Donald.
But I don't. The only issue I have with the kind of talk around the Bengals is that since they went 0-2 last year and they're 0-2 this year, they could just do it again and make a run to the AFC Championship game. Last year, Joe Burrow, like you said, he got his appendix removed, and he was able to come back to practice. I looked it up. So he had his appendectomy on July 26th. August 17th, he was back in practice. This past training camp, he hurt his calf actually a day later on July 27th. He returned on July 30th. So he had 6 weeks to rest. He was out 6 weeks this training camp. He was only out 2 or 3 weeks the previous training camp. So this calf injury is a lot more serious than just getting your appendix removed, right? He's not in training camp. He's not in these meeting rooms like he was last season. Even last year, week 1 against Pittsburgh, we all talk about the 3-4 interceptions he threw, but the offense was able to move the ball. I mean, Jamar Chase had 10 catches and 130 yards. They had over 400 yards of offense. Burrow had multiple touchdowns in that game. He just made a lot of mistakes throwing those interceptions. And if I remember correctly, they did. Yeah, I mean, they went back and forth missing field goals at the end. But we haven't seen that type of offensive explosion in this Bengals team. If week 1 you kind of just want to throw out and say, listen, the rain was bad. We look at Cleveland now. They might have a top 5 defense in the NFL. If you just want to throw that out, that's okay. But even still, I can't get past 84 passing yards and 142 total yards of offense. That is not enough for this Bengals team. And if we want to move on to this Ravens game now, I think you're giving them a lot of credit. I think that first half especially, it was a lot of checkdowns. And to Joe Burrow's, he gets a pass because he's hurt, so he wants to get the ball out. He does not want to get hit. He does not want to get sacked. He doesn't want to get put pressure on that calf, and I understand that. But I do think it's hurting the offense because that first half, when he's constantly taking checkdowns, he's really not letting much develop down the field. And in the second half, I guess you could say that the offense improved because they actually put up points. That first half, the offense scored 3 points and a punt return touchdown. But even still, half of those points in the second half came on the last drive when there was 4 minutes left. And the Ravens weren't playing prevent, but they were also just not trying to get beat over the top for a quick score. So I'm not taking a ton away from this Ravens game and saying, oh, this is the step they needed for me to get back in. Mm-hmm. But you trust the offense and everything they've done in the past to get back on track. It's a matter of if this calf injury is really going to take till week 7 like you're expecting, Joel, that's going to be tough to win multiple games. I don't know if you're sitting at 2-4 in week 7 and you got San Fran and Buffalo coming up. You could just go past that and make the playoffs. That's going to be a really tough mountain to climb if you're the Bengals.
And to give them some credit, talking about the Bengals, and honestly the Ravens more importantly, Bengals go and they score 2 drives back-to-back. The Ravens with 3:30 go and run out the clock. That is a testament to, one, Lamar Jackson being in his zone. We talked about it already, the most impressive quarterback on the day. But the defense has to make a stop there. I get it. You only had 7 drives, right? Your offense was only on the field for 7 drives. The defense has to do a job there. You were able to stop them the drive before that. You did force a punt. But then on that last drive of the game, for you not to get a stop, not once but twice, that's killer. If you are the unit that you're supposed to be, Arunmo is going to get that respect for me as one of the better DCs that there is. In that moment when your offense finally, for the first time of the year, clicks and you're showing me something, your defense has to step up for you. And honestly, throughout the entire game, the defense didn't do that.
The reason why I just don't want to pin it on the defense, because to me, they lost because the offense had crucial mistakes. That's really as simple as that. I mentioned the drive before the first half where Jamar Chase had a touchdown, and Rocketson just made a great play on it. But I expect Jamar Chase to come down with that ball.
That's a tough catch.
But that's one of the best receivers in the league.
A fact.
He has to get that.
It was a great play.
So I'm looking at that like that's a 7-point swing right there. They settled for a field goal, but they could have had a touchdown. Then I look at the first drive of the second half when Joe Burrow throws that interception. Although I think it's a great play by the DB, I mean, you're still costing your team points because that's 3 points or that's a touchdown right there on that drive.
No doubt.
So the offense had its chances. They just didn't capitalize on them enough. For me, I thought the defense held up because before that final Bengals touchdown drive, they forced the Ravens three and out. So they did their job in
2
moments.
touchdown drives coming into the second half.
I know, but they did their job when they needed to. Did
One
they do it
drive.
To the point that they needed to? No, they feel like they could have played better. There's no doubt. But at the end of the day, it's a Ravens offense with Lamar Jackson. And once he starts to improvise on 3rd and 3, it's just 3 yards. I mean, 3 yards for Lamar Jackson to get a first down. We're talking about that's automatic. It's hard to stop that guy on 3rd down.
It's like a Eagles 4th
and
and
I
1.
best believe if they got it to 4th and 2 or 4th and 1, they're going for it still.
Here's the thing. The Ravens scored on every single drive except one. They missed a field goal. It was a 59-yarder.
That's deep.
It's Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
Usually automatic.
Somebody else hit a 58-yarder this
But that's
weekend.
a drive that they got like 30 yards off of, though. That's not a great offensive drive.
7 plays, 26 yards. I agree with you because the Bengals only had 2 yards of offense. But they still got into field goal range. They missed here. Then they go the next one. Oh, then the punt return touchdown. That's true as well. But then they come back, get into a field goal, and then they end the half with a field goal as well. Coming into the second half, touchdown. They do punt the ball away on 3 plays. That's a good defensive stance. But two drives starting start in the second half, you give up points, and then the drive to close out the game, you can't get a stop on third. And really, you're talking about that stop on 3rd and 3 when really it was just those guys couldn't get home. Lamar Jackson was surveying the field, couldn't find anything. Then he finally decides, okay, it's time for me to take off because I'm Lamar and I could ice this one right now. But you either one, you got to get home, or why are you sending 3 in that situation on a 3rd and 3? Like, that shouldn't be the case.
If you're sending 3, you got to be able to contain. You got to have a spy or something.
I think
I had to watch that play back.
I think for matchup purposes, because this game is over. If Jake Browning does play, I think the Seahawks game is fine. Their pass rush isn't really much, but against the Titans, against the Rams, those are sneaky games where the pass rush could wreck the offensive line for Jake Browning, make it uncomfortable. And this offense has to get clicking. It has to get that firepower back. And you're not going to win these games playing dink and dunk, running the ball all game, throwing these little short. This offense has to get back to that explosive power with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. And against these defenses, or these pass rushes specifically, these could be tough games. Like, the Titans aren't slouch. The Seattle isn't a slouch. Rams aren't slouch. The Rams especially. Like, these are teams that can come in, call some L's. And that looks very, very, bad in the sense of if you go in, you lose too many games, Joe Burrow has to come back. Now he has to pretty much pull off a miracle because the Steelers are good, the Browns are good, and the Ravens are an elite team.
They still got the Chiefs on their schedule, the Jags on their schedule.
There's 9 teams in the AFC that can legitimately make the playoffs.
And we all think most of these teams will probably be around 10, 11 wins. Your first 2 games now are losses against divisional opponents.
How many games do you think Joe Burrow should miss?
I think,
you said
honestly,
the next 4, right?
It depends on how he loses.
Because right now,
if they lose.
The last report that we have is that he was at practice, did not have his sleeve on his calf, did not have a noticeable limp.
In my opinion, if they lose 2 in a row, he has to come back for that next game.
I think if he loses against the Rams 0-3, you got to come back.
I was going to say, if you're starting the season 0-4,
you got to come back at 0-3.
The season's caked.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
And it's not an indictment on the Bengals, and I apologize for cutting you off, Joel. It's not an indictment on the Bengals if Joe Burrow misses and then they miss the playoffs. No. You just have bigger fish to fry in the long term. You just signed him to $275 million. You need to be smart with this man. This is your franchise.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I agree with you.
That's true.
After week 8, when they come back from the bye, this is the teams in order that they're facing.
Week 7.
Week 7 is their bye. Week 8 they come back.
Okay.
49ers, Bills, Texans, Ravens, Steelers, Jaguars, Colts, Vikings, Steelers, Chiefs, Browns. So they have those.
Browns at the end of the year?
Texans, Colts, Vikings, I think, are games they should most definitely win. That's 3.
Vikings, not a gimme.
Not a gimme, but their defense is so bad that I think.
We've had conversation. Their pass defense has been solid.
Yeah,
it's
Brian
their
Flores
rush
does a good
defense.
job.
Correct.
That could be a shootout.
I believe right now they're 8th.
Texans and Colts think can be scrappy.
They're 8th in pass defense, the Vikings, under Brian Flores this season so far.
Yeah.
They haven't played 2 great passing defense. It's
really?
That's not true. The Eagles, obviously.
The Eagles haven't been a great passing offense so far.
You're not wrong.
Just 2 games, but they haven't been so
burned
far.
them.
Oh, he did.
Smitty did.
That was one of the few plays.
Well, I mean, if Hurts looks the fuck up, people are open. So.
A.J. Brown did have a touchdown called back too, unfortunately.
Honestly, 2. Like the first
A.J.
one,
Brown was
open
open a lot.
This is how I look at it, and it's contradictory because I said earlier I would sit Burrow out. Just knowing the type of competitor Burrow is, I think he will play Monday. That's just my gut feeling. I can also understand the opposite side of this where it's like, okay, yes, you have to worry about Joe Burrow long-term, and Burrow's feeling that as well. But the Bengals organization just came out as a rumor recently, and they've fed it to reporters and saying, listen, T. Higgins is not in our long-term plans. This could possibly be the last season the Bengals have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. The arguably top 2 best wide receiver duo in the NFL, number 1, number 2, whatever way you slice it. Definitely the best trio with Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. So Burrow, and I can understand Bengals fans looking at it this way, this is our last year with these guys. Like, we have to make it happen. Joe Burrow's probably feeling that way. So that's why I think that he probably does play against the Rams. And you talk about explosive offense. The Browns, the Ravens are great defensive teams. Versus the Rams, that's a game to get right offensively.
It is.
Versus the Titans, that's a game to get right passing-wise offensively.
These next 4 weeks.
The Cardinals, Seahawks, these 4 games, the type of momentum they can build from these 4 games heading into the bye, I think they can win all 4 games with Joe Burrow. They could be 4-2 at the bye, and then they get into the tough part of their schedule. So for me, that's where I'm like, okay, but if Burrow feels 70%, I think I got the Bengals over these teams.
But you think they can win with this Burrow, 4 straight?
Against
Burrow
these
right here.
teams, yes. Against these teams, yes.
I think they can too.
Against these teams, I do believe it. But it's whether Burrow wants to take that risk. It's whether the Bengals are going to let him take that risk. But ultimately, if Burrow wants to do
if they want to make the playoffs and make a run, he's going to take that risk. You know, starting 0-3, 0-4 is, especially in the AFC, is a nasty way to go. You know, it's a lot of good teams.
I don't know, man. Is it a get right game?
The Rams?
The Rams?
Is it?
defense,
at least
yes.
defensively, they
'Cause
should be able to
You
move
just
the
told
ball
me Brock
around.
Purdy missed like 3 touchdown passes.
They
did.
did. He did pretty
And
badly.
they still scored 30.
Because
Yeah,
CMC is also unbelievable.
Sure.
But at the
30
same
points.
Great offense.
They
But
had
at the same time,
bad game and they had 30. Is nuts.
they locked down Seattle. They made Geno people who were taking victory laps over. Oh, I don't know if he can sustain it. Definitely not you. I'm not talking about you here.
I know.
Just
I love
get
Geno.
facts that people were saying. Can he repeat it? Don't know if he can. And then goes against Detroit and absolutely puts up a light show. Throws for over 300 yards, game-winning touchdown. But then to the Niners, where the Niners are a different level defense. I'm not looking at this as a overly get-right game where they have CMC. His yards over expected is number 1 in the National Football League. Number 2 is Breece Hall. Just wanted to throw you that bone right there.
Out of week 1.
But Aaron Donald's win percentage is still unbelievable. They still were able to pressure Brock Purdy a ton, 13 times. Were able to get a sack, two hurries, 10 hurries, 2 quarterback hits. That Niners offensive line's all right. It's not a great unit.
Outside of Trent, it's really
you're
bad.
100%
It's
right.
bad.
You're 100% right. They lost some guys. But ultimately, I mean, this defensive line's still going to get its pressure. And the secondary, definitely, that's where you can, or you're hoping to get some action done. But really, it was a CMC level performance where that's why they were able to really pull away.
Ayuk was out the game too, though.
He did have a shoulder
got banged up.
AC joint injury. He ended up playing.
He came back,
played,
but he's a game time.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that Burrow.
Debo was fantastic.
Yeah.
Burrow's going against the Rams defense. Burrow throw for 300 plus against them. He should.
Making another promise.
No, he should. No,
With the Bengals.
he should.
You're already 0-2
Yes.
on promises.
Yes.
I just want you to.
Because I trust these Bengals.
I know you've been
I
trusting.
trust the
it.
Bengals.
The trust.
I
Has been
trust
dying.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow plays. He feels good to play.
He hasn't
should.
thrown for over 250 yet.
They have
Well, he will do
They
it.
have what, 2 offensive touchdowns through 2 weeks, and
They
one
had
was
3 points in the week 1, bro.
Yeah, and
The 2 from Burrow this past week to
and that second touchdown was 3 minutes left.
And
The offense hasn't been good.
Here, hey, listen, there's one thing.
the house on it.
Joe Mixon looks good.
Yeah, the rushing offense.
Joe
is
Mixon
good.
looks solid,
Yeah.
especially where I'm pretty critical over their first half offense where it was too many screens, too many throws to the flat. Joe Mixon was one of the positives in that first half for me, especially in that third drive before the
Well,
half.
are you putting the house on 300 yards?
300 yards.
Putting
If
the
he
house?
plays, we'll see if he plays.
Because the infamous put the
If he
house on
plays.
it in this.
So far, we're not.
That,
so hot.
that really isn't an easy game.
No, it's not an easy game for the defense. I think the offense should have their way with the Rams defense. Aaron Donald is elite. He's the best defense player in the league, but that pass defense, there's nobody on that
I mean,
pass
if Aaron
defense
can get
that
to him quick
is
enough,
good.
and Stafford should have a great game against.
But outside of Aaron Donald, there's not another pass rusher on that team.
Sometimes you don't even need much. It's Aaron.
It's a difference. When they faced him the first time, the Bengals offensive line was weaker.
Von Miller's
and
there
they
too,
had Donald, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, Sebastian Joseph Day. Now it's Aaron Donald and
I think Aaron, you have to double team him, so
Yeah.
it could give a leeway of some window. But maybe the other guys on the Rams can.
No, they'll get
make-
one-on-ones for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just that they got to capitalize.
But
is
that's
what
the
I'm saying.
difference is that in the Super Bowl, I mean, you weren't able to really
for
double
sure.
team
No,
down.
yeah, I
You
know,
had-
I know.
yeah,
They just
you
have
had
to capitalize.
every
on it.
side.
No, this secondary for the Rams is not great.
So
It's
that's
just
why
going
I
to be a
think,
matter of generating pressure.
These are like get right games for the Bengals if Joe Burrow comes back. I think the Bengals will be fine if Jake Browning starts, and let's say the Bengals just rest Joe Burrow, he doesn't play. Next 4 games with Jake Browning, I think the Bengals are 2-4 going into the bye week, maybe 3-3.
They'll go 2-2 in the
with
next
Joe.
I agree.
With Jake Browning.
2-4.
Yeah, 2-4, 3-3. That's where I'm kind of stuck on. No,
3-3. You were.
That would be a blessing.
Yes.
That would be everything has gone right, and the Bengals defense is really shutting down opponents.
What's their record in the next 4, buddy?
If it's Joe Burrow starting it, it's 4-2. I think they're winning every single game next 4 weeks if Joe Burrow continues to play.
Rams, spoiler for those that are subscribed to the Patreon, I have them winning this game on Monday.
Are they home?
Regardless of
The
Burrow,
Bengals are home. I don't believe Burrow's going to play.
I don't think he is out.
I understand where you're coming from in terms of the way that Joe Burrow has come across. He's not going to want to miss his game. I think you have to be smart for the long term of the season. If you're not right now, get right so that, hey, if you get this 2-4 start and by the time Joe Burrow's healthy and ready to get back on the field, that gives you a chance. I don't think he'll play this Monday night. I think that's definitely one of their losses. Seattle's not an easy game. They're going to beat the Cardinals. And Tennessee, with the way that their rush defense has been looking right now, I'm talking about the Bengals, Derrick Henry's going to be able to do whatever he wants there. Or, let me not say would do whatever he wants. He'll be able to control the tempo of the game like he did against
Tennessee
the Chargers.
can do not exactly what Baltimore did, but in terms of controlling the clock.
Their rush
They
defense.
just don't have the pass offense.
If the Bengals, when they go up against the Titans, so far the Bengals have been one of, if not the best rush defense in the NFL. If they can't get Joe Mixon and you have to rely on Jake Browning to throw you to victory, I don't like my chances in that game.
2 weeks in a row, the Titans'
That
defense
Tennessee's game is going to be long.
rush
dragging,
defense
sure.
has been, as advertised, just like last season, dominant. Shut down Jamal Williams, shut down Joshua Kelly. That is going to be a rough matchup for them if Jake Browning is their quarterback.
The Titans' defense is elite. The rush defense is elite. It's great.
Their secondary still bad.
I really love the Titans, but Jamal Williams and Joshua Kelly's not moving me. It's not.
That's a fact.
With the
I'm
Titans
with you.
going great because the Saints' rushing offense wasn't good last year.
Joshua Kelly
with
was
Kamara.
great against the Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't know. The Dolphins' front seven I like, but they just got scorched on the ground. I don't know what happened to them.
Ramondre, they cleaned up the defense very easily.
For me, when I look at the Russian offense or the Russian defense for the Titans, it's elite for sure. But if Derek Carr threw for 300 passing yards, I think Joe Burrow should do the same.
But again,
yes, we were
this is-
saying if with Browning.
We're living in a
Tannehill-
world
with
where he's
Browning.
not playing.
Ryan Tannehill threw like
I
3
think Browning
interceptions
could
that game.
comfortably throw 200.
I don't know
a
shit about
touchdown.
Jake Browning. I'm not going
I
to say
don't know,
do.
but I'm just assuming I think Zach Taylor's a good coach. I don't think he's a bad coach.
Do you?
I do think Zach Taylor's a good coach. I was skeptical on him last year
Mm-hmm.
when he changed the offense midseason. It takes guts, and it takes a lot of
And it
innovation to
worked.
do that, and it worked. So to me, that has given him leeway. And I'm looking at these play designs, and I don't think they're bad. Like, I think the offense isn't just executing at the level it should be executing at, but I'm not looking at this and saying, wow, like these are bad concepts. Like I like them. Even on the first drive of the game where Joe Burrow hit Irv Smith deep and he just couldn't get his second foot in bounds. Jamar Chase on the left side, I believe, had a one-on-one. He had a step on the corner. The progression wasn't to that side of the field, but if Joe Burrow improvises there and passes it to him, that's a touchdown. So the concepts within the offense I'm looking at and I still like. I'm not looking at it saying I don't trust Zach Taylor. And I'm like, Zach Taylor comes from the Sean McVay tree. So with Jake Browning, it's going to be the coddling of the quarterback. It won't be shotgun. It will be under center, boot, play action, runs, just really making the game easy for him. So that's how I feel like the offense would be run under Jake Browning. And that's why I kind of have faith that they can get by some of these games with him, or at least be in them with him.
Listen, I'm hoping Burrow comes back healthy because this offense is fun to watch when he's escaping when he's escaping pressure, getting out of the pocket, extending plays, throwing the ball down the field. This offense is one of the most box office offenses in the National Football League. Without him escaping the pocket, this offense doesn't have the same juice.
Last thing I'll say about the Bengals offense, and we got to move on because we've been talking about them for 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I do think it's
Trying
execution
topics, man.
because if you look at Burrow's ADOT, time to throw, 20-plus yard attempts, they're damn near identical to last season. So it's not like this offense completely changed. He's doing the same stuff they were doing last season. They just haven't been able to connect. First game, the weather, now the injury. Once Burrow's back, they'll be fine.
So we all have to make the playoffs still.
Just hold your answers, because later on in the show we're gonna do an in and out, and similar to what we did last year, and that will be one of the questions. So hold your answer for.
48 minutes of
Later on.
Cincinnati Bengals time.
Here we go.
And
Deserved.
listen,
They're
yeah.
prime time.
My
And
favorite team.
I think they are the team that everybody is most
Worried about.
Worried about. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
we were having the same conversations last year.
We had a poll last year. We had a poll last episode after the reaction on Sunday. What 0-2 team are you most concerned about? The most percentage of votes got the Bengals.
Over the
Second
Chargers?
was the
Not surprised.
Chargers.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Chargers.
I can't agree with that one. It has to be reversed.
So that's what the fans think. Our fans think the
It might
Bengals
be
are the
because
most
of
concerning
expectation.
0-2 team.
People thought everyone has the Bengals shoe in, probably maybe
It's a
Super
good point,
Bowl.
Joel.
Chargers are like playoff
What
team.
number were
Hopefully.
the Broncos?
I don't think I put them up, man. I'm sorry.
Can't even get to the 0-2 poll.
Can't even be recognized. What a shame.
Next question, Phil.
Oh, man. Okay, let's talk about Deshaun Watson. Now, here we can give our full answers to this topic. Is Deshaun Watson ever going to return to his Houston form? Will we ever see that version of Deshaun Watson?
I have a player A, player B here, and we just put up a graphic, so you might know who one of these players is. So player A, 58% completion percentage, 184 yards per game, 7 touchdowns, 5 picks, 79.6 passer rating. Player B, 62% completion percentage, 219 yards per game, 11 touchdowns to 9 picks, and an 80 passer rating. One of them is Deshaun. Do you know who the other one is?
Is it Baker?
Baker Mayfield?
Nope.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, come on. What are you doing?
63%?
62.
60.
Is it Joshua Dobbs?
No, I'll give you one more, and I'll give you a hint.
Is it Zach?
No, at first I wanted Zach, but the number is Zach's are worse.
Oh, okay. Thank God. We're still here.
Andy Dalton.
Justin Fields.
Ryan Tannehill.
No, this player's unemployed.
62.
Unemployed.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Last 7 games, Carson Wentz has more or less played better than Deshaun Watson. We're talking about a guy who doesn't have a job. With all due respect, Deshaun, when Deshaun,
guys. Those are both your guys.
yeah.
Can I?
Okay, my bad.
Can
This is your team.
Let Riv do it because you know what? He was once a believer in Carson Wentz, and he had this fall off out of nowhere.
It was a random fall off, to be fair.
This guy put his eggs in the Deshaun basket too, and he fell off. You might be the fall off king.
He's being rude.
Well, to be fair, let's all piss him.
Kyler Murray.
It's crazy
he
that
not
you're
playing
in on
people.
Wentz
Relax.
and out on Hurts. That's nuts.
He's
Relax
a
with
Kyler
Kyler.
guy too. We
No,
talk
I
about 3
know.
quarterbacks.
To be fair,
That hurts.
Dehls,
That
So
hurts.
is he cursed? Am I finally removing myself from that conversation? Is he the guy that curses players?
Deshaun Fields.
for starters, Wentz, we drafted him, man.
You drafted Hurts.
Yeah, but that was different.
You notice how he
Wentz,
claimed
we had the love.
Josh
like,
Allen?
it's like
He
when
was number
Eli got
2.
benched. Yeah, the Giants were
Turnovers,
hurt.
man.
He's been asked.
Josh Allen's never mind. You claim Justin Herbert. He blew a 27-point lead. Don't
He
ever
did.
forget that. And you claim Russell. Now
It's
listen,
my quarterback.
stinks.
But I claim Tua. And he's on his way to MVP.
All right, that's fair.
Leads the league in passing yards. Number
That's
2 in
fair.
EPA per play.
He's done this every first 3 games of the season. He'll fall
not
off
true.
eventually.
Idiot.
Shout out to Nick Chubb. Let's pay some love to
Shout
Nick
out
Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
Shout out to Nick
That
Chubb.
injury was
Praise.
hurt. The life was
That's
dead
what's up.
when Nick Chubb went out. I mean, this team, we all expected it was going to be run through Nick Chubb. This was going to be a high-powered run team, and then Deshaun was going to make his plays here and there. I don't want to make this from like my perspective. I watched the whole game from top to bottom. I don't want to make this from like a shit on Deshaun thing. I think you guys are going to do a pretty good job of it. I want to look at it from the lens of like just the team in general. Like Jerome Ford came in. He was pretty much solid for us. He did what he can in that type of circumstance. You lose Nick Chubb, you lose a guy who can turn a yard or 2 into 6 or 7. His in-between cuts, his ability to just juke out of any situation, his strength in the way he can just break off tackles. Like, you lose that, you bring in Jerome Ford. He's not going to be able to replace that same thing. But that run he had, that 76-yard run, he's running to the right, flip over back to the left and just said, fuck it, I'm going to go. And it turned into a big touchdown. That was huge. Grant, I don't know how to say his last name, Del Pitt.
That pick was tough.
Fuck the Pitt. He was just great all night.
I was gonna say he was one of the highest graded.
No, he was
He's
the
the
best
second
player.
highest graded safety
He was
this year.
Jesse Bates, number 1, right? Facts.
in my opinion, he was the best player for them that game. Like him and Zadarius Smith, like they were really good. But Grant just changed the whole because Denzel Ward was having an up and down game. Like he was a lead at one point, that sometimes he was missing some plays, and people kept saying Pickens was killing him. I don't think it was that. He had the big play, which was the coverage blown, and then he had a couple good catches on Denzel Ward. But for the most part, they pretty much locked Kenny Pickett down. Like Kenny Pickett couldn't find anybody
His
open.
stat line got saved from that 70-yard
for
touchdown.
sure. He couldn't find anything open. He couldn't get receivers anywhere. But I think like even the run game, Najee Harris. I like Jalen Warren. His explosiveness. He's quick. He's agile. Like, he can move.
I'm losing
He
faith
can, he
in
can.
Najee,
Najee
bro.
is just.
By the day, by the hour.
I'm a guy that likes 2 running backs. I like the power guy on third downs in the red zone, and I like the speed guy. And I think Najee's probably going to get less, and Jalen Warren's going to get a little
Hate
bit
that.
more.
Hate that.
Hate that.
Yeah,
Who
I like it.
likes running back by committee?
I'm an Eagles guy, bro. That's what we do.
I get it.
Yeah,
All
I like
right.
it, but I think
Eagles guy.
please respect me.
Fantasy guys hate running backs by committee.
Hate them.
Really? That's like a
No,
Yeah, of
there's
course, because it
nothing-
takes away
yeah.
points from the running back.
Well, you shouldn't pick Najee.
It's like Nick Chubb was one of those prime guys that was getting
Vulture.
Exactly.
Kareem Hunt's out there on third downs. I'm like, what are we
Kareem's
doing?
a 1K guy.
Kareem was
Yeah, back in
good,
the
but
day.
Nick Chubb was
But
like
Nick Chubb
all-time
cleared.
great
No,
efficient.
100%. And Deshaun made some good throws. Let's not be dumb here. You know, the toe tap,
There's
the toe
a
tap
handful.
to Elijah Moore. Him and Amari had some
Twice that Elijah Moore
He
cost.
did miss Elijah Moore a couple times.
He did.
He did. But the clutch one, which was huge, was on, I think it was 3rd and 10. They needed it. Elijah broke the seam. He was able to get it. Him and Amari had a good connection that night. Also, Amari had some clutch plays on 3rd down, 2nd down, 10 to 15 yards. Just one-on-one throw to Amari. He's going to get that ball. But then he had some dog shit throws. I'm not going to sit here and cap like he didn't. You know, that one bomb to, I believe his name was, I think it was Bell. Or,
Bell.
you know, it might have been the other guy. I forgot his
Bell?
name.
It may have
Cedric
been. It may
Tillman?
have been a bad, inaccurate throw.
It was awful.
It was the most impressive bad throw I think I've ever seen.
No, he launched that shit and it was
How
deep.
many yards was that?
It was nuts.
You're
But it
saying
was
the incompletion?
the one where it could have been
end zone?
interception.
Yeah,
It could have been
yeah.
How
interception.
many yards was that throw
Nah,
in
yeah.
the air?
I mean,
Yeah, the power's
Bro, threw it to
cool.
no
The
one.
accuracy is garbage.
The accuracy
you know?
was garbage. It was
And
pretty bad all night.
The fumble,
Drew Lock guy.
Yeah, oh yeah, Drew Lock. His
dead
aura,
ass?
Drew Lock's aura was nuts. He had insane aura.
That's Drew Lock though. He had all the arm, no accuracy.
All he did was rap in a video one time. Everyone started glazing Drew Lock.
It's swag.
Barely. It was
The,
not cool.
It's
the
a rap
fumble.
song.
Yeah, the fumble. I'm not gonna put too much on Deshaun. The dude punched it out of his arm and then got it from his back. There's nothing you could do. I just think at this point you got to look at the situation and be like, it could be possibly be over, man. I mean, Nick Chubb was supposed to carry this team, and now you looked at Deshaun. He had opportunity after opportunity to win this fucking game. On Monday night, prime time, everybody's watching. You have an opportunity to go 2-0. First of all, that stat was embarrassing for the first time in
78
like
or something,
70.
right?
I was
Yeah.
looking at that shit like, why am I
was
here?
crazy.
Like, this is
No,
embarrassing.
Listen, you being here in the first place is crazy.
Yeah, but Deshaun had every opportunity. And to be fair, the offensive line also kind of failed in the 4th quarter a little bit towards the end. Like, they couldn't protect.
6
But
sacks
Deshaun
allowed.
has to get better. I mean, TJ Watt put his fingerprint on this game.
Alex
Smith
Heisman
was
went
amazing
nuts.
this game. Like, that defense for the Pittsburgh is scary, but still, I think this Cleveland Browns team lost this game more than the Steelers won this game. Too many turnovers. Deshaun Watson getting paid $200 guaranteed $1 million and not being able to play like Brock Purdy is nuts. I'll be honest with you. He couldn't even play to that level, and I think that's kind of embarrassing. For the Browns to make the playoffs, Watson needs to be 75% of good. He needs to be at least Derek Carr or one of those other guys. He's not even that right now. He's probably one of the bottom 5 quarterbacks in the league right now, and that's not good for this
God.
team. And with Nick
think
Chubb,
so?
He is.
based off 2 weeks,
Bottom 5?
based off
is.
these first 2 weeks, I'm just judging over what I've seen. He had, and I'll give him the rain game. If we're gonna give Joe Burrow the rain game, I'll give him the
You're
rain
really
game.
taking.
No, I give him the ring.
yeah,
game,
that-
too.
that
You're
Monday
really
game was
taking Baker
atrocious.
over Deshaun.
I think that's
Like,
nuts.
straight
I think
face, you're
that,
taking Baker
I
over
think that one's a
Deshaun.
little.
No. Give me
I
the
want
shot
an
on
adult at
Deshaun.
quarterback, bro.
But I think the better question is week 3, would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Deshaun on your team? It's a toss-up because
For the contract?
obviously long term,
Baker.
it's like, yeah, give Deshaun. But 1 week, the way they're both playing right now,
It just makes it worse because you lost Nick Chubb. It makes this shit 10 times worse.
100%.
because You
The
lost Nick
pressure's
Chubb.
Because that's the
Yeah.
offense.
Yes.
Like,
No, it
the
is.
pressure,
He's the best running back in the world.
pressure is now on Deshaun Watson, and I mentioned this on a Joe Moran show when John was on, but
Shout out Joe Moran.
they put this
Joe Moran
clip
and John.
of Deshaun meditating on the sideline pregame.
That shit blew mine.
To me, I'm wondering how much like his mental health has been affected by everything he's been through.
You think?
It has to be. It has to
I
be a
mean,
big factor.
definitely.
Like, it has to be a big factor. Even though I don't sympathize with him at all because of what he did,
You shouldn't.
that's a factor why he's playing like this. Deshaun Watson with the Browns, 8 games, 4-4 as a starter, 57%
Are we
completion
really bringing up
percentage,
those 6 games?
9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 186 yards per game, 76 passer rating,
Could be worse.
and a 10.8% sack percentage, which is 31st in the league, only over Justin Fields and the Bears,
The
and
one and
he's
only.
terrible at holding on to the ball.
He does
Through
hold that
2
shit too
games
long.
this year, Deshaun Watson has the highest miss rate of any quarterback in the NFL at 27.6%. He's missing damn near 30% of his throws. That's Zach Wilson's at 15%. Just to give
He
you
doesn't
some
play.
context, he's played the last 2 games. What are you talking about?
He's played literally 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Let's not do that right now. Like,
Deshaun is missing more than Zach Wilson, yet he still looks better when I watch him on the field. My God. But yeah, he has the worst miss rate. He's late on decisions. He's not trusting what he's seeing.
I think he's just not trusting himself.
Is it a Stefanski issue? I pose that question because the Browns are 1-23 under Kevin Stefanski when they're trailing by 4+ points in the 4th quarter, which means that he doesn't make the proper adjustments heading into that final period. But I say that because when Jacoby Brissett was a quarterback last year, it was snaps under center. I think Jacoby Brissett took a total of 1 snap, spread, just empty formation when he was the quarterback for the Browns.
They did that a lot.
Yet with Deshaun Watson, everything is spread. Everything is empty formation.
Wide, yeah.
Everything is reading out defenders and matchups. So part of me is critical of Stefanski for not making it easier on Deshaun, but part of me also says, well, Deshaun, what Stefanski's doing for Deshaun is what Deshaun was great at in Houston. Mm-hmm. Deshaun was that quarterback diagnosing matchups, having great anticipation. He's always held on to the ball and had a ridiculously high sack rate, but the timing, the anticipation, the accuracy were there. So I can't really blame Stefanski for playing to a personnel strength that Deshaun has throughout his entire career been the most comfortable with, because he's not comfortable playing like how Jacoby played last year, but Deshaun is just not good at what he used to be good at right now. So I don't know what the answer is moving forward for the offense, because Nick Chubb is gone. All the pressure's on Deshaun now.
Kareem's here.
And he is back. The magnifying glass is on Deshaun Watson. He has to put up or shut up. He has to perform. $230 million guaranteed. This could go down as one of the worst trades ever. Like, legitimately, he's been this bad.
That's why in the preseason, when we were going through these previews, we said if the Browns want to have success offensively, it's run the ball with Nick Chubb and play action off of that. None of us were up here saying that Deshaun Watson has to put on for the Browns and he's going to lead them to the playoffs. At this point, Deshaun Watson, who was throwing for 5,000 yards, 70% completion percentage in Houston, I don't think we're ever going to see him again. It hurts because he was one of the best quarterbacks that we saw in the NFL for a very short window. But that Deshaun, the one we have now, thinks he's that Deshaun Watson because he still tries to extend plays. He still tries to fit into tight windows, but he doesn't have that same ability. When he's extending plays now, 9 times out of 10, they don't end up being positive plays. They end up being turnovers, or they end up being wildly inaccurate passes or sacks, where there was multiple times, or 2 face mask penalties in the same game. There was multiple times I'm like, Deshaun, get rid of the ball. Like, every single play does not need to be a home run. Throwing the ball away and punting instead of taking a sack or a 15-yard penalty is fine. And this is stuff we talk about with rookie quarterbacks and second-year quarterbacks that we try to get through, let alone a vet who's been in the league, 6-7 years. There needs to be, at this point, some more structure in the offense. It's hard to control what a quarterback does on the field, but you can't continue to just let Deshaun, like you mentioned, Joel, just play 5 wide receivers, that is, and just say, pick apart the defense. Because I don't think at this point he's going to be able to.
They had to, though. Nick Chubb went down.
You still have Jerome Ford was still good.
Jerome Ford ran well.
Jerome Ford was still solid.
He was good, but
it's also a low-scoring game. You don't have to, every play doesn't have to be chunk
But
yard,
then they had penalties.
Yard.
DeJuan Jones was messing them up with penalties. They had it was at points where they needed to throw the ball. Like, at some point, Jerome Ford was good, but he wasn't getting those plays where there was 1st and 10, then he'll get hit. It's like 1st and 11, and now 2nd and 11. Now because he couldn't get those
once they get behind the sticks. You're saying.
Yeah, once he gets in that position where Chubb gets in the position, he makes a move. Ford just doesn't have that ability.
No. Well, you're not expecting Ford to be Nick Chubb. You just need him to be efficient. You're not expecting him to have multiple.
But then when they went down, they had to throw the ball.
They did, but even when Deshaun gets the ball out and it's not interception, just the little things are wrong. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw Deshaun just throw it in stride and the running back and the receiver was just able to go. Everything felt either a little bit behind the receiver. I feel like I haven't really seen him throw with anticipation that often. All of those things that made him an elite quarterback and around the league that makes quarterbacks, that really separates them with the ball placement and being able to throw into those tight windows. It's something we haven't seen last year. We said, okay, get the offseason, the OTAs, the preseason, come back this year and look it. Through the first 2 weeks, he hasn't looked it. Now, this upcoming week, going up against Tennessee, he's going up against probably the worst pass defense, at least. That secondary is very beatable. So maybe this is the test he needs. But still, I don't have a lot of faith in a Browns offense that's going to rely on dropping back 40-plus times.
I know you want an answer from me of whether I believe that we'll ever see Deshaun Watson get back to that level. I'm a week away. From giving up. This Tennessee...
I'm stuck here for the ride. But
this Tennessee defense, and I respect you for that. This Tennessee defense is his last chance with me because it does not get easier after this. You have Baltimore. You have your bye week. San Fran. Indianapolis. Okay, we could see some there. C.J. Stroud just went crazy against them, but there was a lot in garbage time. Seattle. Arizona, that's a good game. But then Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Denver, you could have a solid game. I mean, listen, there's games to be had.
You mentioned a lot of weak defenses.
I'm not going to say you're wrong.
Well, Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no,
it's
that
San
Baltimore,
Fran,
Pittsburgh, San Fran.
Seattle, the Hood should be fine. Seattle,
but Texans, Seattle.
But Tennessee.
I mean, I don't know. He sucks. So.
Texans secondary is not that bad, actually. Texans, as long as it's healthy, it's a solid unit. But if he does not come out and put up an impressive throwing performance against Tennessee, after we saw Derek Carr throw for over 300 while continuously being pressured, they got a ton of pressure on Derek Carr, and he still torched them. Justin Herbert, where he got a bunch of pressure as well, he still was able to throw for over 300 yards, was very impressive in that game, although they did end up losing. You need to play well if you're Deshaun. And you alluded to it earlier, talking about how he was meditating on the sideline. Deshaun was used to being loved in Houston, in Clemson. Now he has almost the entire fan base of, if you're not the Cleveland Browns.
No, they might hate him now.
He has the world rooting
against him.
Mm-hmm.
There is no team, there is no fan unless you're a Browns fan. And even then, there's some fans that stop rooting for the Browns because they have Deshaun Watson as their quarterback. There was very few people rooting for Deshaun. And he plays with that on his shoulders, and it's evident. We see it. He is not playing the same, nowhere near. And it seems as if he's putting the world on his shoulders, because that's what's the truth. That's the reality.
Did you see the sideline play when after the face mask and he was talking, like him and the Steelers players got into it? You could tell, like, the emotions are getting to him.
You think
lot.
defensive players are
talking? Yes.
You think they're like reiterating what he is to him?
You know that how talk goes on the football
They're trying
field.
to get an edge.
It does not matter when you're in those lines. They'll say anything heinous.
Because that's nuts. If I'm playing and I'm Deshaun and I'm getting told that every play.
Are you kidding me?
And
you're not just hearing it from the players. You're hearing on the stands because you know fans say some disgusting things as well. And when
he was in Pittsburgh.
For sure.
They
For sure.
talking
Pittsburgh gets
nasty.
crazy.
It's like every
Pittsburgh
away
gets
game
crazy.
he's going to hear that. You know?
Absolutely. It's like unless he has this great game against Tennessee, which he should. It's a home game. The crowd should be with you. You have the advantage.
Chubb is tough.
And that's another thing that I want to talk about, and then we can move on. You said that the pressure was supposed to be on Chubb to carry this offense. You said the same thing, that you want the offense to be primarily centered around Nick Chubb and play action pass. Isn't that something? You traded 3 first-round picks. You mentioned it, $230 million guaranteed. Deshaun was supposed to change your offense.
Yeah.
The pressure was always supposed to be on Deshaun. It was always supposed to be like that. So even more so now that you don't have that safety blanket in Nick Chubb, now it's even more so heightened. Where I already saw the pressure was all on Deshaun, now it's even more. So it's only going to get worse before it gets better, but Deshaun needs to buckle down. He needs a great performance here for Tennessee. I'm not ready to give up yet. The stats are horrendous in his last 7. They're terrible.
And last Wilson level.
Last 8, excuse me. And these first 2 games to start the season are not a great starting point.
We should subtract 2 because one was in the snow and the other was in the rain.
But that game in the snow, wasn't that against the Bengals?
The numbers probably weren't a lot pretty. Regardless, numbers probably weren't that pretty.
Was that against the
Maybe
Bengals?
we can subtract some numbers. We can get some.
One of them, the rain last week against the Bengals.
No, that I know for sure.
I don't remember what we played in the snow game.
The snow, it might have been the Saints at home.
But regardless of that fact, we need to see Deshaun, for any belief to be had for the future, him come out guns blazing against Tennessee. My verdict will be had after next week.
I think the pressure was only on Deshaun because he would, if he came back to what he was before, they would be an automatic super team. I think if he just came back and he was top 10, 15, this would be a consistent perennial playoff team. With Nick Chubb, you have the 2 combinations of running the ball and having to play action. But for like him to come in to have all that pressure and to think he would just go back to that superhuman form that he was in Houston, that was just a lot to ask. Especially coming in, you had Nick Chubb, who just had his best career year. And he was a 1,600-yard rusher, one of the best running backs in the league. You knew once he came in, you was going to pair it. It was going to be like a 1A, 1B thing to pair them together. So coming in, you had Chubb. First week, Chubb was amazing. Even this week when Chubb was playing, he was amazing. Yeah. When Deshaun was playing off him, and that's what's supposed to be the vibe. Like Chubb get his first, and then third down, you need something clutch. Give it to Deshaun. He can make one play every 3 to 4 plays. Fine, you work your way through that. But now it's like he's gone. He's getting 2 surgeries. on his one leg. It's just
No,
tough.
It's really.
They bring in
sad.
Kareem Hunt. You know, Kareem Hunt was cool for them, but like he's not Nick Chubb. Ford isn't Nick Chubb. Your running back committee
Nobody
was already
Nick Chubb.
naked. Yeah, and Amari Cooper, he's great. You know, he's always open for the
Solid.
most part. Like Deshaun's gonna have to throw the ball 40 fucking times in this game to win these games. Like,
And we spoke about it, and again, there were moments where I looked at Deshaun during the game where, he had his bad throws, throwing behind receivers, sometimes very inaccurate. There were moments, particularly the two to Elijah Moore, where he gave dimes. These were dots.
Say the same thing about
And you
Zach.
could. In what way?
He threw that dime to Garrett. You saw that touchdown? He
What do
throws
you
dimes
mean? What do
sometimes,
you
Zach.
say? Oh, I mean,
Zach Wilson.
No, that was a
sometimes-
dot. That was a dot.
Zach sometimes reminds me of his BYU.
yeah, but
self.
Zach's also never been good. It's different. Deshaun was good at one
He
point.
needed to sit.
He wasn't just
As a
good.
rookie.
He was just like
Amazing.
like one of the best. In
He
the
was the
league,
smartest
but
quarterback in the NFL.
He
according to
was.
You did say that.
Smartest?
Yeah,
Yes.
you sent me the video. Please. Yeah, yo, stop.
Smartest?
Stop,
Smartest.
Stop. Yeah.
Who?
He
Deshaun?
was a great processor.
Deshaun?
Yeah, yeah.
No. I mean, in his prime, bro, Deshaun was top 5.
Prime being, he's 27.
No, but he had a season where he
Pre-
threw for
No,
40.
that's what's painful to me. Like
Houston-
he's 27.
And that was the year after DeAndre Hopkins was traded.
Yeah.
And
Listen,
he
the
has
Browns-
one of the best statistical seasons in the NFL history.
like his prime should be starting now, and it's like
Bro, at process in the field, we do call it a blemish on his name now that he holds onto the ball so long because he's not as accurate. But really, that's what made Deshaun so great in Houston as well. He allowed these plays to develop. He was escaping the pocket. He was hitting
when
these
now they're
high-level
developed,
throws.
he just won't pass the
It was
ball.
never
He
the
can't-
smartest, though.
He
It was
can't
always
hit the high level
other
throws anymore.
guys.
That, I think
He can
that's what
barely
makes
hit the
him
low
like
level.
who?
Dehls.
Brady?
I agree.
Mahomes.
I agree.
Mahomes took
Herbert
him
up there too.
He didn't learn how to read defenses until his second year.
That's
in the
actually
National
that makes
Football
it
League.
better because he threw 55 TDs.
That,
He's a
that is
goat.
just
Yeah.
not true. Mahomes
That's what
knew
he
how-
said that.
No, he
He
knew
came out and said that.
the context.
So
of
I'm
what
just
he's-
letting it be
no,
known
the,
it's
the
true.
context of what he's saying is he didn't master it like he did his second year. You can't play quarterback and not know how to read
I'm
defenses.
tired of the
You
semantics.
can't throw 50
Yeah,
touchdowns
of
in your
course.
first season.
Yeah.
No,
Why
not-
is this a
not-
Mahomes thing?
Why
Why-
does this
I
even
don't
No,
matter?
because he called Watson the smartest
No, you
quarterback
said
in the league.
exactly.
He did say that. I'm not. He said that.
And
He
also,
did say that.
Watson was not making any type of throw where he was obviously throwing into pressure, where we see Mahomes really trust his arm. Sometimes it's a little bit too much trust in his arm. He's turning the ball over, but it's Mahomes. He has the best arm in football. You
There-
respect and
There
understand
was
those
some
throws.
There was a throw to Cooper where Cooper, Coop did his little boop, 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 bow to the left, and Deshaun put all his might into a literally wide open throw
no,
to
it got
the middle.
tipped. It got tipped.
No,
Oh,
no, it was
got
another
you,
one, like
got
a
you.
wide open throw into the middle. Deshaun put all his soul and might just to make sure it was accurate, and it was still a little bit off.
As harsh as it sounds, I don't care. Deshaun deserves this, how he's playing right now, and the Browns deserve their return on Deshaun for even trading him.
You
for
can't-
even trading
the
for him in the first
Browns
place.
deserve it.
And for how they did Baker Mayfield dirty.
Baker
There's really
fucking
not. I mean,
Mayfield.
If
Yeah,
the
because
Deshaun
they
shit I get.
they
Baker's
no, they sent out a report. We need an adult at quarterback saying they need to move on from Baker and then traded for Deshaun Watson.
So
They
you're-
100% deserve
So
this.
what did they?
And now
what
Baker's 2-0, baby.
What did
Stop
what
playing.
did what
Stop
did they
playing.
owe Baker?
They owe him more respect.
What did he do?
He
Won
won
a
them their
playoff
first
game,
playoff
don't
game in
forget.
22 years.
Oh, congrats!
What do you mean?
That
That's-
might be your
that's
favorite
big.
stat of all time.
But Baker Mayfield has won a playoff game more recent than Deshaun Watson?
Congrats.
Exactly. So
That's-
Baker Mayfield did something for the Browns franchise. Let's not act like he
But let's
did do
not
something
act
for the
like
Browns
it's some
franchise.
We don't-
hoopty thing.
He had a
like,
top 5 rookie quarterback season statistically.
That
with the
game,
What
Browns.
happened
that
since
game
then?
against the Bills.
He's
that
2-0
He's
with the
2-0 right
Bucks.
now. What are you talking about? 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
bad.
How about you stop talking? You just
Then he
picked him up fantasy, Dehls.
I had
Yeah,
to.
you just picked him up.
Deshaun's-
You believe in him.
Deshaun's last win in
Philly
the playoffs
looked mid.
was one of the more
I
impressive
picked him up too.
Yeah,
performances that we saw.
Guys.
Just didn't want to leave him
I
hanging.
got you. Appreciate it.
Where Deshaun has the game-winning spinoff of a sack.
That was amazing. Yeah, that was.
That's
like
That was 2019 though, not 2020. Baker won 2020.
COVID year, Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
Steelers, they was rolling that
Lost the
shit. I
backup
don't know.
quarterback.
Listen, you're not off the hook, mister, because you're gonna have to make a decision on this show about Deshaun Watson. Not if you think he returned to
Pick
the
a
Houston
side.
form. This is Would You Rather Deshaun Watson edition.
Let's do it.
First name up, the Browns' old quarterback, Mr. Baker Mayfield.
Deshaun Watson.
I'm still taking Deshaun.
I'm taking Deshaun Watson.
I'm taking Baker Mayfield. He's won a playoff game more recently than
You didn't
Deshaun
ask all
Watson.
that. Just pick.
Look
Yeah,
at
no one.
No, look at
Nobody
these
cares.
stats. 245 yards per game compared to Watson's 194. 69% complete percentage compared to Watson 55%. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
He played
Deshaun,
the fucking
2
Vikings
touchdowns, 2
secondary, dude.
interceptions.
And he played the Bears. And if you watch the Bears game, because you don't watch, and I watched it.
I watched the Bears.
No.
Did you see the throw Baker had on Mike Evans? That was a dot.
Mike Evans was damn near open 88% of the time.
There was some throws.
There were some throws where he was
Baker
open. He
made.
was just getting big yak. Now, Baker played well. But there was plays where Mike just get it and then just run free.
Mike's big
Mike had a
play was a dot.
70-yard catch.
Yeah, but that was a dot.
Yak. No, I'm
No,
talking
that
about
one, no.
70-yard
Baker
catch.
has some dots, but like, bro, it's the Bears
Baker's
defense.
top 5 passing yards in the league right now. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
he played the Bears
104
defense.
passer
Oh, yeah,
rate compared to
he played
Deshaun
the
Watson,
Vikings
69%.
defense.
And he
The
didn't throw
defense
for
has been
200
ass.
yards against the Vikings.
Defense has been ass.
Would you rather have Deshaun Watson guaranteed for $230 million or Baker with his current?
Oh,
I'd
Baker.
rather just
but that's not the
retire.
question.
Baker.
We're not.
I'm
This
going
isn't
Baker.
would you rather with contract. This is just would you rather.
I'm going Baker.
Bro's adding contracts now. This guy's sick.
Take everyone over to Sean.
Russell Wilson.
Russell's been
Russ
better
has been cooking
now.
recently.
But like, they both equal.
Give me Russell Wilson.
I think
man.
Russell
We
Wilson's
here.
better right now.
Fuck that. I'm going Deshaun. I'm still riding high till the wheels fall off.
Give me Russ.
This season, Russell Wilson has been one of the better quarterbacks.
Deshaun-
He has been
Russell-
a first half merchant.
Russell Wilson still has 16 games of being one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
Deshaun has 8.
So we'll get there when we get
He's
there.
halfway there.
You're at the halfway point.
When we get there, we get there.
I'm going Russ.
Deshaun.
Who you going with?
Russ. So that
2022 Matt Ryan.
okay. Jesus Christ.
With
Deshaun
the Colts?
Watson.
Oh,
The Colts.
Deshaun. Oh, my.
2022,
You know Matt Ryan actually has a higher
got
passer rating than Deshaun.
22 Matt Ryan was the numbers actually look decent because at first that was gonna be
He said
player A,
20,
player B,
22.
but now he was
Deshaun-
so bad,
Deshaun
bro.
Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Definitely going with Deshaun.
Matt Ryan looked like he needed to be in a booth with all due respect.
Didn't he get benched? Who did he get benched for?
What
What was his name?
Ellinger?
Sam Allen.
Was it Ellinger?
Sam
Oh, my
Allen.
God. We
Sam
laughed till the
Yeah.
wheels
He
fall
didn't
off
get-
when that happened.
It was purposeful. Matt Ryan did not deserve to get benched. He deserved more respect.
He was horrible.
They also
deserve more
hired
He's still a
Jeff
free agent. It
Saturday,
didn't matter.
so-
He didn't actually
And what
fully
did you
retire.
say?
No, he's. I know.
Drew
The
said
Jets
something
they're
before.
my contact.
The Colts don't deserve no good things. Matt
They
Ryan
don't.
was one of them. He was good.
Well,
They don't
got,
deserve him.
They got something good brewing in Indy. I'll be honest.
I'm going with Matt Ryan, man. Give me the leader.
They don't deserve Anthony Richardson.
Give you the
I don't
leader.
disagree.
Give me the leader. Matt Ryan. Geno Smith.
Gino.
Right now? Gino.
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 Comfortably.
I'm going with Geno. Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
Come on. Brock. Fuck are we doing here? I'd never pick against my guy. Sorry, Cleveland. Enough.
I'm going with Deshaun.
I'm going to go with Brock Purdy here. Derek Carr.
I'll go with Derek Carr.
Wait. Pause the fucking would you rather.
What?
You picked Deshaun over Brock Purdy?
Yeah, man.
Why?
He got done watching that last game of
It was
film. He's
bad,
like, I did
man.
not.
But you just watched
bro, he's
Deshaun
got-
twice.
Brock Purdy has a lot of film
He
that
does,
he's
he
a
does,
really
he
accurate
does.
passer.
He does. Listen, nothing
I mean,
against
we're
Brock
locking in
Purdy.
the past 8 games. Past 8 games of Brock Purdy
You know what it
clears.
is?
That's
Listen,
not
it's
close.
the ceiling of what Deshaun is. Brock will never have that ceiling.
What's
However,
the floor?
We're talking about would you rather
this
right now.
floor is pretty bad. This floor is bad.
Brock's floor seems so safe. At least in San Francisco.
This floor,
We'll never leave.
this game against the Rams, I feel like this was his floor. This was his worst game, in my opinion, of his career so far.
I'm going to be honest with you. The stats don't show that he was that bad.
He
Mhm.
missed a lot of throws.
He's had games like this where he's missed those throws. I try to tell you. But
He
now,
only threw for
now you
205.
watch the Rams and you're like, you know what? Brock Purdy didn't play that good. Listen,
Nah, Brock was
Purdy's
amazing
fine.
week one.
Brock Purdy's fine. Week
He
one,
was
yeah,
he was
amazing.
borderline perfect.
No, Brock Purdy, amazing week one. I'm
You
talking
said
about the
nothing
game.
at that point.
I'm talking about the
I remember
games.
that.
Interception
in
counter. What was
2022.
it?
Two interceptions. That's what he
It
said.
should have been interceptions.
Yeah, he was talking about should have.
I'm talking about in 2022 when he started to start. There were some games in there sprinkled in that he was. It showed his carelessness
was
with
a
the
rookie.
ball,
Yeah.
his accuracy. It
It's
showed.
also game 2.
I mean, I
of,
understand. But
206 passing yards this past week. A lot of the offense was generated by Christian McCaffrey, who I already spoke about.
half of his
goes
games
well.
are under like 225 passing yards though.
That's also true.
Yeah.
He's a touchdown guy.
But three horrible overthrows.
Like I like Brock. I this only
I
thing
like
said
Brock
about
too.
him. I just don't think he's
Shocker.
a crazy upgrade over Jimmy G. That's all I said. Like I don't think Brock is like he can't play because he could play. It's just in those games when you're down and the running game is not going and he needs to make plays, is he gonna outdo those quarterbacks?
Jimmy
Jimmy
should have
G-
kept
no.
Trey Lance.
Jimmy
man.
G
Trey Lance is one of the
definitely
guys that could
got
do
more
that.
slack than he deserved. He
Jimmy,
was pretty good statistically last
Trey
season.
Lance could go toe to toe with a lot of guys.
Yeah, Brock. I think he obviously. I understand
Yo,
where you
what's
guys.
wrong with you? Talking about some Trey Lance.
It's just the
Mike
ceiling.
McCarthy, baby. Quarterback guru.
He might be.
You're going with Derek Carr?
I'm going Derek Carr.
What'd you say the 200 stat shit you just said?
He said most of his games.
Half of his
under
games have been
225.
under 225 passing yards.
Why'd you say 225? Why was that so specific?
Because week one his line was 226.5 and I took the under. And that's why I took the
What
under.
was that? FanDuel?
No,
Mojo.
for Mojo.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I like that. Okay. I had to make sure because you.
That's
used a
why.
specific
That's why I
number.
had that stat specifically in my head. Yeah.
Derek Carr
Derek
or
Carr.
I'm going Deshaun.
I'm gonna go with Carr, man.
I'm going Watson. Shout out to Cleveland. We here, man.
Carr did not play that great against the Panthers.
Nah, he had some really bad throws.
Avero, man.
I'll be
Miss him
honest.
every day.
Avero.
If Ryan Tannehill doesn't throw 3 interceptions, they're probably 2-0 right now.
Yeah.
They lost
Agreed.
by 1
Titans,
point.
you're saying.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
lost by 1 point to the Saints.
And now the quarterback that the Texans got by trading Deshaun, C.J. Stroud.
Stroud.
Twin.
I'm going with C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
The last 2 games, he's been amazing.
CJ has been pretty
That's my
damn great.
fucking guy. Like he's like that for real. He's gonna.
Yeah,
Take
listen,
Houston to the promised land.
He was
there's
doing it without 4 offensive linemen.
there's really great days to come for the Texans.
do
It's
shit.
unfortunate they don't have their first round pick next season.
Hey,
They have money.
if Stroud looks like this, I know you didn't
Agreed.
trade for Stroud, but
Correct.
take it. Take the
Yeah.
dub. Will Anderson
Even if
looks
it's Caleb?
solid too far. If it's the number 1 pick, yeah, that hurts. But
Yeah, I think for the future of the Texans, I think I lean CJ as well.
CJ's gonna bring them to the promised land. I can't wait. I will
couple
be an
years.
honorary.
Is he better than AR?
No,
I think so. I think he'll be the best in his class.
AR
But I like AR. I really do like AR.
AR is
He's
fire.
He's so cool.
No, he's cool
He's
as fuck.
amazing.
He's
I like
nice,
AR.
bro. He gives me that real funky
like the
swag.
first
As
guy
a
we
passer
all
right
agreed
now,
on.
it's easy. CJ Stroud has shown
Yeah.
to be the best passer of the three.
No Michael Pittman, by the way.
But Bryce
Yo,
looks good.
Pittman,
Bryce
no
does-
lie,
Just
I've made him my sit of the week 2 weeks in a row.
made you look
I'm
foolish.
done.
Yeah,
He
He's
looks
nice, bro.
nuts.
he looks really
Nice,
good.
bro.
And Gardner Minshew can run that offense. He
Just-
played really well against the
He
Texans.
came in and was
it
bugging,
really
bro.
just kills me every time you just bring up.
Irrelevant stats, right?
No.
What do you mean? That's why Michael Pittman had a great day too.
I know.
Michael
I
Pittman had a
brought him
great
up.
day the week before.
I know,
He did.
but Gardner
He had
Minshew
a
can
better
play.
day,
It just
actually.
killed me that out of nowhere you're just like, yeah, Gardner Minshew.
Because
He can.
he's a future Jet.
He came from Shane Steichen's offense with the Eagles. You know,
He lost
he's
to
been
the
in it.
Cowboys.
The Cowboys are.
No, he fucked
Yeah.
up.
He played a good game. He threw for over 300
No,
yards.
the fourth
didn't
quarter,
he?
he fucked up.
He's no Jalen Hurts. What
Listen,
can
if
you do?
Gardner, no, of course not. If Gardner Minshew's on the Jets, though, I'm happy.
He's solid.
That's fair.
If he's on the Jets, I'm like, you know what, we got a chance every week.
I respect that.
Every
Zach or
week.
Gardner Minshew. is
Every
not
week.
even a question.
Yes.
Every week is a little
Is that not
nuts.
true? If we got Gardner Minshew, we have a chance.
So you play the
every week.
Niners, you have a chance?
Yeah, a small chance. We
Remember
have a
when the
chance.
Jaguars won week 1 with Gardner Minshew and it was like, yeah, baby, there's more to come. Didn't win a single game the rest of the season.
Minshew mania was a time, man.
It was.
Broadway
like,
Minshew, we got to make it
yes.
happen. Broadway Minshew.
Who's we? Oh, the Jets.
Oh yeah, the Jets.
You guys are done with Zach? You don't want to keep Zach? He's cool.
No. We need, but
played the
we need to
Cowboys,
get
bro.
another body in. But guess what? We have New England, and then we have Kansas City.
You haven't beat New England.
14 games
L.
straight.
My fuck.
2015.
Another spoiler. L.
So wait, you
I'm
have
afraid. I'm afraid
It's gonna get ugly.
Zach Wilson's gonna collapse.
where are you guys
I
at?
am.
New England?
We're home. We're home, I believe. I believe we're home.
So you're done with Zach. You keep praying. Like, what's up?
Listen, I think we should give him the week, whatever. But
We.
yeah, the Jets. We come on, bro. You say we with the Browns. I don't like we.
No, I'm saying-
we.
I'll tell you what. I'm glad you brought that up. You said that in my head. I was doing backflips.
no, no.
I said, what is he
No,
doing over
no.
here?
I'm saying we in a sense of like we all been gave up on Zach. Like the us.
I didn't take
for
it that
you is what I'm saying is you done. Like this is your last hurrah. I feel like it would take more to be done with him. You've been through so much with him. Like you've cried on camera for him. Like
Multiple
you,
times.
no,
yeah,
multiple
you,
times.
like you cried at home for him. Like I didn't think it would take 3 weeks. And you thought this was the learning year. I thought you give him a pass. That's all I'm
It's a-
saying.
oh,
I know, you know, that's
There,
all I'm
you
saying.
mentioned it perfectly. I was under the expectation that Aaron Rodgers was going to be our starting quarterback for the year.
We all were for sure.
Unfortunately, the Jets' present not only got torn apart, but the Jets' future got torn apart because Aaron Rodgers was supposed to lead us to the promised land this year. He gets injured. Zach Wilson was supposed to learn. He was supposed to watch Aaron Rodgers play, be with him through every step on the sidelines, learn where him coverages, and understand the game. Oh, Zach, after the first drive, you got to go in there again.
He was scared.
Aaron Rodgers got hurt for the year. Zach Wilson didn't even get the chance to learn and sit for an entire season. He's getting thrown into the fire to a stretch of games that every Jets fan knew was going to be the toughest of the season. Versus the Cowboys, he had that one throw to Garrett Wilson. He missed a lot of throws. And those 3 interceptions, I know it's in the fourth quarter. He was pressing. Those were terrible decisions. To me,
That was also when you were down 2 scores.
down- you were
already.
down
but to
20,
me,
bro.
I'm looking
I
at
don't
that
really
and
care.
saying, Zach, you have to understand the media and the politics of the sport. And Chris Sims said this, and he's a Zach guy too. So, we see eye to eye.
Chris Sims is losing me fast.
Chris Sims, I like him. I like Chris Sims.
I know you do.
But Chris Sims said this. He said Zach has to understand the politics of the sport. If I throw one interception, the interpretation of everybody of my game is going to be we were just outmatched. If I throw 3, whatever time it was, most people don't watch the game. They're going to say, oh, Zach lost the Jets this game. And now all week long, Jets teammates, Zach, the coaches, have to answer questions about fucking
but
Zach.
what does it matter about the outside?
Yeah.
When you watch the game and you understand we were already getting smoked. The Jets'
It's a distraction
defense,
of it.
Because let's be real, who has more responsibility in this L? The Jets' defense or Zach Wilson?
No, the offense. 100%.
The defense was
defense.
giving up a lot of plays.
Your
in the first
defense
half.
is supposed to be your bread and butter, keep you in
wasn't
games.
stopping Dallas.
We
We're not
had
supposed to let up 30
conversations
points.
that the Jets' spread was one of the best spreads of the week. Why? Because your defense is so elite.
I was delusional.
Dak Prescott, no, but you are
No,
not.
but
Understandable
everyone,
delusion.
a lot of people like Jets plus 9.5.
Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard did whatever they wanted. This is why when we go into our power rankings, this game moved me because this was supposed to be a superior defensive unit, and the Cowboys went in there and did anything they wanted.
It was
They
a Mike
dominated.
McCarthy masterclass. It was. And play calling. Come on, you Dehls.
I'm not. Listen, they played great. We're gonna get into the power rankings later. I have them insanely high, as I should. They look great, but it's more in the Jets defense who couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. Dak was able to complete basically anything. What do you have? 6 incomplete. What was he? 31 of
31,
37.
37.
He had
cooking.
6 incompletions.
And talk about my boy.
CeeDee Lamb was lining up all over the field. He was doing his thing.
We should have had Sauce shadow him.
We should have, because he only had like 20 yards on Sauce.
Yeah.
But the offense obviously didn't get anything going, but we knew this. Going into the game, we're like, for the first 3 quarters, Zach basically played how we wanted him to. He didn't do anything special, but he didn't turn the ball over. The 4th quarter, once we were down 20, game's fucking over. If he wants to go throw the interceptions, like whatever.
No, but those interceptions were like
here.
bad
I'm
plays.
here.
Though.
I don't know. The
You're
deep
here, but
shot's
I'll
fine.
never
The
let
other
you
ones,
forget.
yes.
Why?
Cuz
Bro, let me be a man and live in my mistake.
I'll never let you forget.
One mistake.
CD.
That I wasn't in on CD, but I'm here now. I apologize.
Goofy.
He's amazing.
Now listen.
Hate that for the culture, man.
I'm
just
Raw.
not-
That's my guy. I'm sorry.
I'm just not getting my hopes up on Zach
Oh, no, they're
again because I've done it. I did it last week. You know that
Just
didn't end
root
up well.
for him. You don't
No,
have
I'm
to.
rooting for him.
That's
but this is the
it.
thing. But I have an expectation, Drew.
Why?
When Zach? No, listen. When
Why?
Zach? No, an expectation that he will be bad.
Oh.
When Zach Wilson was a rookie, I had the best seats in the house to the Jets game, middle of the field. Oh my God, I saw the entire field
You got season tickets, by the way, guys.
versus the
you?
Patriots. Yeah, that year I did. It was versus the Patriots game at home. I think Zach threw 3 or 4 interceptions. I sat through every single one of them. Couldn't believe it. It was Sam Darnold all over again. Next year, Mojo sends us out to the Jets game. Against who?
Shout out Mojo.
The Patriots.
You see my walk?
You was talking
He
crazy.
You see my walk?
He teased me. Zach teased me. He had that first drive where he threw a dime to Conklin. We drove down the field. We like, yo, this is Zach's game. Bad decision. 3 interceptions. This is a yearly thing.
That game was
That
funny as
every
fuck.
time Zach plays the Patriots, he crumbles. And so for me, I'm going into this Patriots game. I saw how they guarded Jalen Hurts. I saw how they guarded Tua. I mean, what are we doing here? I'm thinking he's gonna throw like 3 picks. I'm gonna be honest. Like that, if he hits under that number, I will be surprised. I am thinking he's gonna throw 3 picks, and I think if he throws 3 interceptions in back-to-back games, they're gonna make a move. That right there. That like this is his last chance. Like it's over. Honestly, he's supposed to sit this year and learn.
Well, not anymore.
You know why I sympathize with you? Because I felt this pain on Sunday. I felt this pain. And mine was more heightened because we had just blown a 20-3 lead. So it was understood. But here, it's tough because, again, I'm not here looking at Zach Wilson against the Cowboys and looking at him as the reason you guys lost that game. However,
Didn't help though.
you can understand going into this week against the Patriots where you're 0-14 in the last 14 games, I'm assuming you'd feel pessimistic about this game. I wouldn't be feeling great. I know neither of you do.
Nope.
So the expectation is, Zach's going to go in there and lay a dud. So what does that mean? If your expectation is already dog shit, anything you do that's better than that
Anything's
is
positive?
going
Yeah.
to be positive. You just need to go out there and not be garbage.
I do think Zach has improved from last season. Like
It's marginal.
It's marginal, but
He's hitting the easy
Yes,
throws.
exactly. I don't think the Jets are gonna be put in a position for Zach to throw 3 interceptions unless it really just gets out of hand early. I think
bro.
they'll be in the game.
I don't know. As with Zach, I'm not surprised with any decision
Because
he
the
makes.
Cowboys game, he didn't have any mistakes the first 3 quarters. It's once we were down 20, they're like, all right, well, we have to throw every single play because there's 9 minutes left and we need 3 touchdowns.
We're going to get into this week in the NFL. Before we get into it, just got to shout out Mojo Fantasy. Later on in the show,
man.
we will be previewing Thursday Night Football, giving our spread pick, our prediction, and player props for the game via Mojo. But we're in love with Mojo Fantasy. It's a crazy new app that turns sportsbook odds and selections into fantasy contests. Here's how it works. There are thousands of NFL and MLB player props. You build a portfolio, and the better your portfolio performs, the more you cash in. Pick as many props as you want and try to beat the crowd. It's a whole new way to play fantasy. The props act like stocks, so you can buy and sell live all game long. It's the only fantasy app that lets you make moves after the game starts, so you're not stuck with a bad pick. You can cash in on a hot start or just hang on and let them ride. That's it. Make picks, make moves, make money. Check it out on the Apple App Store now. They're coming to more states and adding more sports soon. And Thursday Night Football, we will have our very own pick-a-side contest. Last week, we had the room entirely full.
Yeah, get
My
that out,
goodness.
bro. Get that out. You
Entirely
good?
full. Yeah, I'm good
All right.
now.
Shout out to y'all, man.
50 participants. We might have to make it 100 so everybody could go in and
That's
join
a
in on the
fact.
fun. But download Mojo Fantasy. It's available in 19 states and D.C. On to this week in the NFL. Is there something that stuck out to you this weekend?
What are you guys talking about? What is this room?
So Mojo Fantasy, when you play the app, like FanDuel Fantasy.
Okay. I'm here.
So
I'm
kind
here.
of like FanDuel Fantasy, you enter into contest.
I'm here. I just didn't know.
Yeah,
I'm here,
Mojo
I'm here,
gives
I'm
you
here.
$500 in Mojo money. You set up a lineup, and if your
there's a lot of
portfolio
things
makes the
going
most
through my
money,
mind right now.
I'm here, bro.
You
No,
win
I'm
money.
good.
I'm here. All you gotta do is explain. You guys don't explain shit to me. That's all it is.
You don't pay attention is your
don't.
issue.
That's not true.
He's always like, you guys handle it.
Riv,
Y'all got it.
See, here's the thing. I'm gonna give my this week in the NFL.
I have mine
Riv's
already.
like, I'm here for my
Oh,
looks and my
really?
takes. I respect
All right,
it.
you're going second.
I have mine already. It's Avonte Maddox, bro. Torres Pictorial.
Ah, man, yeah, it's a tough loss, man.
I have 2. They're
Out of
both
all
about
the
your guys,
things.
though.
That's important for me.
you mentioned an injury.
That's okay. That's fine.
That's fine. It's a
Last week I did.
And
I
C.J.
like-
Gardner-Johnson potentially could be out for the season.
So
as
this is
well,
more
man.
for my team. He left us.
I know.
But shout out to him. He was great for us last year. I hope he gets better. Maddox out for this possibly the season. He's on IR right now. We're pretty naked in the secondary too, so this kind of hurts. He was kind of our slot corner. So and Bradbury's still out with a concussion, I believe. So I don't know if he's gonna play this week, and that's really gonna hurt because we're gonna have to throw in Ringo.
You guys
and
play this week?
Bucks. We traveled to Tampa. Relax, please. Please.
If Baker
I already
Mayfield
see your
beats
face.
y'all, Baker, baby,
You
let's
know,
go.
You know he's taking the
Do you
plus
wanna put a
6.5 or
friendly
whatever it's
wager
gonna
on?
be.
We'll do it on the Pick'em show tomorrow.
Okay.
Make sure
Patreon
y'all tune
exclusive.
into the Patreon. We're doing it on the Pick'em.
Give us a dollar, man.
My this week facts. It's only $1 to
Give us
join the
$1.
Patreon,
Come
and
on.
you get an extra episode a week.
It's $1.
We're spoiling you
Get
for
$4.
$1.
You're
episodes
gonna
a month.
sign up and not even think about it. It's
And then you
$1.
get to
Actually,
talk to us.
yeah.
You get to join the Discord. You get to have conversation, mostly with Riv. But I come in time to time,
Me
and
too.
I talk my shit. I called Riv a whore yesterday. Find out why I did that if you join the Discord.
That just comes in and he talks about another man being handsome and hops out.
He has aura. You found out
What he
what
said?
aura
He came
means
in.
now?
He was like, he said something. I think it was NFL chat. He said B John. He might have said B John.
Now, who was? It might have been AR. I don't remember.
It was AR. He was like,
it
AR
AR?
is so good, man. And
It was-
left.
I mean, bro,
Yeah.
he didn't get hurt. But go ahead, go on.
So my this week in the NFL actually is about Bijan Robinson, about how through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season, first 2 weeks of his NFL career, he is the only player in NFL history to have over 150 rushing yards and over 10 receptions since 1970, the NFL merger. He is as advertised. He is the Saquon level prospect that he was being respected as. He is next level disgusting. His moves are unbelievable. There's NFL footage. There's a video out about him in slow motion. Remember that video of me doing the do. They highlighted that video, and rightfully so, because he gets past the first guy. He makes the first guy look absolutely foolish. That video really is one of the cleanest videos out right
Talking
now.
about the Sky
That's just
Cam
an
one?
Yes,
8K,
the Sky
bro.
Cam.
Oh my God.
That they slow it down when he gets to the second and third
Yeah.
dude. No, he has been unbelievable. This Falcons rush offense, and really because of how versatile he is, how much he can impact the pass offense as well. They are going to be one of the most fun offenses to watch, and it's only because of that man right there. Let's respect Arthur Smith. I don't want to disrespect him. I think that a lot of
Respect
people.
that other man too that plays
I won't.
wide receiver.
Absolutely. Shout out to Drake. Shout out to
You
Drake.
thought I was
Yeah,
gonna say quarterback,
Twinsky. No, I did. I most definitely did. Listen, I respect Drake. I respect Kyle. I definitely respect Bijan. Desmond's got to cook. He's got to cook. He just wishes he was Sam Howell. If Sam Howell was in this offense, it's spooky.
I think he wishes he was the top guys and not Sam Howell. But I get what
Because Sam Howell would have time to actually sit in this pocket. Because this offensive line is way better than what he has in Washington. But let's not take away credit. He is 2-0 to Desmond Ritter's.
Would Desmond Ritter thrive in
He just needs to
Shanahan?
limit
protection.
the mistakes. That's it.
For sure.
He makes like 5 bad decisions for like every 3.
Would Desmond Ritter thrive in the Shanahan system?
I feel like he's having success in Arthur Smith's. It's definitely possible that he could. The issue becomes he's not much of a passer in this offense where Purdy.
He's not as accurate as Purdy.
He's not. He's not. Nowhere near.
He wouldn't be. He'd be.
And
solid.
Purdy's,
He'd be whatever.
Purdy's timing is one thing that's because I obviously was critical of his misses, but his timing is very, very great.
He's not a bad processor either.
No, but I'm talking
he's
Ritter. He lacks a lot.
Which is it's crazy. Yeah, I mean,
No anticipation. Placement's not great. Inconsistent.
He's a good rusher.
He is a good rusher.
He can
You know,
move. He's big.
But Bijan.
he is huge.
I know we all thought
Why'd
Bijan
you
was
say
going to be
like
a
that?
great
I don't
player.
know.
Like nobody had doubt about that. But I remember the mock draft. What do you mean? Don't look at me like that. Why are you looking at me
Oh,
like
you
that?
did pick Bijan in your
I
the
picked
mock,
Bijan
right?
to go 8 for the Falcons.
That's fact. Good move.
Yeah, 100%. I was in on that.
But
like
that
he's
had
gonna go
nothing
8.
to do with Bijan being great. That had more so to do with you are buying into the Falcons drafting him. And you know why
I
I'm
wouldn't, bro. I wouldn't take a player 8th overall if I don't think he's great.
Stop.
Especially a running back.
Stop
What are
clouding.
we talking
Stop
about?
clouding the next statement. You know why I'm looking at you this way.
I know because that's fantasy. Fantasy is not relevant to real life football. Like
Right.
at least in my eyes.
But you
No, it's
try
not.
to take a. Well, I told you guys that Bijan was not
He
going to
did
be
take
no.
the week 1 victory
That's what
lap,
I'm
and then
saying.
he was
He's getting the
crazy.
goal line carries though.
Him now.
Him now but I'm telling you, Arthur Smith is gonna. Bijan's gonna get his touches, no doubt. He should get his touches.
Bijan's gonna be top 5.
But Tyler Algier is going to get his touches too within the offense. That's all I said.
First off, I am proud. You said Algier.
Listen, I learned. I live and I learned.
There it is.
But
I love
don't act like I ain't say Bijan was like that.
Not
I picked
saying
him.
that.
I mocked him 8th
But
overall.
I'm not saying that you didn't like him as a prospect. All I'm saying is you took that week 1 victory lap.
You did.
And he's top 5 in fantasy.
I didn't take a victory lap.
It was kind of a victory lap.
This guy is as
I
impartial as it
It
gets.
was kind of a victory
I
lap.
said we'll
It was,
see.
it was kind of an I told you
I didn't
so.
say I
moment.
told y'all.
It was kind of an I told you
I
so.
said that
Wait, what do
he
you mean I
wasn't going to
told
be
you
no
so?
top
Wait,
5.
hold on. What do you mean I told you
That's
so?
the X.
We ain't never have a conversation about Bijan on fantasy. We was talking about the
Joel,
ball game
I,
pod
I,
I
he's
was
losing me.
on.
I don't know.
He pisses me off.
No,
when
we
he
were
does
talking
this.
about
We talked about
fantasy
Bijan. And I
before the
said he's
show.
not going to be. I said top 3. I never said top 5. Top 5 is different to top
Oh my
3.
God.
This
Two spots,
Mickey
mister.
Mouse shit that
What are you
we're
talking about?
going through, bro.
But ultimately, I mocked the number 8
No,
to the
you
Falcons,
did.
to the team
You
that he's
did.
playing for, currently killing for.
Have I don't discredit you on your things you do correctly. I never do.
I disagree.
Like what?
I can't think of the top of my head.
See,
but
I hate when people say that shit. Alex, you know why I say
You
that?
expect me to
Alex,
remember every
well,
single
if you're
instance I
claiming
had?
if you're claiming that I go against you on
Because
your
I can
correct
only
things,
go
no.
about the emotional feeling I had at the moment. I can't go by the memory of the exact conversation in the context. I can
You're
go
all
by the
crazy,
feeling,
man.
the emotion.
That's not me, man. I'm not one to hate on another man's success.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. This week in the NFL, I want to get back to it. I got 2. They're both your guys, Riv. CJ Stroud and Justin Fields. Fields had a interesting quote that was taken out of context. Drew put out the full clip on his Twitter. Shout out to Andrew on Twitter.
I'm doing the work here.
But Justin Fields this season obviously has not been great. But one of the strangest areas has been in the amount of design runs the Bears have gave him this year compared to last year. This year through 2 games, there's been a few different numbers, but less than 5 total design runs this season. Justin Fields, as we know, is one of the most prolific rushers in the NFL. Last season, in his last 9 games, he had 31 design runs for 310 yards. 34 yards per game off design runs. And for whatever reason, Luke Getsy is out here and saying, we're just going to scrap that and make Justin Fields a drop back quarterback. Don't know what they're doing, but until they get back into, we don't have to prove to everyone Justin Fields is a passing quarterback. We can just show everyone that he is one of the best rushing quarterbacks, and we could throw off that. Then we'll see the Justin Fields we saw last year. My other one's about CJ Stroud. We know he's been fantastic, but specifically on 3rd down, he might be the best quarterback in the NFL this year. Excuse me. Shout out to Brett Coleman. CJ Stroud on third down this year. 42 dropbacks, 30 of 37. That's 81% completion percentage with 2 drops. So actually about 90% completion percentage.
Shout out to our brother Nico.
338 yards, a touchdown, 9.1 yard per attempt, 8.5 ADOT, 2.56 average time to throw, 5th fastest, 114 passer rating, 4th. He has been everything and more you can ask for, especially when you take into account that last week they were missing 4 out of their 5 starting offensive linemen. And we like these weapons. We like Nico and Tank Dell and all of these guys, but we're not going to sit here and pretend that coming into this season, we said they need a wide receiver desperately. He is making the most out of these wide receivers. He's making the most out of a patchwork offensive line, and Dameon Pierce behind him hasn't done anything this season. So far through 2 games since AR got hurt, CJ Stroud's been the most impressive rookie quarterback.
I have Dameon Pierce in fantasy, so
He's
I
an
can attest
ass.
to that.
Cut him.
Yeah. What, cut him?
I'm gassing it.
Oh, can't yet. I invested.
He's been
John
middle
Mechie,
round pick.
he's playing this week.
He played last week, got a catch.
Did he?
Yeah, only played like
Oh.
17%
That's
of
probably
snaps.
why I didn't know he played.
Now I have 2 this week in the NFLs, maybe 3 if you tie in the third one with the second one, whatever, or you separate them. The Bills rushing attack. That's my first one. James Cook, 159 total yards, 7.2 yards per carry.
It's about time,
They had
baby.
183 total yards. I drafted them. That was a good pick. What
See,
was-
this is where you give me my credit, or I
He's not
give you
doing it.
your
No
credit.
shot.
You give me my
He is-
credit
he's always been the James Cook guy.
You have been the James Cook guy.
since
Yes.
day one.
I never disrespected James Cook. That was this guy right here. He said he was too
Neither
skinny.
of you had him in
What
your
do you
top 5
Top
when
5
we
what?
did our
Top 5
running
what?
back
Oh,
prospects.
facts.
Neither of you.
You're like coming out the draft.
Correct.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit different though.
That was Brees's class, right? He was a rookie
That
last
was.
year, right?
And
Yeah.
neither
Brees,
of you had
Kenneth,
Olave
Brian
in that top
Robinson.
5 either, man.
Who else
Oh,
is
yeah,
in that
I had
draft?
Spiller in there. He sucks.
Damian Pierce.
Your guy, Brian Robinson, he's breaking out.
It's looking great.
I like
He's
him.
breaking
Looking
out.
great.
Yeah, no, James Cook was a great pick.
Brees
he
and
wa-
Kenny. Got to give him respect.
He was efficient last year, but in the offseason when they said that he's going to get double the touches, this guy was like a prime candidate for that, for like
Yeah,
that
A lot of
breakout.
blood flow.
But hopefully James Cook can
Crazy.
continue
It's
this.
nuts.
Sorry.
If the Bills rushing offense is efficient, it's just great news for the Bills offense as a whole moving forward, because that's less you have to rely
he
on
absolutely
Josh
fucking
Allen.
torched
I mean,
the
if Josh
Ravens.
Allen doesn't play like words I can't use, then they would be perfectly fine.
I'm afraid of the words you're thinking of
Like,
because I don't even know.
Because he played perfect against Ray. He was making sound decisions. He was hitting the right read. That's all he has to do. I swear, it's really like Josh Allen is so confusing because like when he did the try to jump over the
That
safety,
wasn't viral?
it was. But like, what are you doing?
That's
like,
how he
some-
plays, though.
Yeah,
Yo, let me
sometimes
ask you
he
a
just he be bugging.
You're worried if he takes the running game out of like
Josh?
his repertoire of
No, I
skill set?
love when he runs, but I'm worried. Like,
slide, get out of
yeah,
bounds. you
but
don't
I
gotta
think
put your
he
shoulder
does
down every
he
time.
does too much
Yeah.
sometimes. He really
He
does.
played a perfect
He
game
tried to
against
jump
the
over.
Raiders.
It was his college teammate, so he kind of like held him.
Yeah, they used to play. Yeah, it's like he just sometimes Josh does too much where he doesn't need
Hey,
to.
big
Yeah.
but,
Gabe
you know,
Davis game. He had a great game.
Yeah.
he always has one of
I
those.
have him in my fantasy team.
Me too.
Year early potentially.
1,000 yards is in the picture for Gabe Davis, man.
Didn't he
I'm
have
Terrible
telling
week
you.
1,
30
great week
yards
2.
week one.
Yeah, it's Gabe Davis.
The other this week in the
He could have
NFL,
200 too.
That's true. He's due.
it has to do with the Bengals, Ravens, both teams, talking about both quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson's time to throw is 2.6 seconds. He's averaged through the first 4 years as a starter in his career, 2.96 seconds time to throw. He's getting the ball out faster. He has a 55.9% drop back success rate this season, which is the highest of his career. And versus the Bengals in week 2, he had a career low 9.1% pressure rate without Ronnie Stanley, without Tyler Linderbaum. So Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to have the best passing season of his career this year with Todd Monken. And the offense, it's the first time he's been in an actual good passing offensive system, because Greg Roman is a great run designer, but in terms of a passing designer, he's not very good. Lamar Jackson finally has that type of offense coordinator, and I think these stats show it. It's only 2 weeks, but I think he's going to continue this. And then Joe Burrow versus Baltimore. It's actually crazy how great this defense is under Mike McDonald, because Joe Burrow torched the Wink Martindale version of this defense. That's the game I think he had like 400-plus yards against. But Joe Burrow against everyone but the Ravens, 9th in EPA per drop back, 5th in success rate, 23rd in explosive play percentage, which makes sense because they play too high against them. Against the Ravens, he's 31st in EPA per drop back, 40th in success rate, and 44th explosive play percentage. So against the Ravens, his play significantly drops off, and I think that's a lot of credit to just the Ravens defense and how they disguise things. And it's just a kryptonite for them when they go up against that defense.
And it's great because they're really not getting that much pressure. We spoke about it. Their defensive line doesn't have the most talented unit. Jadeveon Clowney was the only member of that defensive line to get a sack on Joe Burrow, but really it's just the linebackers in the secondary. While they're still facing injury, they continue to be great.
People love this. Sorry, I know you have one more, but this Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift shit, man, I'm tired of seeing it.
Oh my God, bro, you got to understand. Taylor Swift is
I know
the
Taylor,
megastar
obviously.
of all megastars.
But damn, bro, I see this every other tweet. I feel like I see it.
You'd rather it be
Kelce
Rod
and
Wave
Swift.
or a little Dirk?
Yes. maybe not
No,
Taylor
I'm
Swift.
going to be honest, Joel. That's actually one of the funniest things you've ever said. Got your ass.
We did. It's nothing against.
Why those two guys specifically?
Because that's who he likes.
But
But
said
it's,
G Herbo.
no, that's why
that
it
would
was
be a good
fun.
one.
No, but that's his wave now. He's on a Rod wave.
Well,
He's on a-
Rod just dropped. Shout out to the album. Shout
You
out
would
to
really
Nostalgia.
rather Rod Wave?
It's not. I was joking. It's more
got
so.
bro mad red. That's
It's,
fucked up.
it's more
Got
so.
nervous.
It's more so that like I don't really care about their relationship. Like every
No, I'm
other
with you.
every
But
other
you care
Instagram
about Dirk
is
in
like,
India.
huh?
He
You
said
care about Dirk in India?
Sure,
I
I'm locked
know.
in. I got to make sure my guy happy. I'm locked in, bro.
Let's be honest.
Oh
You don't
my
care
God.
about Dirk.
I literally have his alerts on
Uh-huh.
Instagram
Okay.
and Twitter.
Got it.
I need to know everything. It's just, I got to know what my guy's doing every day, bro.
Boogie and Ella?
You know I got those. Come on.
Like those are different.
Everybody follows Bella. If you don't follow Bella, I don't know what to tell you.
In the business group chat of Pick
Ella.
Aside, I dropped in the inner
Slay Bella.
outs for
Ella,
week
bro.
3.
No, I'm saying
Right now?
Slay
Yeah,
Bella.
one of you
Oh.
three can name them out just because you guys can start it out because we
All right,
will be
you didn't
using
send
this
it
for
yet.
TikTok.
You got. Oh, I just got it.
Yeah,
Sorry, what are we doing?
All right, I'm ready. Here we go.
In or out.
All right, this is in it. Oh, excuse me. Let me
Yes.
read.
Oh, you're reading it.
Just folded. Yes, absolutely. Here we go. You ready? Here we go.
Voted this guy.
Me. Just did it. Unless you want to do
He
it.
participated.
Do what you
He
want.
raised his hand first.
Okay, here we go. This is in or out week 3 edition. Come on, bro. You serious?
Sorry.
You're gonna make me
What the
repeat this?
Go ahead.
This is in or out week 3 edition. First up, Baker Mayfield will lead the Buccaneers to the playoffs.
I feel like my emotional heartstrings are being pulled here. You know, I made a premature take on Baker. I said that joining the Buccaneers, that's going to be the last stop of his career, and I'm not sure if he's going to have success there. To me, I looked at the stats more than I trusted my heart and my gut because I want Baker to succeed. Am I in on him making the playoffs? Boy, it would be a fantastic story. But they've beaten the Vikings and the Bears. For now, I am out on this.
I'm shocked you're going with your brain over your heart here.
And I love Baker Mayfield, so I hope they are. If they do
I'm
make it.
not a believer yet. I need to see it against some more competition. This week against Philly, show me something.
They got a tough schedule, low key. They got Eagles, Saints, Lions, Falcons, Bills, their next 5. So they can show you a little bit something here, steal a couple games. The division is not all too challenging. I'm going to say I'm in. I'm going to say I'm in on the Bucs making the playoffs.
I'm out on this for sure. In or out, Puka Nacua is the next Cooper Cup. This is why
He
is
is
this
a
in or
triple
out?
crown king, so I'm going to comfortably hop
The
out.
answer is no. He's not the next Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup, no. But if you look at, the next gen stats, how they do like the wide receiver graphs,
He's lit.
it is basically identical to how they use Cooper Cup. I don't think he is as athletic as Cup is. Like Cup could burn you over the top. Puka hasn't shown that yet through 2 games. But to say he's going to be the next Cooper Cup, no. But he's going to be a stable wide receiver
Agreed.
for a long time.
Agreed.
Puka Nacua, 25 receptions, 266 yards.
Fire.
No touchdowns on the season yet, but the receptions and the yards
He's on pace to
are
break
there.
records.
I'm looking at Puka Nacua. I know Cooper Cup is coming back week 5, week 6, one of those weeks. So he might not play the same role. But I'm looking at Puka Nacua, and I'm saying, if this guy was in this same Cooper Cup role the entire year, oh, yeah, we talking about
No, he's
maybe breaking a rookie wide receiver record.
Yeah.
maybe
He's
the
on his
receptions
way.
record.
Receptions,
He
for sure.
could break Waddle's receptions record.
Well, I think
You
he's
don't think the
currently
yards?
he's currently on the way.
14.
He's on pace for 200 receptions, I want to say.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
it's
no, something
like-
dumb.
Yeah.
Something. He broke the record for most receptions by a rookie. Yards is going to be hard. He has to eclipse over 1,400. That's Jamar Chase's from
It's
2
266
seasons ago.
right now?
That's how many yards he's at right
He's
now.
back-to-back 100 yards. So.
Correct.
So.
To say he's the next Cooper Kupp, I think is a bit early to say that. Obviously, 2 games into a season when Cooper Kupp put up the greatest wide receiver season ever. But it can be understood that he can be a special player. I'm with that. Puka Nacua can put up special yards. He can put up a special season statistically.
He's projected right now for 213 receptions and 2,261 yards.
Yeah, that won't keep up. No shot.
Of course it
Through
won't.
the first 2 games. And I'm saying, but I'm just.
What's Jetta's projection?
It's Sean McVay. It's Matthew Stafford. The 2 make magic happen.
Stafford's still really good, man.
No, the tape is beautiful.
Tried to tell you, Dehls.
It actually makes me
Stafford's elite.
Your tier
teary-eyed.
list, man. It broke my heart.
Oh, is
Did you get a
It
chance
was,
to
just a
watch
little
back
bit.
the Niners?
Stafford?
Not yet.
Tier 3.
When you do, please text me.
Without a doubt,
I got
Kirk
you.
Cousins, Dak for sure.
He's always been on that level.
Bro, there's this
Okay.
throw that he has that he's going towards the sideline. He contorts his body, sidearms it into 3 defenders. Somehow it's a complete... No, bro. I rewatched that play like 4 or 5 times.
Matthew Stafford is amazing.
All right, in or out. Bijan Robinson is already a top 3 running back in the National Football League.
I'm in on this 100%. Really, who's better than Bijan at that
CMC.
position? Respect to Nick Chubb. He just got hurt. That's why I'm not going to put him in here, but he deserves his respect.
He does.
Christian McCaffrey over Bijan, of course.
Damn, I'm
Derrick
thinking.
Henry, you give him that respect.
That would be-
Saquon.
that
Number
would-
3's between Bijan and Saquon right now.
I think
Not crazy.
not crazy.
This question got lucky because Chubb got hurt.
Well, and also the running back landscape right now, there's so many injuries.
Yeah.
to
Because
the
I think you could
position.
say Chubb, Henry, CMC clean. Saquon, it's tough.
Is
You
it tough?
gotta stay healthy.
I think he's better, but he's hurt too.
And I'll be honest, like Christian McCaffrey is amazing. He's been amazing for a long time. Right now, what Bijan is doing, he can be just as good as Christian McCaffrey,
Like
and
right
he has
now?
more. He has more power than Christian McCaffrey.
Talk about the CMC right now.
Yeah, CMC right now.
No,
CMC's more elusive, but Bijan is elusive,
Even
and
still.
he's powerful. He has great hands,
CMC is powerful, bro.
but not as powerful as Bijan.
CMC's sneaky powerful.
He is.
The
Yeah.
contact balance Bijan has, I think he's a little bit better than
Did you
CMC.
see that run against the Rams?
I did.
Where he's running and he just one arm just
Yeah,
puts bro to the ground.
I'm not gonna say all that.
That's a defensive back. I think Bijan does that to a linebacker.
I've seen CMC do that to a linebacker.
We
before.
have seen
He is
him.
top 3.
I
He
feel
is
like we're
top 3.
disrespecting CMC a little bit. I think he's a consensus best.
So you're taking him over Saquon.
Yeah, I think honestly, right now you can make the arguments better than Saquon or Derrick Henry.
I think
can.
you can make that argument that he's better than Derrick Henry. It's unfortunate Derrick Henry's line is not great because we can't see him get as much going early on into his rush. But what Bijan is going to do this season
I'ma
will
say,
lock him
yeah.
into that top 3.
The
I've been
on-
saying
the
it
only
all
other
off season
two-
long to the point where people are getting annoyed at me saying every single
Yeah.
episode Bijan's going to put up these unbelievable statistical numbers. This past weekend is that prime example of what he can do when he's given the opportunity.
The only 2 other guys that could get into this conversation is Brees once he's 100% and Jonathan Taylor once he's back.
Correct.
But I think outside of that, Bijan is better than everyone else.
I'm
We're automatically removing Ekeler as well.
Respectfully.
Respectfully.
I'm gonna say I'm out because it's only been 2 weeks. Henry can break off 150, 150, and then still go back to his top
Eckler's never
spot.
had a 1,000-yard rushing season.
No, I said Henry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought
talking
you
about. I'm
meant-
talking about Derrick
3
Henry.
seasons of 1,500 scrimmage. Come on.
No, yeah. Receiving back 100%.
Well, I said scrimmage.
Yeah.
Back-to-back 900 yards rushing as well. Come on.
Listen, Eckler is top 10. There's no doubt. Bijan has got a little bit more.
He's got more juice.
Like Dale said,
As a rusher,
respectfully.
he's definitely I lean Bijan pretty comfortably.
As a pet, it's just Eckler he's a dog, but he gets so many targets. Like Bijan's just not going to get the target share that Eckler will. So at
not
the end
gonna
of the
play with
year, he's not going to have the receptions and yards that Eckler will have. But he's
Your
going
guy.
to be, I think,
It's
more
not my
effective.
guy.
You think it'd be more
Now
effective?
Ritter's not his guy.
No, Ritter's
No,
100% your guy.
Why do you think Ritter's my guy?
You were hyping him up. Were you not? Am I tweaking?
What did I hype him
You
up
definitely
for?
did
You
hype
said he
him
was
up.
a franchise.
Nah, Dale's just fucking with me.
Nice.
Yeah, I know I didn't hype up.
I did think.
hyped
I
up
did
the
think. I
Falcons.
thought you were a fan of him.
Nah,
I'll be honest.
I really thought you were a fan.
No,
of
I
Desmond
hyped
Ridder.
up the Falcons. I never hyped up Ritter. I just said Ritter will be better than Marcus Mariota.
Every single
To be
week
fair,
you're
I'm sorry, I
texting
thought
us
you were
about
right.
Desmond Ridder this, Desmond Ridder that.
What?
On Sunday you weren't blowing up our phone about
I
Desmond
was going on
Ridder.
the phone about Jordan Love.
All right.
His
You want to do
15
this?
Yes.
You want to do this?
I may have joked around and said Desmond
Now
Ridder.
this.
Oh,
Now
it comes out.
But
It
that's
always
just
comes
a
out.
joke. I'm just fucking with you.
All right. In or out?
I never said Desmond Ridder is like this quarterback guy. I never said he was a great quarterback.
You are Dehls. You're nuts, bro.
Are you in or out on the idea that the Bengals missed the playoffs?
I'm out.
I'm out. They're not missing the playoffs. I think Joe Burrow, he shouldn't
This guy's
play
0
because
for
of the
3
calf.
on Bengals promises right now.
What are you for Browns promises?
I'm 1-1.
Browns ain't do nothing yet.
Easy, week 1, they put on a clinic.
Get out of here.
What are you talking about?
Get out of here.
I
You was
wanna-
wrong about the Giants. They got blown out by the Cowboys.
That's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
But you know why I picked
And now you about to have them as the first team in
wait.
the power rankings.
First of all,
Who?
you.
The Cowboys?
you knew I picked the Giants
be
off
me.
sheer hate. That's just because I hated Dallas. I wanted to put some juju on Dallas. You actually believe the Bengals was going there and whip their
Well,
ass.
they made the
Yo,
Super Bowl. They made the AFC
Oh,
Championship.
that doesn't matter anymore.
Of course.
They didn't win.
No, but listen.
We don't
I'm
praise
out.
losers.
You just said out. You think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I do.
All right, I do too.
But you started raining on this extra shit.
No,
oh,
yeah,
I
because
think the Bengals are gonna.
because I think if Joe Burrow plays for the next 4 games, they will be 4-2 at the bye week 7.
You are 0-2 on saying the Bengals are gonna win, and now you think they're gonna win 4 straight games. That's what you're telling me.
Okay.
So
I'm
now
with it.
Just watch and see.
I've
Watch
been
and see what
watching.
happens.
I'm not seeing
Yeah,
anything.
watch and see the next
what am I
couple
supposed
games.
to see?
Watch and see the next games.
I've been trying to see the Super Bowl
Like
team
Justin
you've been talking
Fields
about.
said in his
He's saying
press
the best
conference.
is yet to
Watch and
come.
see.
That's what he's telling you.
We've been waiting.
Just watch the games.
He keep talking about the Super Bowl.
I'm
and
out. I
championship.
think the Bengals make the playoffs.
I think I'm in. I don't know what's going to happen with Joe Burrow and his injury right now. I wish I could be as optimistic as you. Right now, yes, he has been seen without a sleeve on his calf. He's walking without a limp. It's one of those where you just invested $275 million on this quarterback. He is the franchise. You need to be thinking long term. One season, it hurts, especially with what expectations were coming into this season. But if he's not right, he's not right. And you can't just rush him out there because, God forbid, we have an Aaron Rodgers situation again where this is what happens. That's the trend. You have a calf injury. It could potentially lead to the Achilles rupture. Then now we're not just talking about this season. We could potentially be talking about missing the start of next season as well. That is absolute dead last on the list of things we want to happen. I think you hold out Joe Burrow for these next couple of weeks. It'll be hard for them to win those games. And to start the season 0-4, if you come back from 0-4, I will happily tip my cap and say I'm wrong. But that could be a real
That means they'll be 0-6.
possibility. I'm not saying they lose all 4. They could beat the Cardinals with Jake Browning.
They're not losing all 4.
No,
No
they're
way.
not.
They
They're
ain't
not.
winning all 4.
No.
With Joe Burrow, absolutely,
but
yes,
that's-
they are.
See,
I really
all
don't
right,
give a fuck with
absolutely.
Joel,
this.
but we understand.
So you don't care if they
I
have Joe
don't care.
Burrow and Jake Browning?
I just no, in a sense of even if they did have Joe Burrow, I don't think they'll win 4 straight games.
That's valid.
I don't think so.
Against the Rams, Titans, Cardinals, and Seahawks.
No, I don't think
So
they'll
on a
lose
pick-
one of those
if,
games.
If you know Joe Burrow is playing those games, all 4 weeks when we do our picks
Joel,
on Patreon,
Joel,
you're going
what
to
have they
pick
shown
against
you?
the Bengals.
There's
each
going
time.
to be a point where I pick the other team
Joel,
over the Bengals.
what
I'm not
have
going to
they
pick the
shown you
Cardinals
so far
over the
this-
fucking
this
Bengals.
season to feel that confident that they'll go 4-0?
Very confident.
I'm very
You
confident.
were confident
What
in
if-
winning
but no,
14
but I asked you.
games.
I don't know.
They can
why.
still do it.
What
No,
have they
no,
shown
no.
you?
What are you
They're
talking
not
about?
going to do it.
They
They will have to
can.
go 11-1.
They went on. They finished the season last
It's
year on
not
like a
the
10-game
same
win
as
streak.
last year.
Why is it not the
Stop.
same?
Well,
Just
for
'cause of the injury,
starters,
that's it, but-
the first game from last year and the first game of this year are not the same. The Bengals just got locked up. They didn't get locked up against the Steelers. Joe Burrow was just out there doing dumb shit. That's what that was.
Wait, so
And
Joe, hold up. Joe Burrow, if he's playing, you're taking the Rams on Monday?
Rams?
Yes.
Where are they?
No, let him answer the question.
Are they in
please.
Cincy?
Are they in Cincy?
I think they're in Cincy.
They are in Cincy. Listen, let's be
I would
honest.
take
If-
Cincy. I
even
would
if
take
they
Cincy.
were in Los Angeles, it's not a home game. The Rams
Rams?
don't have fans, unfortunately.
Hey, I'll take the Bengals.
You're taking the Titans or the Bengals the week after.
Now listen.
There's,
Where's it at? Is it at Tennessee?
I'll pull up the schedule.
I think
Drew.
it's-
I gotta
it
do
is.
everything
All
for
this
you
stuff.
too.
If it's
Oh
at
my
Tennessee,
God.
I would
It's at
take Tennessee.
I think it's at Tennessee.
Okay, would you take the Cardinals or the Bengals?
I'm taking the fucking
You
Bengals. No matter
taking-
who plays.
You taking the you
No
taking
matter
the
who plays.
Seahawks or the Bengals?
Is it at Seattle?
Oh my
Y'all
god.
not that
think
good.
I think
It's
it's
just
Cincy.
it is what it is. Y'all not that good. Y'all not that good.
Okay.
Y'all will lose either Seattle or the Titans. I
All
truly
right,
believe that.
at Tennessee,
Oh, I'm picking Tennessee for sure. And I'm standing on
at
that.
Arizona, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that doesn't
it's-
matter.
It's in Cincinnati versus the
Seattle.
Rams.
So
Versus
What
the
about
Rams.
Seattle?
And in Cincinnati versus
I think
Seattle.
I think you guys beat Seahawks.
2-2?
I think Arizona.
So
I
you're
don't
telling me 3-1.
Arizona. I don't give a fuck who plays. Whether it be Jake Browning, you could put Jamar at quarterback. You guys will win that
Put
game.
in 4-2-2.
You guys
can
are
put
so
your bar
crazy.
at quarterback.
That's
Win that
so
game.
crazy.
But against the Titans at Tennessee, you're not winning that game.
Okay, so what you just told me is that the Bengals
You
will
could
go
go
3-1.
2-2.
You
Said
just
2-2.
told no, but what he is he's giving me his picks.
Yeah, I think
He
the
said
Bengals will beat
2-2.
Seattle.
He just said they will beat Seattle. They will beat the Rams because it's in Cincinnati, and
Oh,
they'll
really?
beat the Cardinals. So
I
he
think
just told
Seattle
me
would be the
3-1.
only 50-50
Yeah, he
for
just
me.
told me
Oh,
there's no
shit.
way they're going 4-0. He just said 3-1.
I said
Really?
I said that there's a chance you can lose to Seattle again. I know for a fact you ain't
Well,
beat
what about the
Tennessee.
Rams?
That's a tough one too.
If you start the season 0-4, you still believe that the Bengals. Do you still feel confident that they can make the playoffs? 0-4.
0-4, you start to panic a little bit. But
panic?
A little
it's
bit.
Joe Burrow.
Not only that, after
It's Joe
after
Burrow.
they play Seattle or the Cardinals, they gotta
You
go
got
to
San
San Fran and then
Fran.
play Buffalo. You ain't winning none of them games either.
Until the Bengals
And Baltimore again in Baltimore.
Good luck.
until Joe Burrow and the Bengals are down and out,
They down and out.
legitimately down and out,
Them boys
not giving up. I believe in them too much.
All right, and the last in or out. Are you in or out on the idea that the Panthers selected the wrong quarterback at number 1?
That's a little early question.
I'm out on this personally. I'll go first. I think that the Panthers put Bryce Young in no position to succeed.
I'm in on this because I don't think CJ's position or CJ's situation is that much better than Bryce's situation. And I think he's just the best quarterback in his class.
This is no indictment on Bryce Young because for what he's been working with has been really good. But the way Anthony Richardson's looked for these first 2 weeks, and the fact, more than anything, the fact that he has Shane Steichen, I think Anthony Richardson's going to look really good for a long time.
I just think that with
But do you think AR would look good in Carolina?
No.
No.
Because that's the question.
it's the supporting cast around Bryce, it's not great. Their big move this offseason to help Bryce
Thielen.
was bring in Miles Sanders to alleviate some pressure off of him. Thielen, at this point, he put up a good statistical box score, sure.
cooked.
He did not look that good. Nico Collins, Tank Dell are two
Nico
guys
was
that
good.
I would easily rather have on my team than have than what
Thielen
the
and
Panthers
Chark,
have.
yeah.
Exactly. Thank you
100%.
very much. At this point, you can't say that you're in on that statement because, one, we've seen simply way too little, and two, the situation that Bryce Young is in is easily the worst of these three teams.
And you know, Bryce sits there. He wants to make, like, the difference between AR and Bryce is if AR was in that situation, I feel like obviously it would be a lot more run heavy because when Bryce is playing, he's sitting back in the pocket, he's scanning the field, but nobody's getting open. That's his issue. He's able to make tight window throws. He's been really accurate. But when you're constantly throwing into tight windows and when your offense isn't able to generate open receivers, it's going to be hard to put up good statistical numbers. Like he's like less than 200 yards per game at this point.
I just watched CJ Stroud, no running back, pretty much no running back help, 4 offensive linemen, not in the game. He put on some of his
Colts
garbage
defense
time.
different than Saints defense.
Nico
No, for
Collins,
sure. But
Tank
he
Dell,
had a
Dalton
good-
Schultz.
he had a
That's
good-
a solid
For
unit
sure.
for a young guy.
The offensive line was gone. No run game. Run games usually help rookie quarterbacks, and he put on a good performance.
I say a solid unit compared to what
No, yeah.
Bryce Young has over there.
But we wasn't
in
high on
Carolina.
Nico coming in. Like, and Tank
Some
was.
people believed people
Yes,
held
that's
out
true.
hope.
Yeah, and Tank Dell was a late pick. So,
Tank Dell was explosive, but you're right, he definitely wasn't supposed
this
to be
is
anything
this is
crazy.
surprising just as much to us as it is to them.
I mean, I thought C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson were better prospects. I like them more than Bryce Young, but this isn't the wrong pick. I think Bryce Young's going to be a good quarterback. Right now, it's just the situation is horrible, and he's facing 2 stingy defenses. The Falcons, they got a bunch of new pieces, and then the Saints, they're a stingy defense. They haven't given up more than 20 points in the last 10 games. Every opponent they face has been 20 points or less, so that defense is great. And like you said, Bryce Young has nobody open. Like when this guy gets help and supporting cast, he will be a great quarterback. Even though I'm lower on his physical profile compared to other first overall picks, he's still going to be a good quarterback in the league.
Yeah, we know your heightest.
CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson is just better. That's it.
Some big
They
dudes.
just happen to be taller.
Handsome. They're all handsome.
And I just like the other things too, like arm strength.
Oh, I thought that was going somewhere else. I like the other
What did
things.
you think it was going to be?
Thought you was gonna get a little freaky, man.
Which 2-0 start are you guys most surprised by?
The Bucks to be 2-0 is impressive. Definitely want to give credit to the Commanders, but real quick to talk about the Bucks. I know you're probably going to talk about them a lot more than I am, but they weren't supposed to beat the Vikings. That was supposed to be a Week 1 loss. For them to go onto the road and win that game, that is very impressive and definitely a feat that I was not anticipating. Going up against the Bears, especially after Week 1, I was not surprised to see them win that game. I picked the Buccaneers to win that game. What I am surprised with was that Baker Mayfield has been borderline great to start this season. He played a hell of a game against Minnesota. He had a near perfect game against the Bears, but again, that was a little bit more expected because the Bears defense, the Bears team as a whole, is not that
had a chance
good.
to win that game.
They did. It was a 1-score game, and he ended up throwing a pick 6. So
They ran 3 screen routes on the 1-yard line.
pretty dumb. But all in all, for them to be 2-0 is huge. Then the Commanders. We expected them to beat the Cardinals. Some may have expected them to beat the Broncos. You only did that for vibes. Fuck you for that.
Vibes
He was
work.
right. Yeah.
I won't say you're wrong.
Sometimes
I-
vibes work.
Really was not a bad pick.
Hey,
I was
the 3 of
leaning.
us here all felt Denver would win that game.
I was feeling great up 20-0. I was like, let's go, get a dub.
That's really what's surprising as well. It was a 20-3
Was it
game.
really surprising?
It was
That you choked?
22-3. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because the offense came out and were guns blazing, clicking on all cylinders.
Nah, I'm
Russ
just saying,
looked
Denver-
like Russ.
Denver
Marvin
hasn't given you
Mims,
anything
elite.
good.
Marvin Mims with a 63-yard touchdown. Brandon Johnson to get into the end zone as well. I was freaking the fuck out. And then the wheels just fell off in the second
Denver
half.
hasn't given you nothing good for the past couple of years, so you know.
It's been a while.
The good moments have come in the offseason. We got Russ. I
Bro, you
cried.
sound like a Jet fan
we
right now.
got Sean Payton. Hey, the good thing about that, why I'll never sound like a Jets fan, is because I saw a championship in my lifetime.
Oh, fuck you.
Cook.
Yeah,
I
now
also
your team sucks.
2-0
Congrats.
teams right now.
Fucking Bass. I'm trying to make a joke. He's got to throw the rings at me. Peyton Manning fan, sick.
He did go low blow.
He
It's all
did.
And listen, Peyton Manning's worst year with the Broncos, he won a Super Bowl. It was awesome.
Fucking defensive.
Von
merchant.
Miller carry.
That was Mickey Mouse.
No,
From
nothing
him.
Mickey Mouse about
From
it.
the offense,
He
yeah.
had an unbelievable game against the Patriots.
He did. He was like, he said he couldn't feel his fingertips.
Yeah,
at that point. He
man.
was done.
He
The
was.
2-0 teams right now, the Dolphins, Ravens, Cowboys, Eagles, 49ers. I'm not surprised by any of those.
No.
But then we get into the Commanders, the Falcons, the Saints, the Buccaneers.
Even though you did pick the Chargers to beat the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, but and I'm not surprised they're 2-0, though. You know
Got
what
it,
I'm
got
saying?
it.
That's a
Uh-huh.
toss-up game.
Surprised you didn't pick the Patriots either.
Why?
He almost did.
I know.
He
If
wanted to.
Riv
bad.
was picking the Dolphins, he was changing his pick to
Nah, I
the
wasn't.
Patriots.
I stick to my guns, baby.
No, you
That's
don't.
a-
That's actually the
guns
farthest thing
blazing.
you do.
Guns blazing. I don't switch. That's one thing about
You
me.
are called flip aside for a reason.
Now, that's more of a joke than fact. It's not rooted in fact.
No, it's actually built
All right,
off
guys,
the fact.
please,
I don't
if you
know,
guys
we-
would leave in the comment section, is it a joke that Joel
I want
Moran
everybody
is
to
Mr.
reply.
No,
Flip
it's
Side?
it's a troll. It's not a fact.
Reply
though.
with
Look
a
at my
moment
track
that he's
record.
flipped aside.
Look
in
at
the
look,
comments.
just look at
Look at
Lamar.
my-
Look
look
at
at my
my
track
Lamar.
record.
No, perfect.
What you mean? Look at
s-
Lamar.
Send them to the
In
Twitter.
and out, in and out, in and
At
out.
Pick Aside
I believed in
Pod.
him more than you.
Send us
Oh my
all the
God.
flips of Joel
Send
Moran.
it all.
Send-
Send
I
it in.
will retweet every single one of them on the Pick Aside account.
Same.
Send them, please. You might get followed from our personal accounts if
You'll
they're
get-
good.
How
picks.
about the real ones out there? You guys look at moments where I remain 100, 10 toes down, and I came out on the other side with wounds or with flowers.
There's so many
How
times
about
I
that?
can name off
What
the
is he
top of
talking
my
about?
head.
Wounds? What are you talking about?
Wounds means I was wrong. Flowers means I was right.
How many times? Give us a right one.
I think, a right win. Well, Joe Burrow becoming a top 5 quarterback. That was a right
Oh my
win.
God! You said that the number one, the top 5 pick would be a top 5 quarterback.
The Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
That's a good one.
That was one of them.
Congrats.
What do you mean?
He just took a
What do you mean?
victory lap on a top pick being a top 5
Hold
quarterback.
up, are you talking about when
Chiefs.
it was the Super Bowl week? We got Eagles, you got Chiefs.
That's like a
No, but I had the Chiefs the entire playoffs though.
Okay,
Yeah.
you can have it.
I did pick the
Didn't your
Bengals.
playoff
in that
No,
game.
you
Didn't
picked
have
the
the
Bengals.
No, I
No.
picked the Chiefs to beat the Bengals. Yes, I did.
No, he in the AFC Championship game you did
Okay.
pick
Yeah,
the
like
Chiefs.
I would say, like the
but
playoff
I remember
tree to
you
begin-
doing your playoff tree. You had the Bills in there.
Yeah, I did. But like, I'm talking about when we made our picks for the games. I picked the Chiefs.
You
did.
did.
I'm
You did.
not-
I'm not going to
because I
take
picked
that away
the
from you.
because I
The
picked the Bengals.
flipping is
Well, I'm
it's
not
creeping.
giving you
I'm
like
like,
to
oh,
pick
no.
game. Like
I didn't even pick the Bills to beat the Bengals. I picked the
No, you
Bengals to
didn't.
beat the Bills. So when we actually made our
You got
predictions,
lucky with the Ravens, buddy.
You flipped, but you.
No,
Well,
when
okay,
actually,
you always get
no, when
lucky.
actually,
You flipped, but it worked out.
No, when I made my picks, I picked the Bengals.
Listen, you could say that you did flip because you did.
Yeah, but ultimately
it worked
but
out.
ultimately,
because you were right.
I told y'all verbatim everything that was going to happen in the Super Bowl, and it happened like that.
No,
I was
for sure.
I was wrong about maybe
For sure.
one thing.
you had
No,
Jalen
you
Hurts
weren't.
to go on 400 yards.
No, I didn't. I
Oh,
was
you were
surprised
wrong
by that.
about Jalen Hurts, but anything
No,
you said
I
about
was
the
right
Chiefs-
about how they played
Correct.
Jalen Hurts though. How Jalen Hurts performed against it, I wasn't sure what
No,
was going to
but
happen.
anything the Chiefs did, you did say.
But
Remember, bro,
Which
tweeted
is
out
what
when
I
we
say.
said they led him to the
Which
playoffs.
is what I say. I
That shit
give
was
you your
nuts.
wins. When you have them, I'm one of the first to give you your flowers.
and the people
I
that
happily call you out when you flip
and the
aside.
people that's new here or that have been here for maybe a year, they don't remember the biggest dub I had against Rev when I picked the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl from the very beginning. They got blown out twice by 40 points to the Saints, and he was victory lapping,
And then
rolling
Daddy
his
Drew
tongue,
came in and
rolling
randomly-
his tongue,
No, sorry, bro.
Remember when you had the Raiders making the playoffs and they lost 6 straight games?
and then they made it the very next year.
You
I
didn't
was a
pick
year
them.
early.
They made it.
Look.
Hey,
You didn't pick 'em.
We're having a TBT segment right here.
You
Enjoy
remember?
this.
You remember when I said Ryan Tannehill was gonna bounce back and revive his
And
career?
I always give you your flowers for that because that was
They laughed at
beautiful.
me.
That was beautiful that you called it. You called it. That
They
Ryan
laughed
Hill
at
will
me.
revive his career in Tennessee. You called it for sure.
No, those were the early wins that trying to see. I definitely have more wins. Of course I do.
Maybe in NFL, yeah.
I don't, like I said,
Never forget when you called the Rams, you picking them to win the Super Bowl. One of the biggest mistakes of your life.
That shit was
not
hilarious.
picking them or
No,
picking
picking them.
them. Oh yeah, and then I
I will never
said,
forget. It was a long shift at the hospital. I come here to do the show, and Joel says, "Yep, Rams are my pick to win the Super Bowl after getting Von Miller." The week after, they lost, and he said, "The Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl." It's the biggest mistake of my life picking the Rams to go to the Super Bowl and win the whole thing.
That shit was funny.
I said, "I'm so happy." Because when he said the Rams were winning the Super Bowl, I was angry.
because why you wanted to take?
Because what do you mean? It was mine from day one.
Oh yeah, but Von Miller, that was just a
Power
cherry
move.
on top,
Power
really.
move.
But
That was
I wasn't.
tough.
And then I had ties because of my boy Vaughn.
That was the year that Matthew Stafford led the league in interceptions, even though he was 41
That's great.
touchdowns on a year. For me, the biggest thing
Why'd you
was
start with the interceptions thing?
He's a hater.
no, because that's why I started with the interceptions things. Because for me, all the
Matthew
biggest
Stafford was in prime time.
all the biggest games in the regular season and the Rams had, Matthew Stafford threw back-breaking interceptions. So for me, I didn't know how much I could trust him in
He
an
wasn't
entire
expecting
playoff
three
run.
come
Sounds like
back
Tom
from
Brady
behind.
versus the fucking Saints.
He wasn't
That's why I
expecting
fucking picked the
3
Saints.
game-winning drives in
Yeah,
the
Jaquiski
playoffs.
Tartt dropped a wide open interception. You remember that?
Again,
don't
if
you?
your grandma had balls,
He
she'd be
did.
your grandfather.
that was he threw it right to him. Though.
Why didn't he catch it?
That's facts.
Why didn't he catch it?
Not good.
Just safety. He doesn't play wide receiver.
Right? So,
That's why.
that's on him.
No, I'm
Plays
saying-
defense for a
yeah,
reason.
Now safety, not playing wide
End of the
receiver
day,
is
it's a
a
pass
wild
breakup.
excuse.
That goes in the stats book. Good for him.
Yeah.
That is a
Should have
stat.
caught
It's a
it, though.
PBU.
That's arguably like that.
It's like
shifted
Sauce
the
against
game.
Dallas. Could have shifted the game.
Why the
Stay
jet
out
shots?
Stay out of this, bro. I'm not talking to you.
It's-
Not talking to you. Not talking to you, bro. I'm just saying Sertan
Unfortunately,
would
you're
have
on
caught
the
that.
same team, so you're gonna get the jabs.
Sertan would have caught that.
I had the Vikings winning 13 games last year too,
Okay.
and they won 13 games.
And they were first round exit.
But they won 13. Doesn't matter. They won.
You wasn't
13.
alone in that, by the way.
13. I was 13 games. I was 100%.
Okay, whatever. I had the Vikings winning the division too.
No, but 13 games is a little bit different. You know what I'm saying?
You got lucky. They did a historical thing.
They did. You know what I'm saying?
You're
But
going to
they
make
won
me go
13.
back to the video?
Of what?
I'll do it after the show. Just like you said the Falcons would win 10 games.
Oh my God.
You leaned 9. Who knows? Is it 13? I don't
be
know.
12. Yeah,
Could be 11.
I
He leaned
leaned
two more.
12.
Ultimately, what you did was ridiculous. What you did, fixating over one game was ridiculous.
No, that's not true, bro.
Because ultimately, my surprise teams this year were the Packers and the Falcons.
Bro.
Were they not?
You after the show didn't need to do this. You screenshotted saying that you said that the record would be 10-7. So what did I naturally do? Because my memory is very sharp. I go to the video and I hear you say what I recalled. I lean 9. I sent you that, and you went in a tirade of all things that had nothing to do with the Falcons.
I lean
That's
9.
on me.
I
go
lean
crazy.
Wait, hold
Wait,
on.
he started
Hold on.
turning up on me. I was ready to violate him, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this.
He was
Wait,
going
hold on.
crazy.
I lean 9. I didn't pick 9. I just said I lean 9. That's it. That doesn't mean I tipped all the way over.
What does that even? This guy's verbiage is garbage.
What do you mean? That's a fact.
You're playing shaky waters, man.
What do you mean? I
don't
lean
know.
9. I never said.
Bro, the
ultimately,
show's called Pick a Side.
You
Is it
lean
9 or
9
10
means
wins?
I lean them winning 9
I didn't
games.
fall over to 9 though. I
You
just said I
lean
lean.
9.
I
That
lean.
means you are choosing 9
I'll
games.
be honest. I don't care enough to argue about
No,
it
I
if you
don't.
pick
I just
9
love.
or 10 wins.
no,
bro.
Just 'cause-
No.
just 'cause-
I just do it to fuck around.
Just because the clock hand is closer to 12 doesn't mean it's 12 yet. That's what it is. Doesn't mean I pick. Ultimately, the record prediction I picked.
that
10.
statement stinks.
I picked
shit was
the
sad.
record
That sounds
prediction
backwards, bro.
The record prediction I picked 10. And ultimately, whether it was 9 or 10 is not the important thing. The important thing was that I had both the Packers and Falcons winning their respective divisions.
Okay.
That's the important
You
thing.
taking the victory lap on that?
Not yet, but I feel good about the Falcons. The Packers, I feel good about the Packers too. But the Packers have to get healthy. If the Falcons are healthy, I have no doubt they will win the division.
No doubt.
Packers are not winning the
Saints
division.
defense
But
look pretty
hey,
good.
Oh,
We're in
your
second.
2-0 starts. still.
Listen, 2-0
Oh,
starts.
right.
The Falcons, I love them. I'm not surprised they're 2-0 though, even though they've been 2 close games. The Panthers got away in the fourth quarter. To me, it's between the Commanders and the Buccaneers.
Are we really surprised the Commanders are 2-0?
This is the
Broncos.
You're
we expected to
glazing
win.
right now.
No, because of the Cardinals. Like the
Cardinals,
Broncos
yeah.
won.
The Broncos they were down 20.
No, the Broncos win but they played the Cardinals, and the Broncos, no offense, they're not that good.
Listen,
Cardinals are
that's fair.
ass, but they're not ass.
No, they
In the
are.
first half,
They're
they're not
trolls.
ass.
They're
They're
trolls.
scrappy.
They're trolls, bro. Let's be honest.
They've also
Ultimately,
played-
They'll get fined.
What separates this for me is that when we did the pick on week 1, I picked the Vikings to win, but I said
okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks win. And I picked their spread. I thought it would be a close game. What? Did I not say that? I said that. What are you talking about?
Nothing.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
I can show you my portfolio, my Mojo
Yes, I
portfolio
agree.
right now.
I
I
agree.
picked
Keep
them
going. Keep
plus
going.
5.5.
No, you said it. You said it. I know you said it. Just keep going.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's his favorite line in the world.
'cause
He
I
always
wouldn't
wants
be
to
surprised.
save
Save
himself.
himself.
No, because I wouldn't be surprised.
He
I
always
wouldn't be
has
surprised.
a safety
You know, the point of
net.
pick them is to just pick them, stick with them, and ride with them.
Yeah, but my spread pick, I picked it in Mojo.
Pick, stick, and ride.
But listen,
Oh,
my
wow.
spread pick,
All
I
right.
picked
That's a
the
pretty
same
nasty,
the same way. The same way I said that the Patriots would be close with the Eagles.
Holy shit!
You
You
said-
picked the Patriots to win.
No, I picked the Patriots to win, but we had a debate on the Patreon about it, and you were like, "I'd be surprised if it's even close. You're gonna mop them."
But that doesn't. I still caught a victory because y'all didn't win.
No, you caught an L because
What the
they
fuck?
kept it
No,
close.
that's not how it works.
You caught a win for the Eagles, but you didn't think the Patriots would be that
No,
close.
you're 0-1 for
What's
that game.
up with this guy?
not true.
He's
That's not
Yo,
true.
what is
It
up
is.
with this guy?
When we do
Because you
our
thought you were gonna
records,
blow
he
out the
has a
Patriots.
win.
You didn't blow out the Patriots.
Did I think we were gonna blow them out? Yes,
Yeah,
but I
so you're
still
wrong on
No,
that.
no,
You're
no, no.
wrong
I'm
on
still
that.
right. I got
result-
the
the result
You won a
matters
battle.
more.
I won
The
the
re-
war.
the result-
That's how it is.
the
You
result-
won a battle. I won the war.
No, the result may have been in your favor, but the process of what you had to get to the
But
stunk.
the result,
it didn't get there.
The result is what matters.
And we're doing wins and
process
losses.
matters.
Result matters more.
Because if you have the correct process, more often than not, you will get the right results.
Yeah,
Just
but
and ultimately,
that's not the argument here.
I told you the Patriots were going to cover the spread. It would miss by like a point.
So it didn't
but
cover
whatever.
the spread. So you're wrong again.
Hold up. You,
Why?
So
Why?
wait, no,
Joel,
where's the
do you
why?
get a win
Where's
for
the
having the
why?
right process
Why?
or a win for
Why?
picking
What do you
the
mean
winner?
why?
Why?
You didn't cover the spread.
No, why? Why? Did you watch the game, didn't you?
Yes.
The reason why they didn't cover the spread is because they went for 2 and they didn't get it. But
Whose fault is
if
that?
they kicked the field goal, they would have very well covered the spread. Because they went to 2 to make it a field goal game at the very end.
Would you have done the same thing, right?
Of course I would have done
So
the
then
same
what's
thing.
the problem
But that's
here?
just the game script. Ultimately, you thought you were going to blow out the Patriots. You ain't blow them out.
So let me get this straight. You lost on the spread and you lost on the game, which means that's 2-1
got
for
the
me.
process right.
Yeah, the process. I don't
process
give a fuck
right.
about
The process
The
matters.
result is you lost.
The process matters.
In the grand scheme, yes, but it's winners and losers. It's pick 'em. It's who wins the game, who
Well,
loses the
ultimately,
game.
I said,
Not what's the process of the
what
game.
did I win in that game? I
Nothing.
said that the Patriots defense
You
was
lost.
gonna game
Joel,
plan
you could
great
tell me
against their
all
offense.
about how to do a math problem, but you can't get it right. I don't care what you're saying, bro. And that's what it is, bro.
Oh my
you did
God.
not get it
He
right.
just fried you with an
That's not-
unbelievable analogy.
No, that's a great analogy.
You
But
didn't get it
ultimately,
right, bro.
did I tell you that the Patriots defense is going to be great against
Yes.
the Eagles
He
offense?
was.
You know
That's
what,
right.
If he
That's
wants to
right.
show your
That
work,
is
get
right.
partial
He's a
credit.
show
That's what
That's
he
right.
wants. That's what
That's
he
right.
wants.
All right, that
Your
was right.
Does your defense not give you like 10
Joel,
plus
did I not
points?
text you in the group chat like you was right about the Patriots
Yes.
defense?
So ultimately, I did.
No,
I was
there's not
right.
an
You just told me I was
opportunity,
right.
bro.
He
You
just
know
told
what?
me. He texted
All
me
right.
telling me I was right.
You was right about the Patriots
I took
defense.
the Buccaneers taking a spread. To me, the Vikings and Bucks was always going to be a close game because the Vikings defense stinks. Brian Flores is disguising it somewhat, but the talent is not good on the team. The Buccaneers, I mean, come on, it's the Bears. We all knew they were going to beat the Bears.
It's Baker.
The Commanders have had 2 comeback wins. The Cardinals, we know,
Being a
are not
comeback
good.
win is so nasty.
The Broncos comeback win was great, and Sam Howell has been playing amazing. And versus the Broncos, he made a lot of big boy throws.
And this is when, again, you throw it my way. Great job, Drew.
nuts.
I'm waiting.
Waiting is crazy. He's waiting for
Great
it. Throw
job,
it to him.
Drew.
Thank you.
Great job, Drew.
Ultimately, we got the J Love and Howell bet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Man.
It's gonna come down to a
But I'll
wire.
give it to
He's
Howell.
scored
Howell looks
touchdowns.
solid,
Or
but for
Love
sure
is.
the touchdowns.
Love with 6 touchdowns on 30 completions.
Number
is
1 in
nuts.
EPA.
And
too.
the reason why I'm more surprised about the Commanders than the Bucks, because I think the Bucks had, both schedules weren't crazy hard, but the Commanders, I posed this question. I was on a ball game pod and we were talking about Commanders because, Chris, shout out to him.
Bro loves Howell.
He likes Sam Howell. So I said this to him. I said, listen, the Commanders last year were a top 10 defense in the league. They have great offensive weapons. The offensive line you don't like, but whatever. The Commanders have more talent than the Giants top to bottom. If you actually think Sam Howell can play, then they should be a sneaky playoff team for those of you that think Sam Howell is good. Because the roster is a great defense. It's great offensive weapons. They got a running game. They have a complete team. So if you think
Offensive line shaky still.
offensive line shaky, but if you believe in Howell, that
like-
should have been a sneaky pick for the playoffs. I didn't believe in Howell, so I didn't pick them. But if I did, that was a team. If I was you, Drew, I would have been propping the Commanders more than the Giants.
I feel like I
couldn't do
said
that,
that
though.
when we were talking about the NFC East.
I
That
couldn't
the
do
Commanders
that
were a
because
sneaky
last
team.
year with a worse roster, like you mentioned, there's a lot of personnel on this Washington team. The Giants were able to make the playoffs and win a playoff
Are you all in
game.
now? Talk to me.
On
2-0.
Washington?
Just talk to me.
Listen, I'm definitely moved.
Can they sneak into the playoffs? 2-0
Gotta
right
see.
now.
They were 20-3 down to a Broncos
Yeah,
team.
it'd
That's
be
not
nasty
very
how they
good.
get their
We
W.
got
They were-
have
they
to
were
see him
losing to
against
a
the not the
yeah.
Cardinals and a half.
Right
really
now,
of
we're
football
projected
against
number one
Denver.
pick overall.
You're 0-2.
A lot of teams are projected.
Yeah, I would say
number
you're
one.
like
No, right now we're in the number one spot.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
How many other teams are 0-2?
It's like 4, right?
Four or
there's,
five?
there's a few, but I
You got
mean,
Chicago, them,
Mhm.
Texans.
with all the tiebreakers,
Cincy.
we're one.
Okay.
Oh, Cincy's up there, buddy.
Yeah, number
Projected
one,
to get
Caleb?
top 5 pick.
Oh,
It's
maybe.
2 weeks into
Caleb,
the
I would take
season.
Caleb over Joe Burrow.
You're an idiot. That's what you are.
The-
Dehls, talk to me. What Caleb's generational? What the
Caleb is generational, but Joe Burrow was on my list of guys I would take over
Keep
Caleb. It's a
victory
very
lapping.
short list. There's like 6
You already
names on
picked the
it.
Bengals to make the playoffs.
There's
It's
6
two
names
on.
on
I
it.
did.
2 is not,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
you're an idiot.
You're taking 2 over Caleb Williams?
My eyes closed.
He's not.
Oh.
He's not. He's gonna say that because the fans are watching.
You're
him and
taking
shit.
Russ over Caleb?
Caleb puts my team in a better situation financially.
Oh, say financials aside.
Cry. Are you taking Caleb over Lamar?
take Lamar.
Wow. I would take Lamar.
You guys aren't real my guy type of guys.
I'm sad.
When I did my list, which was last year, it was Burrow. I think I had
Mahomes.
Trev, Mahomes,
Allen,
Allen, Herbert, Lamar. I think was Hurts. No, I don't think I had Hurts on it.
you wouldn't
It
put
was
Fields?
those 6. Fields?
I got to stick with my guy.
Ew!
Fields?
Almost threw up in my mouth, bro.
Bro, I just took Derek Carr over Fields. Oh no,
Actually, I didn't bring it down here, but Santos sent you a jersey.
Ooh.
Ooh, what is it?
It's upstairs.
So you don't care about me?
No. I just forgot to bring it down. I do care about you.
Next up.
It's just upstairs. Let me text Justin and tell her to bring it down.
These 2-0 teams though, you're either stupid elite like Cowboys, Eagles, Niners, Dolphins, Ravens.
We're not even elite right now.
You're not, but you're still a really good team. I still have you guys as a top 5,
Secondary
6
is
team.
poo-poo.
And the other 2-0 teams
not
just
good,
played
bro.
We were
mid
missing
teams.
guys.
You let Mac Jones to over 300.
Oh, that game.
I mean, you only played 2.
Are you guys like these 2-0
Rust.
teams? You guys moved by. We're surprised the Falcons and Commanders and Saints like they're all 2-0, but Falcons beat the Panthers in Green Bay. Saints beat the Titans and Panthers. Commanders scratched by the Cardinals. They damn near lost that game.
They keep scratching.
And barely beat the Broncos. So even in these wins that at least the Commanders are getting, it's
The
not like
Commanders are the most
dominating.
unimpressive 2-0 team in the league right
Probably,
now.
yeah. Sam Howell makes some really impressive throws though. He makes
The Bucks?
He makes some bad throws.
The Bucks. I'll be honest. Like
The Bucks are probably most surprising because the win
No, they're
over
not. No, the
Minnesota.
Bucks are more impressive than the Commanders.
But why?
She doubted Baker.
As a
why the most
team?
surprising.
Because I have to say that because I picked the Vikings to
Playing
win.
better than Jalen Hurts this year. by
And
the way.
even though they did play the Bears,
He's playing better than
the
Joe
command
Burrow.
like the Buccaneers in the Bears game, the Bucks were pretty much up for most of the game. The Commanders literally, like by the grace of their teeth, got past the Cardinals.
Eric Bieniemy also has been calling excellent games,
sure.
and that's something
Against the
that
Cardinals,
that
I'm
I
not really
definitely
moved.
did talk
Brian
on.
Robinson's
But
looking great.
that's what I was saying. It was like,
Is
the
it an
roster-
excellent game or is it against the Cardinals defense?
No, he didn't play an excellent game against the Cardinals. He had a game-winning touchdown for sure, but against the Broncos
In the second half.
he had a great game.
He had
Yeah.
some really high level
In the
throws.
second
But that's
half,
what I'm talking about. It's like the roster top to bottom is a great roster. The only 2 holes on the roster is the linebacking room and then the offensive
Quarterback.
line. I guess you could say quarterback, but
With all
if
due
you
respect.
believe in Sam Howell and you think he can play,
Now you're not a Sam Howell guy, man.
I like Howell, but if we're gonna point out the flaws in the team, I mean, like quarterback.
at this
could be
point, I don't think
top
you
three.
look at this point, I don't think you look at Sam Howell and say that's a negative player.
I don't think
I
it's-
don't think so.
It's not a negative, no.
Jess is here with the jersey.
Here we go. Here we go.
Shout out to Jess, man.
Shout out Jess.
It's open. Someone put it on.
No, I just saw. I
You didn't see
looked
who it was?
what it was because I didn't know if it was for River or not.
Is it a football jersey?
Yeah, it is.
Whoa! Is it a jersey or is it a shirt?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm wondering.
Who
Oh, it
is
looks like a jersey.
You know who this is.
At the worst possible time.
No, that shit
that's
is
just tough.
sexy.
That is tough. All right, we need him to work out, man. Fields.
Justin Fields.
Let's do it, man.
This is my first NFL jersey ever,
Nice.
Tough.
and it's at the bad time because he's playing. Shit.
Santos asked me, I think before the season started, he was like, who should I get for
you
Riv?
told me.
And I gave a couple names, but Fields was up there. Fortunately, before the season, we thought he was going to get off to
No,
a
we're
better
here.
start.
Listen. Stop running. Because I saw the Would You Rather, and you fucking failed me. You fucking
sorry.
failed me. Stop running.
Who
It's
did
2
I
weeks.
take that was disrespectful?
Everybody.
Everybody?
Yes.
I'll be honest. The Bears jersey, the Bears Fields jersey, is one of the cleanest.
It is very cool.
Yes,
That jersey
this
is
shit
tough.
I will be wearing this one of these days. Actually, probably because they playing the Chiefs. I got a hot take. So
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
Oh, you got the Bears winning against the Chiefs?
I'll pick the Bears 17 weeks in a row.
You might be wrong 14 times.
You picked the Bears against the
He
Buccaneers.
did. He did.
I did, but I did say before I picked them, this is straight vibes and feelings. Like, so I did say
Houston,
that.
too.
Yeah.
What was your record on the picks?
I'm 18-14 right now.
Oh, okay.
And like 3 of them were straight. I lost off feelings, like the Texans and Bears. I picked off vibes.
Well, you got the Commanders off vibes.
I did, yeah. I
so,
got a
hey,
W off
sometimes
vibes.
the vibes works.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not working. It's
So
not
listen,
working right now.
Bears, Chiefs, vibes.
I'm going in with the vibes ain't good right
Plus
now.
2,000 bet. Fuck it.
I'll put plus
Justin
2.5.
Fields did say that a reporter asked Justin Fields, they were like, what do you think you need to do to play less robotic? Like, what are the changes
Bro
you need
needs
to
to
make?
run.
And Fields said, watch next game. That's what he said. So
It gave me
against
chills.
Chiefs,
Do it, Justin.
It gave me chills.
Listen,
That's
let's
Do it,
hard.
Justin.
Yo, listen, I'm gonna say, like, if Fields just get back to that fucking nobody open, I'm a run vibe. We're here.
yeah, like,
he's
bro,
not. He's
even if
not
he gets
doing
to the
it.
fucking
Four
somebody's open,
design
I'm going
runs
to
on a
run.
year?
Come
on, man.
That Joel. Even if he do that too, like he'll bring
it's
up
up.
40.
It's
He's
up.
not even doing that no more. It's like vibes are not there right now.
You got to
But
stop
we're here,
just
though.
doing pure
1 and
dropbacks
2.
with him, man.
I'm tired of screen routes. I'm sick of them.
Who's your
sick
most
of it.
surprising 2-0 team?
None of them. They all stink, bro. I'm telling
You're
you
not
right
moved
now.
by-
The Cowboys don't stink?
No, I had. You know what, yo? You stop making me a Cowboys hater, bro. I had them as a
You
top
are a
5.
Cowboys hater. You've
Am
been a
I-
Dak hater for a long time.
Dehls, where did I have them ranked when we doing the power rank? I had them top 5 in
Yeah.
a league.
Who
Like,
didn't have him top 5?
Oh,
I didn't have him 5.
them?
I don't know.
Them
where
two.
I have top 10, but not top 5.
Them? Look, respect
I
me.
have him 7.
I hate them with my guts,
Might-
but I
yeah,
respect
7
the
or
team.
8 sounds
It's
right.
the Giants pick.
Listen, I was trolling.
Come
Feel-
on.
feelings, vibes.
Come on. I don't know what was wrong with Dehls. Dehls needs to stop following Drew with these picks sometimes.
The Giants,
went-
the Giants pick isn't crazy.
No, I think Dehls was the one who was like, Giants on vibes. I think he
Yeah,
started.
no, Giants was definitely a
I think
vibes
he
pick for
started.
him.
He was making all this.
That's where he
it's
was
nice,
there,
That's
but
why
he
he
really
hated on
wasn't
the
there.
Cowboys.
Yeah, lights were
Yeah.
on, nobody was home.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Listen,
he
my
was-
bad. I misspoke. It's not about following Drew. It's about hating the Cowboys. You hate the Cowboys for some reason.
I wouldn't say I hate the Cowboys. I mean, listen, these 2 weeks definitely have moved me, but coming into the year, I wasn't as high on them as you were. We still got a long ways to go.
Oh, they just
Eagles
cooked our
still gotta
defense, and we
cook up.
know how great our defense
Oh no,
is.
they absolutely
dink and
blasted
dunk.
your
They
defense.
dink
I will,
and
I
dunk
will,
the line.
I will say this
This
though.
game moved me.
I will say this though. Baker playing like the way he did, very efficient, making good plays.
That's probably
you know,
most surprising how
Shout
great
out
Baker
coming up,
is.
just not even Tampa, but Baker playing this way.
You gave up on him before the
did.
season started.
It's okay.
Doesn't mean I'm not happy for him. I'm
Listen,
very
listen.
happy
You
for
know
him.
what?
Okay.
You guys are probably
Joel.
rooting for his
Joel.
failures.
I really don't care.
Joel, I'm gonna
Yeah,
give you a
yeah,
pass.
yeah, I care.
I'm gonna give you a pass for that because they jumped on Ramley now that they're good. So I'm gonna give you the Baker pass.
Whoa!
I'm gonna give you that
Yeah,
one.
they
This
jumped-
one.
they had
This
him as
one
a-
Baker
the
pass.
bottom, like, 29
yeah,
spots.
they weren't thinking about Ramley at all, and then they see Stafford back, and his tier list sucked. So
It was fucking
Yeah, he
Stafford.
put
Sue
Stafford
me.
too low. So I'm gonna give you that pass.
I didn't
on.
put Stafford
Is
down.
that is it that fair that I didn't expect?
I feel like
Did
we
you
can
do
give him
QB
one
list?
pass.
Huh?
You did your
Just
QB
this
list?
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Where was
You
it?
know
Nothing
what?
more.
I was on Twitter.
You know what?
No,
Riv
where do you
just
rank?
made such a great point.
We can give him one
let me
pass.
check.
This is the
Because
pass. He
it
gets
was
nothing
tiers
else.
for me.
You're right,
I
because
wasn't
people
saying
didn't say
that's
shit
what
about me
you
hopping
like.
back on
Let me
Ramley.
check.
Twitter embraced me as
Yeah,
fuck.
Ramley just embraced both of y'all back like you just was. Y'all were gone
I'm
last
one
year.
of the pioneers of Ramley.
So he can come back to Baker. It's Baker. Who fucking cares?
I fuck with the Rams.
I was one of the biggest Ramley fans there
Mike
was for that
Evans
year.
though, playing the way he with no
balling.
contract,
Bro's
like,
on his way to
he's
fucking
telling
having
them
his
like,
best
"Yo,
year of his
pay me
career.
my money." Like and Godwin's been good too.
This is the thing, because ultimately, how I feel about the Buccaneers and Baker is how I feel about them. I switched my stance because in the offseason, Dave Canales was the offense coordinator. I saw what he did with Geno. I said
And
maybe
now you're
just
moved.
maybe there's something with Dave Canales.
He's
I,
OD.
I listened to his press conference. I liked his open-mindedness. I said, you know what? I feel good about Baker Mayfield. Then I read Warren Sharp's book, which is an amazing book to read. And he just rattled off a bunch of stats that made me be like, I don't know if I could believe in the Buccaneers. Like Tom Brady having the quickest time to throw, the offensive line being poor, the running game being poor. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, if the running game's not good, if the offensive line's not good, Baker's running for his life, what's the result? So for me, that was just me trying to be honest about the situation. I was wrong about it, but I'm happy Baker's balling out 100%. I like that he's balling out, and I hope he continues it. And they make the playoffs before Deshaun Watson and the Browns, because that would be a hell of a story if he leaves Cleveland and makes the playoffs before them.
He does hate the Browns.
It's okay because your team
No, because they
3
did
points.
Baker Mayfield dirty. Like they really
Just like they
him
did
dirty.
Joe Burrow dirty, right?
I've never seen someone love a mid-quarterback so much.
I need my next jersey to be Shadir Sanders.
Ooh.
Daniel Jones.
He actually clears Baker Mayfield.
I don't know if he clears him, but
At least he got a second contract.
who's having a better season right now?
Yo, you're a 2-week merchant.
Baker Mayfield.
I want a Shadir Sanders jersey next.
I
Colorado.
had
Yeah,
Matthew
we're-
Stafford 10.
Oh, that's valid.
Yeah. My
We're here.
top 10 was Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Hurts, Lawrence, Lamar, Aaron, Deshaun, Matthew Stafford.
So you had Deshaun high,
Then Dak. Yeah, I mean,
and now you're a hater.
I've always hated him. I just had to be honest about where I think he could get back to, you know. But I
You've
still don't-
always hated him?
No, not when he was in Houston.
Oh,
I'm talking about like after
yeah, of course.
the
No,
incident.
Yeah, we
yes.
get all. No, he's definitely.
Incidents.
Yeah.
No, after the incident, yes, but you know,
I thought you
I
meant
still-
like you hated him before.
I didn't think he was going to drop off like this, but
It's 2 weeks. Relax.
Also,
it's eight,
6
it's
weeks
8
to
week
last
sample
year.
size.
Listen,
All right.
take 2 games away. It's 6. All right, let's be fair. 1 game was snowing. The other game was
Okay.
rain. Let's just
6
be fair.
games.
How about this? It's almost midnight. Let's lock in.
That's locking.
Giants
I'm here
versus
for vibes,
49ers Thursday night
This is easy.
You're not working in
preview.
the morning?
This is easy. I'm
No, not tomorrow morning. I got doctor's
So now,
appointment.
before y'all go, Mojo, they sponsor the show. They operate as a sportsbook out of New Jersey only, but their daily fantasy is in 19 states. You can join one of our contests. We're going to have them for Thursday Night Football. It's going to be called the Pick a Side Contest. You can join it. Lock in. It's a $10 entry. The spread line, Giants versus 49ers, we'll talk about the sportsbook first, on Mojo is minus 10.5. Are you taking that line for the 49ers?
Yes. I think the 49ers will beat the shit out the Giants.
I hate to say it.
I like 10.5.
Shit's gonna get ugly.
It's going to get bad.
I like
No
the Niners.
Saquon.
Whether
You
it
got
gets
Matt Breida
started in
back
the
there.
second quarter or it gets started in the fourth, it's going to get bad
Hey.
at one point.
Prop. Daniel Jones anytime. They don't have his rushing yet. Keep an eye out on that. Daniel Jones anytime. He's gonna have to be a superhero for them to get points on the board. It's the only way they score.
My cousin is a Giants fan, and he was very realistic about the season coming into it. I didn't know he was, but I talked to him, and, you know, he told me that he didn't have high expectations for them, and I understood it because the roster's not that good. He told
Wasn't
me
that good last year?
Yeah.
Playoff
And-
one.
Yeah, a lot
Against
of
your 13-win Minnesota Vikings.
sure, not moved at all whatsoever. This year they're going to be mid. And my cousin was telling me, listen, you never want to see a guy hurt because Saquon's not playing in this game. But he said the next couple of games are hard. This one is difficult. These next couple of games we're going to lose, and it's going to temper all the fans' expectations for the season. Because in reality, this is a rebuilding team that was a year ahead of schedule.
For sure.
But they were a rebuilding team. And I think the Giants going on a losing streak, this is what he told me, can temper everybody's expectations, and it could be good for the team in the long run. And I kind of agree with that take. It wasn't a bad take.
It isn't.
So I look at that, and yes, I think they're going to get dominated by the 49ers. I would be shocked if they make this within a 10.5-point game. Just the line. 49ers, the
You're gonna
defense
get
is
off on
elite.
it?
No, I won't.
You're going to watch the Niners
it's
score
expected.
touchdown after touchdown? You're going to start to...
No, it's expected.
Where are you
Daniel
going
Jones
with
throws
this?
them interceptions, though, into coverage.
You're lucky.
Oh, you best believe. I'm hitting you up. Like, Drew, what's up? What's up with this guy?
Yeah, like you were hitting me up last week.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you, shut it, slut.
You got saved after the first half. But ultimately,
Saved.
we're talking about 6 bad quarters of Daniel Jones compared to 2 good ones.
I
At
hate
one
that he
point-
used the word
at
saved,
one
'cause
point,
my legacy was saved by
The
Daniel
Giants were down
Jones.
60-0 at one point in the
Yeah,
night.
you think that you're out of the water too because you didn't show it to the live stream. Fuck you.
Oh,
60-0.
No,
and
it
what
was a
happened?
fact.
And what happened?
Fuck you.
And what
Oh
happened?
my God! They
won.
scored on Joshua Dobbs and them boys. Congrats!
Right, Joshua
they
Dobbs
did,
does not play
They did
defense.
what they were supposed to do. Dude, they were at one point. It was 60-0, going from last week to that moment.
Daniel
60
Jones went 4 straight
0.
drives of touchdowns.
Congrats! The Cardinals were trolling. They had to make it look like they can't tank, so they went up like that.
Did
big.
you watch the film?
I'm not watching that bullshit.
Daniel
Phil.
Jones was perfect.
He was-
Any throw he wanted, he was hitting.
Congratulations!
It
Just
was
arguably the
fire.
worst team
He's
in
going
the
to do that
league.
against the 49ers?
I'll tell you who didn't do that. Sam Howell.
did he do
he
that
didn't
against
fucking
Dallas?
light up the Cardinals.
Well, he's not that good.
Sam Howell's. I mean, what
Like, he's not that good. Like,
you want me to argue that Sam
In
Howell
Arizona?
and Daniel Jones are on the same level?
In Arizona,
In Arizona.
Bro said
nuts.
go talk to
What is
Jess.
there, 10,000
Go talk to
fans
Jess.
there,
She
bro?
knows
Come
all
on.
about that environment over there in Arizona.
They were
She said
packed.
the fans are
They
fair
packed it
weather
out.
fans.
They're fair weather fans.
Yeah.
I would say they're going to pack out the stadium this year.
I'll be honest with Kyler played the
Serious.
Giants lose,
Oh yeah.
No, Joshua Dobbs was fine.
and Kyler's better.
Kyler's better than Lamar, according to you. So they
a
should
passer-
They should
win.
win by 70
is.
at that point.
You keep saying that. I don't think you realize.
Now you said he's better than him. You
he's
didn't
a
say
better-
just as a
he-
passer.
He's a better passer for sure.
But you told me in
Not jumping
totality
into
you
that.
would take Kyler.
Well,
So
I guess
there you go.
because you're a better passer, and then as a rusher as well, yes, Lamar definitely is better than him, but Kyler also had an 800-yard rushing season as well. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was, too.
Ultimately, at the time, you told me Kyler over Lamar. That's what you told me. So you keep using this cop
you
out
saw
of just as a
Kyler
passer.
on TikTok, or
He's
it was
back.
Instagram
Yeah,
Reels.
he's
He's
working.
like, I'm itching. I've been missing the game too long. I'm excited for him to come back, man.
Yeah, you constantly throw shade on Kyler, and then suddenly say, oh, too much disrespect's being thrown on Kyler.
No, because people
Stop
think he's
playing.
not better than Daniel Jones. That's why.
That's foolish.
I have a little.
You said he's not better than
I
Daniel
didn't say
Jones.
that.
I have a little player
Did he
prop.
not?
I said Dak.
Dak?
I said Dak.
I have a player prop.
That's what I actually said. Kyler Murray, I didn't say.
Shout out Mojo.
Shout out Mojo. I have a Mojo player prop.
Dak is better than Kyler.
Who you got?
He's not.
Just
Yes,
made-
he is.
I have a Mojo player prop.
What does Dak do better than
Here
Kyler?
we go. Our sponsor.
Read the field better.
Pays the bills. Keeps the lights on.
All right, that's it.
Never
doing
easy.
His accuracy is better.
They're arguing about.
Is
Who are they
it?
even arguing about right now?
The
Dak and
arm
Kyler?
strength is similar.
Kyler led the league in completion percentage.
What are you talking about? That's because he's throwing bubble screens and
That's
shit.
not true.
Yes, it
Wow.
is.
He was throwing a ton. But no,
He
he's
also
throw
was one of the
downfield.
most
He can throw downfield.
accurate deep passes in the
This
game
past
that year.
season, he was the worst deep ball thrower
They
in the
also
league.
had no one.
What do you mean? They had Hollywood. You said
He
he was
also
like
got
that.
hurt. Well, didn't they get hurt? Didn't he get
Hollywood got
hurt?
hurt
Got
week 6.
Kyler has been
Hollywood
one
got
of the-
hurt early.
Kyler
then-
has been one of the worst
maybe
deep
week
ball
4?
throwers in the league the past 2
And then
years.
D-Hop was gone for the first 8 weeks as well.
Still on a
Boy was
Rondell
throwing a
Moore.
run. I was just about to say
But
that.
Greg
Kyler
Dortch.
was one of the worst deep ball throwers in the league the past 2 seasons.
No, the year before he was not.
No, he was not.
The year before he was
was
from
not.
week 1 to week 10, he was like number 1 in every statistical category.
Dak Prescott ultimately is just a
God.
better quarterback than Kyler Murray. Dak Prescott is
tomato,
so underrated
tomato.
as a quarterback.
He is.
He's
Tomato,
underrated
tomato.
as hell.
He
They're,
is.
they're like
They're the
10,
same
11 to
tier.
me.
But again,
Yeah.
we're
But
not
ultimately,
talking about
I
something
went
regular.
the college disrespect. People are taking guys that they shouldn't be taking over Kyler. That's really it. I think Kyler's like top 13, but there's other quarterbacks that are in that realm that they're like, oh yeah, they're better than Kyler. All these guys are better than Kyler. That's my only pushback.
You would take Kyler over Jordan Love?
No,
Wow.
he leads the league in touchdowns.
You just
Oh
said
my God.
you just said that guys are putting over like
Now,
putting,
taking Jordan Love over Kyler's nuts.
Yeah,
No,
you just said
listen.
the guys are putting.
Remember
too many
when
guys
someone
over-
took Zach Wilson over Kyler Murray?
Remember when somebody took Zach Wilson over Trevor Lawrence? Oh, 2 guys.
This guy's trying to talk to me
Unbelievable,
about.
man.
This guy's trying to talk to
They
me
took
about
Kyler
Lamar
Murray over
Jackson.
Trevor Lawrence.
This
Talk
guy's trying
about
to
a
talk
straight vibe pick, bro. That was me just like, I
that
trust
was
you.
definitely
Obviously,
a vibe
obviously,
pick.
the Dak Wilson was Vaz pick, bro. That's a low blow.
yeah, it
That's a
was.
low
It
blow.
was.
But y'all
That's a low blow.
consistently belittled me for that 65-win Lakers.
That was vibes.
It was vibes.
dog shit
But
vibes.
exactly. And this is dog shit vibes.
100%.
It was
So
dog
if I'm
shit
going to get
vibes.
I'm a
dogged
Giants
out,
fan.
if I'm
Hindsight,
going to get
100p.
dogged out
We
for
haven't talked
that,
about the Lakers one in a while.
I'm a Jets fan.
No, we bring it up every offseason. It's
was
coming
bad.
around to that.
It was bad,
It's
bro.
coming up to
thing
You
that.
weren't there,
It's
and
an
honestly,
anniversary
Oh, no,
of
no.
that.
When it happened, of
Yeah.
course, yes. But like
The anniversary of
last
that take is coming up pretty soon.
Hey,
We'll be
and then we
talking
made
about
the
it again.
WCF the next year.
Talking shit.
All right, let's get back to football.
I have a player prop. that I've
Oh,
been
let's hear
trying
it.
to-
Mojo.
Yeah,
sponsor.
so I noticed that Brock Purdy had his first week 220, next week 200, 6 yards. Only threw the ball 29 times, and the next week 25. He doesn't have to do too much. So for me, I put a little bet in, $75. So I went under 234.5 is his passing yards on Mojo. It makes me 130. That would be the balance. I'll put 75 in.
Be honest.
I think it'll be a blowout, and I don't think Brock Purdy
Good
is going to
line.
have to do too much. I think CMC is
How
going to
many
get most of
cents?
the workload.
What's the dollars? How much that cost?
Don't. Yeah, I got you.
Thank you, Brody, because he's asking too fucking
What, bro? You said you put $75
to
on
make
it.
134. I said that.
No, I got you, but I'm saying how much was the line when you got it is what I'm saying. Because with Mojo, it gives you a line like Daniel Jones.
Don't try to tell me about what I know about my
It's
thing.
minus 135 odds.
No, but and then the cents.
Yeah, 57 cents. But
Yeah.
the cents is representative. of
I
the
understand,
line.
but I
Yeah.
see the cents, and that's what allows me
Yeah.
to.
He's not gonna have to do too much. They're gonna blow them out. It's gonna be a calm, easy game. CMC workload, maybe 120 yards. You know,
Doesn't
Brandon
move,
Ayuk-
130 doesn't move you.
Brandon Ayuk, is he still questionable?
He is.
He
Game
is.
time decision. For
Yeah, so
They
Brock's gonna
shouldn't. They
chill.
shouldn't play him.
He shouldn't. It's an
Rest
easy
up.
win. Rest up. Get ready for next week. You know, the Giants.
CMC might go for 200 all purpose.
CMC over. That's something you should think about for sure.
I was looking at it. It's 82.5.
My
That's
Mojo,
easy.
oh my goodness. My Mojo player prop for Thursday Night Football, I'm taking CMC over 82.5 rushing yards.
Well,
Plus
there it is.
108 odds, 82.5. this Giants rush defense is not good. What did James Conner have against them?
He
Rushed
dogged.
for over 100.
He rushed over 100. I think CMC can do the same, if not more. I'm taking that line over 82.5 rushing yards.
I love it, actually. I actually did put money on this.
82.5?
I did.
You got another one that you got?
I said the Daniel Jones anytime.
Right.
For vibes, it's going to be a good amount of money that you can make off that. If they're going to get into the end zone, it's going to be on the back of Daniel Jones. It's going to be an ugly game. Nick Bosa is going to wreak havoc. I wish that I could bet on sacks. I would bet on Nick Bosa because he's going to match up on Evan Neal, and it's going to be pretty rude.
Is
actually.
Andrew Thomas playing?
He's not.
Wow.
He's not. Daniel Jones anytime is 31 cents.
So ultimately, to recap our player props, Riv is going with Brock Purdy under 235.5 passing yards.
234.5.
234.5 passing yards. Drew is going anytime Daniel Jones touchdown. And like me,
Hilarious.
he's also going
Yes.
Christian McCaffrey over 82.5 rushing yards.
This is
You
my
got-
line. My vibes line is Daniel
Almost did it
Jones.
again.
Almost.
Almost did it again.
What?
Nothing. Just move on.
What?
Did you fart?
No, it's a me and Dehls thing. I don't know what's
Are you guys going to kiss too?
No, not today. Maybe tomorrow.
Here we go. Midnight. Last time.
You think Daniel Jones is going to score?
I do.
Hilarious.
Oh, you scored against the Cardinals.
Didn't score against Dallas. There's a possible chance he won't score against the Niners.
It's good deductive reasoning right there.
So you guys can use these Mojo player props on Mojo Fantasy. It's a brand new fantasy app. Download it on the Apple Store right now and use code PAS for a deposit match up to $100. Now let's get on to top 10 power
some stuff in your
rankings
mouth.
I was
That's why you
wishing
choke.
that we didn't do this, but hey.
after week 2.
Quick, in and out.
Now top 10 power
Are we
rankings.
go-
He's
Are we
going
gonna
to start at 1.
We're gonna start 10. We're
Now
gonna
I'm
just
gonna
go?
start at 10. You guys want to do what Drew did last time, or just
Fuck
we just
no.
all do the 10?
No,
we all
let's-
do 10.
Because this
10
could be a TikTok segment too, a TikTok clip. So, top 10 NFL power rankings going into week 3. Number 10, I'll start. I'm split between the teams, the Falcons or the Saints. But I'm going with the Falcons, man.
10?
I'm going with the Falcons.
Bro.
They're 2-0. You got to respect them.
No,
Bijan
you
Robinson,
don't.
arguably the best rushing attack
Buccaneers
in
are
the
2-0.
league. No, I know, but they're not as good as the Falcons or the Saints. I'm going with the Falcons. 2 good wins. The defense looks way better. The rushing attack we know is great. Desmond Ridder, I still don't trust him, but he won't make as
Packers
many
missed
mistakes
half of
as
their offense.
Can I ask you,
Mariota's.
are the Bengals in your top 10?
yes.
Okay. The Bengals are in my top 10. I have them 10. So that's why
They are
I'm
in the
wondering.
top 10?
The team that's not in my top 10 that I left out was the Jaguars. For the simple fact that the first week against the Colts, not an impressive performance, and then against the Chiefs, they only scored 9 points.
So why the
only let up
Bengals?
17.
So why the Bengals in your top 10? They have no impressive performance.
They just put up 24 points on the
my
on the
God.
Ravens.
Oh my!
Punt
are
return,
you
touchdown.
serious?
And also, I was
4 minutes
higher. I
left,
was higher
touchdown.
on the Bengals coming into the
They
season.
should plummet. They just scored 3 points.
That's I felt like I'm doing them
I'm
justice.
okay with 10. 10 is okay. 10 is fine. But like a team with no
do
W
you have
can't
at
be
10,
in
Joel?
top 10.
I got the Jags at 10. Not the most impressive performance, but I mean, they held the Chiefs defensively at least. And week 1, I know it didn't start off great, but second half they dominated that game.
You got to understand, this is going into week 3 power rankings.
Gotcha. That's
It's not the teams you think are the best.
No,
'Cause
but-
obviously, I think the Jaguars are better than the Falcons and Saints.
No, it's
but
about what
that's
you.
why I have respect for the Bengals here. I don't have the Falcons on my list.
Neither do I.
I got them at 10. It's not crazy to
I
have them at 10.
understand. All
I
right.
got the Rams at 10, man. Yeah,
Love that.
I don't know what's going on. I got
Love that.
Seattle. They beat them.
So you got the Rams at 10 and not the Falcons or the Saints?
I have the Rams
the-
at 9.
The Rams.
I'm gonna be
The
transparent.
Rams had a more impressive win than me against Seattle. Like that
and
was
they
a,
looked clean
that was
against
in
arguably
Seattle
the best team
as an
in
underdog
football.
game, and then against the Niners, they were really good against the Niners. They had a couple few mistakes, but they had an opportunity to win that game. So the Rams are the 10th, like because power rankings is what's going on as of today.
Yes.
So
And
for
the
me,
Falcons are 2-0.
no, for sure, you don't have them in your top 10. You don't have the Bucks in your top 10. You don't have another team.
You
that's
don't
doing
have
it
the
in your top
Rams
10.
in your top 10?
They're not in my
I
top
don't
10,
have
no.
my top 10 either.
Really?
I'm not-
They'd be
I
my
don't-
top
like,
15.
I'm
If
not
I'm going with the top, if I'm going with the 10th spot, Rams, Saints, or Falcons, I'm picking the Falcons or the Saints in my top 10. I understand your argument for the Rams.
I'd
It's
probably
not
have
bad
them,
argument.
I'd have them over the Falcons.
So you
Saints
have an
maybe.
0-2 team over them.
That's because the Bengals, you got to, they just made the AFC Championship.
But they've
again,
lost
they're
two. They've
0-2.
dropped two.
no,
You
I
gotta
know.
drop them
but,
out.
yeah, but they,
You know, they're not
they
on the-
lost 2 games to teams I have in the top
But
10.
the
Can I ask
power,
you a
the power
question?
ranking isn't
I
about
under-
what they've done. It's about what they're doing right now.
I know.
And I do understand that the Falcons are 2-0. I understand that the Saints are 2-0. Can we sit here and agree that the Rams have looked better as a football team?
Then
Yes.
the Falcons, yeah.
Than both of them.
They've had a more impressive performance. Yes, they have.
That's the only reason why. That's my
But-
logic for having them 9. I'm respecting the Bengals as well. I think they're a better
But
team.
I've
that- I
always
don't
thought
think
the
that's
Rams
so-
would be competitive this year. Like I'm not high on
Power
the
rankings
roster.
again. It's about moving and moving up and sliding down
It's a
accordingly.
week-by-week thing.
So
No,
we
of course.
had the Bengals super high come into the season. I'm not overreacting. I'm sliding them down, keeping them a top 10 spot. The Rams drastically jump up. I agree that we had them super low coming to the season. Matthew Stafford and that offense look amazing. Puka Nacua is breaking onto the scene. Tutu Atwell is breaking out. That was a surprise to me. Kyron Williams has been solid. He definitely can be better. He's not that efficient on the ground, but a solid pass catcher. Sean McVay calls an unbelievable game. That defensive line solid. This is my 9th best team right now.
So number 10, I have the Falcons. Number 10, you have
Rams.
You have
I have the Bengals.
I have the Jags.
number 9. I have the Bengals. This is where they dropped. They're 0-2.
Okay.
They're at 9.
Damn.
But like I said before, if Joe
I got
Burrow
them higher than 9.
If Joe Burrow plays the next 4 weeks, I think they can legitimately win 4 in a row, and then they could be 4-2 at the bye.
I got the Lions at 9. Week 1 beating the Chiefs. Week 2 in it to the very end. Really should have won that game against Seattle. Offensively, they look just as good as they were last year. Defensively, that's really what's going to decide the ceiling on this team because Aiden Hutchinson week 1 looked great. Week 2, not so much. But overall, this offense is going to be one of the best in the NFL.
I already told you I have at 9. I got the Rams.
I have the Jags at 9, but I'm thinking about your Falcons pick and I'm thinking about your Lions pick, and those are two really, I'm thinking about it. Those are two good picks. I may have been a little bit premature about the
Thanks.
Falcons. The Lions I wasn't thinking about because they did just lose to the Seahawks.
Seahawks are a respectable team.
I'm
man.
gonna stick with the Jags because that defense was really impressive against the Chiefs' offense, and they did lose, but the defense gave a better showing against the Chiefs as opposed to the Colts. I think the offense will get going soon. Trevor Lawrence just had a bad day, so I'm gonna go with the Jags at 9. I'm gonna stick with that.
Number 8, I got the Cleveland Browns. Can't forget how dominant their defense was in week 1. The defense was dominant in week 2 as well. Just the offense couldn't get going. Losing Nick Chubb hurts.
Brutal.
The Steelers, just a fun fact about them, a horrible stat about them as well. They have one red zone. They have one drive out of 23 that have reached the red zone. That's how bad their offense has been this year. But the Browns defense is elite, and this is why I have them at 8. They're 1-1. Bad loss against Pittsburgh, but the defense is still elite, and this is one of the best rosters in the
I'll
NFL.
just piggyback because we have the same answer, so I don't got to say too much. I also have the Browns at 8.
I don't have the Browns in my top 10. I got the
don't
Bengals
either.
at 8 here, though.
Nuts.
Okay.
I'm not worried. They played 2 great defenses, in my opinion. Joe Burrow's injury. Now, if Burrow is going to have an extended absence, then of course you got to drop them. But if we're going to be under the impression that, say, Burrow plays this week or only misses 1 week, I feel very confident that this offense is going to get back to form.
My thing is, my question: if Chubb didn't get hurt, would you have the Browns over the Lions?
Yes.
Okay, so it just is just because Chubb is hurt.
I am
That's all-
terrified
okay,
of that offense.
That's all I wanted.
You don't have the Rams in your top 10?
No.
You
I
don't have
still
the
think-
Rams in your
no,
top 10?
I still think the Browns are better than the Lions, even without Nick Chubb, though.
I think they're comfortable, but Deshaun is the problem. He is. But
Against that defense, he could light them
I
up,
think
I'll
the
be honest.
Browns
I don't
could
know,
lock
dude.
down the Lions.
I haven't seen Deshaun light anyone up.
Right now, the Rams have the second best offense in the National Football League. They also have a top 6 defense. So just keep that in mind.
It's 2 weeks.
Yep. But you're 2 weeks in with the Browns, and you have them this high.
Well, the Browns, they have objectively a better roster than the Rams top to bottom. Though.
Yeah.
Offensively, I'm easily going with the Rams.
Well,
Talent-wise, the Browns, I think, are comfortably better. But Stafford looks way better than Deshaun.
That's
and
the
that's the
thing.
difference.
That's
That's
the
the
difference.
And Sean McVay also
Clears.
is just an unbelievable play
I don't
caller.
think Puka is a bigger talent than Amari Cooper.
He's
It's just
not,
the
but the
quarterback.
volume's going to be
The
there.
Stafford's just better
and
than
the
Watson.
offense will continue to be more efficient.
Yeah, because
Like,
the
Rams
offensive
have looked
line,
good.
Browns.
I'm not saying they haven't looked
I know.
good. But just
I'm just making my argument.
Yeah, I know. But just, it's
Cooked.
2 weeks.
Here we go. 7.
I don't have the Browns. At 8, I do have the Lions.
Oh,
This
my
is a top 3 offense in the National Football League. Defense hasn't been that good, particularly their pass defense. Rush defense, they've been solid, dude. They really limited Kenny Walker. They limited Pacheco, even though he should have got more attempts. He was pretty efficient in his limited attempts. But Lions look like that offense that we did see last season. Josh Reynolds looks like he's getting involved. Sam Laporta looks really good early on in his career. Jared Goff threw his first interception, God knows how long. Second longest streak in NFL history without throwing an INT until that pick 6. But I still believe in this team. They look unbelievable offensively. I think cleaning up the defense is a necessity, but I think it'll come with time.
That was talk to me. Who you got 7?
7. I got the Buffalo Bills.
We're here.
The Buffalo Bills.
So I have it 7 as well. I have the Buffalo Bills.
Very impressive win, but it was over the Raiders, so I'm not moved much. Josh Allen still has to get it done against a top defense and not have 4 turnovers.
Number 7, I got the Eagles here. Not an impressive 2-0. The defense has a lot of injuries.
I don't hate it.
They lost half of their
It depends
defensive
on who's in
starters from
front.
last season. Avonte Maddox is out for the season. Correct. James Bradbury is in concussion protocol. We don't know what his status is. And then offensively, you're going up against a Vikings defense that I expect you to light up through the air, and they did not do that. Jalen Hurts did not look that good.
And we
And
still put up.
I know, but it's back-to-back weeks where Jalen Hurts doesn't look that good, and the pass defense for the Eagles looks bad. So for me, that's why I got
Two
them
good
at
pass
7.
defenses that they've played.
It's
At least
fucking
schematically.
Jettas, though.
At least schematically, they've played against two good pass defenses. Personnel, I understand.
The Patriots, I'll give you that respect.
But
The Vikings are not a good pass defense.
schematically,
Listen, Brian Flores does what he can. They were either sending 6 or dropping 8. That's what they were doing.
But I don't think we wasn't getting
dropping
open. I just
8.
think Hurts wasn't
I mean,
hitting.
that's pretty tough to throw in.
That's why they were running the ball so much.
Facts.
Listen,
I mean, the run game was on
Jalen
fire.
Hurts, but Jalen Hurts he didn't look comfortable against the blitz though.
But our run game was perfect.
Hurts
Not
doesn't
that
look
game.
great.
So you said 7. You have.
Oh,
the Eagles?
listen, I don't hate the placement.
Yeah, they're at 7 for me right now. Like, we have to understand this power ranking is not a year-long thing. This is a week-to-week thing.
It's a volatile list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you got a 7, Drew?
I guess I'll go back to back because my Eagles ain't no fucking 7. But at 7, I got the Buffalo Bills. You know, I think bouncing back. We all knew they were gonna. What?
But your Bills are.
Well, because they lost to the Jets and they bounced back against the Raiders. I mean, I knew they were gonna bounce back, but that's not moving
We
me.
asked them to be dominant, and they were.
We asked them to
They
be
were.
better. Like I expected them to be 2-0, not 1-1. I expected them to win when Aaron Rodgers went down, not fold up and choke.
Even before Rodgers went down, he struck them.
Of course, but then I really was like, what the fuck are we doing? So I got them at 7. 6, I have the Chiefs because they bounced back with that Jaguars win. Travis Kelce's back. He was on limited snaps, though. Chris Jones back, and you saw the impact there. They'll climb up more as the weeks go and they get more Ws. But I got the Chiefs at 6.
Did you give your 7, Drew?
I said
Y'all
same
said
as
the
the
Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Oh, right,
we
right.
asked them to play better against the Raiders. You needed a dominant offensive performance. Josh was near perfect, and James Cook was extremely efficient. I definitely want to give him that credit, but I just look at these 6 teams in front of them, and I just feel a little bit more safe with them.
So you got a 6.
At number 6, this is where I slide in the Philadelphia Eagles. Their secondary is something I am concerned about with the injuries that they're facing, like Joel mentioned, with Maddox, with Bradbury. Slay's really fending for himself. With bringing in William Jackson for an interview, potentially he could be signing with them. That would be a solid addition. They desperately do need some help in the secondary spots, but I don't love this defense. Back-to-back weeks where you let up 300 passing yards to Mac Jones and let Kirk Cousins.
To be fair, Jettis had 150 of the yards.
No doubt, but Jordan Addison had himself a solid game.
He had a good catch.
Hawkinson
Tweaked, bro.
Yeah.
Hawkinson gets into the end zone twice.
Kirk had an amazing game.
Yeah, he was unreal.
Kirk was on some shit
and
for sure.
Kirk under pressure was cool as a fucking cucumber.
Yeah, Kirk was doing
So,
his
but
thing.
even
He's
still,
a fucking captain.
the Eagles
we
had.
forced him to fumble the ball 3 times in the first half. The first fucking quarter. Give our defense a little bit of respect.
No,
here.
I'm gonna.
They sold that game and trade for Cam
What do you
Akers.
mean? One of them was a punt or a muffed punt. And
was.
Madison fumbled.
Madison
and
fumbled
Kirk,
twice.
and Kirk fumbled. No,
Yeah,
Madison
the
fumbled
Kirk, the
once,
Kirk fumbled
and Kirk
100%,
fumbled.
but I thought
it was
you made
twice.
it sound like
Because listen, the defensive line solid. Josh Sweat had an unbelievable game against Minnesota. You still have Jalen Carter and oh my
the
god, I'm
offensive line
blanking
for the
on
Vikings stunk though.
They're going to stink
Jordan
all
Davis.
year.
Jordan Davis. Thank you
They're
very
gonna
much.
stink.
They were without Christian Darrisaw, who's an elite left
Hey,
tackle.
Jordan Davis was good, too.
Yeah,
Jordan
listen,
Davis
he's
was
going
good.
up against Ed Ingram.
Oh,
I would
everything
expect
is-
him to be
oh,
good.
my
Now,
God.
Josh Sweat put on an unbelievable
I'm
performance.
hating.
I'm not hating. Jordan Davis is a good player, but
You said he was ass last year.
no, I said as a pass rusher.
Well, now he's here.
definitely
He's
he
back.
was-
No. What he did was before the Patriots and Eagles game had a coronary me saying Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis can do a good job at stopping the run. You said, "Oh, you're trusting a second-year guy and a rookie?" I said, "We
I
understand."
never said Jordan Davis was bad against the run. No, I never said that.
but that's the statement
As
you
a
said.
pass
as
rusher,
a
he's not
rebuke.
good. No, because last year the Eagles' rush defense wasn't that good.
It wasn't.
This year, I don't think it's that good either.
I mean,
they've
they did
gone
a
up
great job of limiting
against
Ramondre.
2 bad rush offenses.
So you can't say we're good or bad.
What do you mean? The Patriots aren't a bad rush
Yes,
offense.
they are. Last year they
They're
were
pretty
bottom
mid.
20 in
Yeah, they're pretty mid.
efficiency.
But in terms of total yards, were they?
They weren't a good rushing football team, bro. Last year, no, they weren't. And then the Vikings have Alexander Madison and no
No,
offensive
I
line.
understand that.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Madison's
I'm
mid.
definitely.
So for
not
me, like
gonna-
the Eagles haven't even been tested when it comes to rush offenses.
At 6, I got the Eagles. Them and the Bills seem very
Right.
interchangeable. I think
Right.
we all have them as 7 and 6. But like you guys said, the secondary, it's sketchy. And if you're not able to stop the pass, you're going to have a hard time stopping offense, especially if you want to get to the Super Bowl. Hurts hasn't looked like himself yet. but he's still mostly been efficient. He hasn't made too many mistakes. I think until they kind of get things in order, they're going to be a very run-heavy offense.
Number 6, I got the Buffalo Bills. I got the Bills and Eagles interchangeable, but I think the Bills, I just trust them a little bit more. That's really what it comes down to. I think Josh Allen's better than Jalen Hurts. I think the defense is better than the Eagles. That's really what it comes down to.
Do we want to run through our top 5? Because we all have the same top 5. Just sounds like in different order.
And top 5 power rankings heading into week 3. Number 5, I got the Miami Dolphins. I think, week 1, amazing performance against the Chargers. Week 2, Tua did what the defense was giving him. Just getting those passes off quick, underneath throws. The Dolphins played a really good game. The rush defense is something that worries me. I don't view the Patriots that highly as a rush offense, so I was expecting them to neutralize that part, but Mac Jones did a great job as a passer versus the Dolphins. Number 4, the Chiefs. They lost week 1 to the Lions, but the defense is really what's moving me. This is a defense that led up 14 total offensive points to the Lions, who had a top 10 offense last year. This is a team that versus the Jaguars just let up 9 points. The Chiefs' defense is going to be a top 10 unit in football after the year's done.
Agreed.
And their offense is going to be top 5. It's going to come back to where it was eventually. They're number 4. Number 3, the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson under this new passing attack, with how great their defense is, not having a bunch of starters out. They were out for injury to the Bengals and still winning. That was impressive. Number 2, the 49ers. Speaks for itself. Number 1 team in football to me is the Dallas Cowboys.
You said the Ravens?
The Ravens, number 3. Number 1 is the Dallas Cowboys. They've had the most dominant and impressive wins of any team in the NFL this year. They're off to the best start. Defensively, we know they're top 3. They're arguably, I would say they're the best defense in the NFL. But offensively, the way they lit up the New York Jets' elite defense, that is what got me saying they're the number 1 team in the NFL.
So I have a new addition into my top 5 because all these teams are undefeated. So number 5, I got Miami. I slot them in. One of the best offenses in the league, no doubt. Tyreek Hill, Tua looks amazing. Number 4, I got the Eagles. I can't drop them too much because they're still, in my opinion, a top 5 team in the league, and they still are undefeated. Obviously, you got some injuries going on, but I think once Hurts gets it going, this offense is going to be unstoppable because the running game, you cannot stop them at all. Number 3, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar looked amazing against the Bengals. These guys missed guys. These couple guys got injured, and they still look like they didn't miss a beat. This team is one of the best teams in the league, and their defense is definitely strong. Number 2 and 1 is interchangeable. It could be Cowboys, Niners, Cowboys. I have the Cowboys at 2. They're probably the most dominant defense in the league right now. Offensively, Dak hasn't had to do too much because his defense has been so unstoppable. And then number 1, I have the Niners. They've also had an impressive start destroying the Steelers' defense and then putting on a solid performance against the Rams.
At 5, I got the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, you guys talked to Lamar. One of the most impressive games in the pocket I've seen from him. The only worries I have with him is just the injuries are already piling up. So throughout the season, if they keep piling on injuries, once you get into the playoffs and matchups, there might be some other teams to take over them. 4, Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is insane. Kelsey's insane. If that defense keeps playing like it's been playing, they could be number 1 in a couple of weeks. 3, I have the Miami Dolphins. They're the best offense in the NFL, in my opinion. I mean, Mike McDaniel feels like, even with NFL coaching, the NFL coaching with, you got Sean McVay, you got Kyle Shanahan, you got all these brilliant minds. Mike McDaniel feels like he is damn near on a tier of his own with his ability to just get guys open, and it fits Tua's, strengths perfectly. He's able to get the ball out quick and accurate, and you have 2 insanely explosive weapons on the outside. 2, I have the Dallas Cowboys. They've been phenomenal. Can I help you?
I didn't love that.
Why?
Fits his strengths?
He does.
As if he's not leading the league in ADOT?
It fits his strengths, yeah. He has the quickest time to throw and the highest ADOT. It's fucking insane.
That's actually stupid.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I don't know.
Because they have fast receivers that can get down the field very quick.
Number 2, Dallas Cowboys. Week 1 against the Giants, just an absolute smoke show, 40-0. Week 2 against the Jets, basically another smoke show, 30-10. The offense week 2 was great. Defense has been great for 2 weeks straight. It's not that I have to see the defense go up against another offense because I know they're going to be great. It's more so if there's pressure on this offense, what does it look like if they're down by 7, because you love Mike McCarthy. I'm still not all the way sold, even though Dak had a great game against the Jets.
What does Brock Purdy look like down 7?
Number 1, 49ers, best team in the league.
I'm more concerned about Brock Purdy down 7 than Dak down 7.
Hilarious.
They
Because
won
you
last
watch
year.
Dak choking Never mind.
My top 5 power rankings, starting with number 5, are the Kansas City Chiefs. We haven't seen that offense really come into fruition yet. The defense looks elite. Like, you can finish top 5. I'm with you, Joel. This unit looks great. Really shut down the Jaguars, anything they had going, unless your name was Christian Kirk. They look great. The offense has kind of lagged behind. I think that with time, we start to see them come unlocked a little bit more. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has looked sensational against the Cincinnati Bengals division rival. I'm expecting him to continue to put on this performance for the duration of the season. The defense continues to look special, but really it begins and ends with Lamar Jackson. We've seen him healthy. They've won that division. When he's not, they don't win it. So it's a matter of health with that team. But right now they're healthy and they're clicking. Well, not really, and they're still winning. Let's be real. Number 3, Miami Dolphins. This is my time to shed light on how great Tua Tagovailoa has been. First in yards per dropback, first in yards per attempt, first in passing yards, first in success rate, first in first downs, second in EPA per play, third in total QBR, fourth in sack percentage, fourth tied for fourth in touchdown passes. Pass the sticks, 44 attempts, that's first. 29 completions, that's first. 493 yards, that's first. 4 touchdowns, that's first. 8 big-time throws, that's also first. Miami Dolphins are the best offense in the National Football League. Number 2, Dallas Cowboys. This defense is elite. Easily could finish as the best unit in football this year. Micah Parsons potentially is on his way to his first Defensive Player of the Year in 3 years. But he has been amazing. This defense has been great. But they haven't played as strong competition, in my opinion, as the team in first place. That is the San Francisco 49ers. Steelers, we don't think that high of them anymore. We were kind of hot and cold with them before the season started. We had them as a top 20 team. But coming out cold against the Niners really dominated that game in every facet. And then for them to win a pretty tough game against the Rams, where the Rams offense really was pretty solid, they still were able to overcome. Brock Purdy didn't have his best game, but still was able to do enough. CMC is the best running back in football. His yards over expected, leads the league in the National Football League. But that's my top 5.
We didn't need to hear that Tua spill.
Grind.
I don't give a fuck.
I know you don't, but this is why we hate when you speak for too long.
I only spoke long about the Dolphins and Tua.
No, it's fine. I think this show is about speaking long. You spoke long for 3 hours.
I appreciate that. We're a podcast. We talk
So why don't
long.
you shed some light on them other guys? Why does it always have to be Tua?
I do shed light on other guys all the time.
I didn't hear you.
I'm about giving love.
You know, Tua's a first 5-week merchant.
That's weird.
Fine.
I would say like 8-9.
8-9?
Yeah, give him that respect.
I'll tell you what, Joel. I wanted to say something, but yeah, just watch it. Just watch it. You've been nice.
What do you mean? I've been nice to who?
You've been nice to Tua these last couple of weeks.
Listen, what is this to say?
I agree. That's why
He's
I
always
say,
nice at the beginning of the year.
No,
It's really mean.
No,
towards the
but
middle
I'll
and the
say
end.
this: even when Tua was doing well last year, he was saying, "Let's see, let's see, let's see." This year, he's been great, and I want to give you that praise. I really have appreciated it.
You got it.
That's it.
You got it.
That's all I wanted to say.
I feel like he doesn't even believe it.
Listen,
No, it's just 'cause-
he's
no,
been quiet,
no,
and
no.
he really has been.
No,
And
it's just because I'm not like gonna come on the show and just debate you about Tua every week. You know,
Really?
we'll wait to see how the season plays out.
There
That's
it is.
You know what I'm
Who's
saying?
Miami? Oh, we got Denver.
I have my opinion on Tua still. You know, has he improved in areas that
They
I
got
didn't
Buffalo
think were
coming up
there?
soon.
Yes, he has. So we'll see if it goes on for the entire season.
that's why we needed this.
I was being rude to Tua.
No.
I was gonna say.
I don't think none of us came here and said like, yeah, Tua's not going to have a great statistical season. Like,
You always add the statistical.
no,
bro.
but I really
that's what
think
the
that
shot
like
is.
last year going into the season, me and Dehls are very vocal about, yeah, Tua will have
No,
a
I
great
know, but then I
statistical
said that Tua will be MVP, and you laughed at me again.
year. It's 2 weeks, bro.
I agree.
Hey,
but
betting favorite.
again, we all we do on this show is overreact.
I love it.
It's honestly our specialty.
Wasn't Lamar the MVP for like 4 weeks?
But if I didn't
Last year,
overreact
yeah, right.
2 years ago,
He was bugging.
I maybe wouldn't have had the Rams all year long. So maybe you need to stick out with a vibe.
No, that's your team. Like
Next
I mean,
week, Dolphins Bills. You gotta come to Buffalo.
No,
That's
Dolphins,
a 1 o'clock game. That's disgusting.
Dolphins will win that game.
In Buffalo?
Yeah.
So we beat you out in Miami.
It's so great that it is early on in the season. We don't have to worry about a cold game in Buffalo this
so
season.
we beat y'all.
You're not beating them in Miami. We're getting
I'm
both.
gonna be honest. I think you know not
You're
it,
delusional.
I'm chatting.
it not being cold is good for Buffalo too.
It is.
They're
It's
pass
in
heavy
Buffalo.
offense.
Dog, it's in Buffalo.
No, I'm chatting because Tua put those allegations to bed last season. He had a great game in the snow.
and you
They
lost
had a
to
negative
Buffalo.
EPA.
Doesn't matter to me. He left the field winning. His defense couldn't hold up.
The fuck is going on?
Ellie was a merchant of like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in the game. It's just like every podcast not going to come here and try to debate you on Tua. Same thing with like Jalen
You
Hurts
shouldn't,
and stuff.
because there's nothing to debate on
Or
the
Brock
opposite side
Purdy,
of.
even though we've got into more Brock Purdy debates.
Oh
than
no,
the
Brock
Tua
Purdy,
debates.
you lost. It's no.
I don't think I
I
lost.
don't, like you don't move me
Darnold,
anymore. Yeah.
As
No.
long as Sam Darnold's on that bench, you
He's
don't
undefeated.
win.
It was a hot take. It was a hot take for a reason.
I don't think you made it high. I think you were very
He
firm
has,
on that.
he
take.
has not
No, I
lost.
definitely said,
He's
Sam
still
Darnold's
undefeated.
there. He's creeping.
You love the you
No,
like to
bro,
bring up
he's
Deshaun.
What's more likely, Darnold starts or Dorian Thompson-Robinson? That was my hot take.
It was. Both of you.
That's tough.
Yours is
Thompson
closer.
Robinson has a chance.
That was yours is 100% closer. You like to bring up Deshaun's 8 games. We'll talk about how Purdy's undefeated in the league.
No, yeah, I mean, listen, I never said
He has not lost a
I
game
never
yet.
said Purdy.
Undefeated's fucking crazy.
I never said Purdy was like a bad quarterback. I think he's.
I mean, saying
all right.
Sam Darnold would start over him is calling him bad in
That's
itself.
pretty nuts.
No, I said it was a hot take. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my hot takes. I didn't.
I
No,
thought
that's
you
a,
just
it's a hot take for a
believed
reason.
Well, I think
No,
you
it's a hot
just-
take. No, it's a hot take.
That's not
for
a hot.
reason.
That is one of your hating block takes, which goes into your
And
hating book.
Drew watched the tape versus the Rams, and Drew said, I'm a little concerned about Brock Purdy.
I didn't say I had
Week 1, he
concerns.
was
All I
amazing.
said was he missed some throws.
Everybody
Yeah,
misses throws.
yeah,
Josh
but-
Allen misses throws.
Often.
But it's
Relax.
different. It's a little different when you compare those two.
You cursed Josh Allen.
Nah, he's a dog.
You called him MJ, and ever since.
He said MJ year.
I did say MJ.
Ultimately, my
He
concern
was
with-
having it before the. Nope. Yo, he's gonna win MVP for that.
My concern with Brock Purdy was just when he's down and he needs to make plays, he's gonna make those plays.
Listen, bro, don't
He
give
really-
it next show.
He really hasn't been in those
Yeah,
positions.
he's
I
9
can't get
and
into
0.
another 30-minute drive and fall asleep.
Dog, he's undefeated.
I
have nothing
you
to
don't got to
say.
tell me about Brock.
And what's gonna happen?
You don't
when
have
the
to tell
Cowboys-
me either.
What's gonna happen when the Cowboys make the Super Bowl this year?
You mean the one they've been
And
trying
you had
to
them
make
at
for
number
decades?
2 in power rankings heading into week 3.
mean the one
you had
they've been-
instead of number 1, where they should be.
They're
That's
a
real
great.
Don't regret
disrespectful,
it.
Rib. Number 2, not number
Yeah,
1.
just like remember that time where he got mad at us because we had Minnesota as a 3 seed and he had him 1 and he thought it was disrespectful.
Yeah.
Sounds like the same shit to me. It's a bunch of.
Oh no,
L's,
it's a little different because the Timberwolves got injured. That's
the
what ruined
Cowboys
them.
got this week?
They would have been a top.
They
two
had-
They
seed.
got Arizona.
They have an easy game.
They have a really easy
Oh,
game. Cowboys.
Dallas.
I
Arizona?
think because they're projected like 12
Oh my
points
God.
fantasy.
Do the Cowboys play
So wait,
them? I'm gonna
Joel,
cream.
if Purdy wins the Super Bowl, he wins Super Bowl
They play
MVP. How
Arizona.
do you feel about that? How would you feel about that?
Let's go.
They're projected
good for
12
him.
points.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just
It's like having another player.
I don't know. I have
having a
doubts.
quarterback.
You have doubts?
Yeah, you having Dow's
I have
defense.
doubts.
sucks
Huge.
last
So if Purdy
week.
wins Super Bowl MVP, like I don't want you to say a word about Purdy ever again.
Okay.
Nick Foles is a Super Bowl MVP, and he's a fucking
and I
legend.
can't say a word. He's a legend in my
He's a
eyes.
legend.
Shout out to him. Build him a
No,
statue.
I'll be honest. If you are a Philly fan, you should love and cherish
I
him.
love and adore Nick for what he's done.
October 8th, Cowboys 49ers. Looks like Sunday Night Football.
Listen, given Kyle
Another L?
Shanahan's
That's gonna
history,
be viral.
Purdy
given
will be
Shanahan,
undefeated after the week still.
given Shanahan's history and those big time games, I don't really trust it.
What about
No.
Dak's big time games? Do you trust us in the playoffs?
What happened the last time the two faced off?
The Cowboys and 49ers. 49ers won, but it's going to be a different story this year. Third time's a
What
charm.
happens when Dallas goes to the
Third time's
playoffs
a
at any
charm.
point? It just
hasn't
lose, right?
been that good, but
Usually come up short.
I don't evaluate the history to the
You
present.
literally.
You got to put the history in the rear view mirror. The present is what you got to focus on. That's what Austin Ekeler said on the
Ekeler
show.
was saying that.
Got to focus on that, and that's what the Cowboys are focused on. You hear Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons talking that shit. That's because he's the best defense player in the goddamn league.
TJ Watt's close. man.
Wrap it up.
He is close.
Wrap it up.
That's gonna do it for this episode of the Pick a Side podcast. Ekeler on the show. 3
Shout out
hours of
Ekeler.
other topic talks.
It's 12 o'clock.
So make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, rate our podcast 5 stars on Spotify. You can
Allowed.
follow
It's
us on Twitter at
12:30.
Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.